Chapter 251. Flying has always been Levi's dream. Speaking of which, my blood beast breathing technique can also give birth to blood wings. It is just that they are too short and cannot fly. If the special effect is upgraded in the future, I wonder if it can fly. Levi thinks of his own breathing technique. Perhaps one day, he will not need any spell at all. He can spread his blood wings and fly high into the sky. After he finishes fantasizing, Levi and the high-level apprentice wizard board White Tower number 7. The name of this high-level apprentice wizard is Oliver. He looks like he is almost 60 years old. To be honest, if he had not broken through to an official wizard at this age, it would be very difficult for him to become an official wizard. He would probably be removed from the Grey Tower very soon. Therefore, Oliver puts his mind on upgrading his pharmacy skill and eventually becomes a high-level apprentice wizard. Many of the potions in White Sail Alley are refined by Oliver. Junior brother Levi, I did not expect you to be a high-level pharmacy apprentice in just half a year. Oliver's expression is full of envy. He has been immersed in the path of pharmacy for decades and barely became a high-level pharmacy apprentice. This junior looks to be less than 40 years old. He has only entered the tower for half a year, but he is already a high-level pharmacy apprentice and has received the attention of Ms. Marlene. This makes him very envious. You flatter me. It is just that when I was in the human world, I had already begun to learn pharmaceutics. I have a foundation in making medicine, Levi replies. Junior brother, you are really humble. I live on the 26th floor. If there is a chance, you can come to my place and exchange our pharmaceutical experiences, Oliver says. Levi naturally agrees politely. Soon, the two of them also board the Azure ship. The giant ship braves the wind and waves. Ms. Marlene is meditating alone, so Levi and Oliver do not disturb her. They each find a cabin to rest. Most wizards are boring. They spend long periods of time doing research and resting, so they do not like to talk. They prefer solitude. This voyage will take 3 days and Levi naturally cannot waste any time. Levi plans to start refining potions to earn points after he returns from his trip. Then, he will buy 2 spell models. Only then will he officially become a mid-level apprentice wizard. The current him only has the spiritual force of a wizard, but he does not have the corresponding actual combat spell. His strength is that of a knight. He can only be considered a half-baked wizard. Moreover, after the deep sea meditation art reaches level 2, it requires a total of 5,000 proficiency points to reach level 3. After level 2, Levi can gain 2 proficiency points through meditation every day. According to the current progress of 2 proficiency points per day, Levi needs 7 years to become a high-level apprentice wizard. At that time, Levi will be 35 years old. Although this speed is actually much faster than the other children of chaos, Levi is definitely not satisfied with the current situation. He also has to prepare the potion to aid his spiritual force cultivation. 3 days of cultivation on the ship pass quickly. As the Azure ship slowly arrives at the harbor, Levi finally sees the lone island standing on the sea. This island is called Whalesong Island, and it is several times larger than the island where the Grey Tower is located. In the Endless Sea, the more powerful the organization, the larger the island they occupy. The larger the island, the more cultivation resources there are. Of course, for the wizards of the Endless Sea, because most of them cultivate meditation art and spells of the Ocean School of Thought, their cultivation resources basically come from the vast sea, and only a small part comes from the islands. Levi and Oliver follow behind Marlene. At the harbor of Whalesong Island, there are already people waiting for them. After all, Marlene is a first-circle pharmacist. Her status and reputation in the sea area are pretty well known. Lady Marlene, I have been waiting for you. An official wizard in a blue robe smiles. Because the wizards of the Grey Tower are relatively friendly, the Grey Tower has a good relationship with most of the forces in the sea area. Of course, there are also some who do not have a good relationship with each other. For example, the Undead Ship is a wizard organization from the School of Death. Tower Master Herman had once killed the vice captain of the Undead Ship, so the relationship between the two sides is irreconcilable. The vice captain was doing some illegal activities on the sea. He caused the death of the beloved partner of Tower Master Herman, and naturally, the Tower Master could not tolerate it. He found an opportunity to kill the vice captain, causing the death of one of the 2 second circle wizards on the ship. Herman lost his right hand during that battle. For this reason, he began to specialize in alchemy and installed an alchemical prosthetic body for himself. The death of a second circle wizard from the Undead Ship was something that no organization could afford. In the end, the ruling of the Wizard Tribunal under the Panplane Wizard Council was that the vice captain had to bear most of the responsibility for the death. It was understandable for Herman to avenge his wife, but it was inappropriate to kill a precious second circle wizard. Herman compensated the Undead Ship 8,000 ether stones, and this matter was considered settled. Herman later paid the compensation according to the judge's ruling, but the Undead Ship did not let it go. It directly left the Panplane Wizard Council. This way, it would not be bound by the rules of the Panplane Wizard Council. Of course, it would not be protected by the Panplane Wizard Council in the future. Chapter 252. In the realm of Azure Cloud, this organization is called the Illegal Wizard Organization, or Dark Wizard Organization. Decades ago, the owner of the Undead Ship had launched a wizard war against the Grey Tower. In the end, they were repelled by the Tower Master, but the Undead Ship did not give up. After becoming a Dark Wizard Organization, they were lawless. Like pirates, they hid from the law enforcement officers of the Wizard Tribunal and became pirates in the sea area. Levi, who was well versed in the art of hiding, was already familiar with the social relationships of the Grey Tower. This was to avoid unnecessary trouble when he went out in the future. If not for Ms. Marlene, Levi might never have come to Whalesong Island in his entire life. He remembered Angeli, who had a double affinity, was an apprentice in this organization. That kid had a third circle wizard as his teacher, so he would definitely improve very quickly. Witch Marlene's arrival caused quite a commotion on Whalesong Island. In the end, Levi finally met the legendary second circle pharmacist, the only second circle pharmacist in the sea area. The pharmacist was a tall and thin wizard named Angus. He had the strength of a second circle wizard, and was the second in command on Whalesong Island. Levi did not say a word and followed behind Ms. Marlene silently. Wherever the teacher went, he would follow. Whalesong Island had a total of 12 first circle wizards, 2 second circle wizards, and 1 third circle intermediate wizard. They were one of the top forces in the sea area. If it was not for the act of the Pan-Plane Wizard Council that forbade internal wars between wizard organizations, perhaps Whalesong Island would have unified the sea area. Ms. Marlene, what kind of potion do you plan to use to get certified as a second circle pharmacist? Angus asked expressionlessly. Sir Angus, I want to use Devil's Gaze to verify my second circle, Marlene said with a smile. So it is Devil's Gaze. This second circle potion is not easy to refine. Angus was slightly surprised. I heard that you invited 4 high-level pharmacy apprentices to assist you, Angus asked again. Yes, but the main work is done by me. They are only doing some auxiliary work, which Marlene replied. It is fine. According to the Pharmacist Association's certification rules, you can have apprentices to do auxiliary work. You only need to complete the main work, Angus said. After some necessary communication, Ms. Marlene was led by President Angus to a pharmacy lab. The other 2 first circle pharmacists from the association were also there. To be certified as a second circle pharmacist, at least 3 pharmacists from the association, including the president, were required to be present. Ms. Marlene started to get busy. Levi and the other 4 assistants also started to do their work according to what their teacher had taught them. Levi carefully observed every step of his teacher's work. These were all rare experiences. With this experience, it would be very useful for Levi to be certified as a pharmacist in the future. Just refining the second circle potion took half a day just to prepare. Levi and the others were busy, and now was not the most critical moment. Little Levi, Oliver, next, you 4 will start to refine the 4 supplementary potions. Just follow what I taught you. When I reach the last step, pour the potions into my crucible. Witch Marlene had a serious expression. She had been preparing for a long time in order to refine the precious second circle potion. The consumption of the ether stone was not something that an ordinary first circle wizard could afford. Just the certification fee alone would cost a full 1,000 ether stones. Otherwise, why would the pharmacists in the association who were busy making money and researching potions waste their time to certify them? Therefore, she could only succeed and not fail. As the potion refinement began, Levi also started to get busy. He was in his own pharmacy lab, following his teacher's instructions and proceeding in an orderly manner. Levi was confident in himself. On the other side, the other apprentices also started to get busy. Time passed by. Half an hour later, Ms. Marlene was at the second last step of the potion production. At this time, Levi had already finished refining the supplementary potion. Pharmacy proficiency plus 30. Levi grabbed the supplementary potion and left. He was the first to finish it, so he was the most efficient. This made Angus and the others pay special attention to Levi. After a while, another 2 high-level pharmacy apprentices also finished making the supplementary potions. Ms. Marlene was about to reach the last crucial step. Logically speaking, the 4 high-level pharmacy apprentices should have finished making all the supplementary potions by now. However, Oliver had not come out yet. Levi's expression changed slightly. Something seemed to have happened to Oliver. Are the supplementary potions ready? I still have 10 minutes before I can carry out the final step of the potion assembly. Witch Marlene, Oliver is not ready yet. A high-level pharmacy apprentice replied anxiously. Witch Marlene's expression was a little ugly, but she calmed down and continued to refine her potion. They could not mess up now. If they messed up, they would be completely finished. The supplementary potion had a time limit and needed to be prepared on the spot. That was why Ms. Marlene needed the assistance of pharmacy apprentices. Otherwise, she could have refined it herself and brought it over. Chapter 253. Little Levi, are you confident in helping Oliver? Ms. Marlene looked at Levi. Levi stood in the doorway. He met his teacher's expectant eyes. He took a deep breath. A smile broke across his face. Teacher, leave it to me. Just refine in peace. Levi turned and headed to Oliver's room. Oliver stood inside. His face burned red. Sweat dripped down his temples. Panic radiated from him. He feared the certification would fail because of his own incompetence. He knew he would be in trouble. Ms. Marlene was kind, but failure would invite severe consequences. Oliver felt the crushing weight of guilt. Senior brother Oliver, which step are you on? Let me handle it. Levi spoke with a calm tone. Oliver looked up. Relief flooded his expression. It was as if he had spotted a lifeline. Junior brother, I reached the 4th step. I am too stupid. I trained well before. Now, I dropped the ball at the crucial moment. Oliver stared at the floor, berating himself. Senior brother, move aside. Let me try. There should be no problem. There are only 2 steps left. Oliver stepped back. His breath hitched, nearly suffocating. Wizard Angus stroked his beard. He watched the calm Levi. Not bad. You possess the potential to become an excellent pharmacist. Indeed. His technique shows skill and composure. He moves like an alchemical creature, implementing every step of the plan with precision. A first circle pharmacist added. The inheritance of the future pharmacists of the Grey Tower remains secure. Angus smiled. Levi took over Oliver's station. He analyzed the current stage. He continued the refinement work without hesitation. Minutes passed. Ms. Marlene's work reached the final step. Supplementary potion. Hurry. Marlene urged him. Emotion bled into her voice, revealing the high stakes of this task. It is done. Levi ignored the sweat stinging his eyes. He grabbed the 2 bottles of supplementary potions and rushed out of the lab. He reached the final step. 4 bottles of freshly brewed supplementary potions poured into Marlene's crucible simultaneously. The final assembly process fell outside of Levi's control. Success relied on her luck now. You have to succeed, Levi thought, his jaw clenched. Time ticked by. Ms. Marlene tossed the eyeball of a creature into the crucible. The potion boiled. White mist filled the room. Countless ingredients poured into the eyeball. At the bottom of the crucible, a black bead lay still. The potion had been fully absorbed into the bead. The bead emitted a demonic black light. Its surface pulsed, covered in dense blood vessels. It looked exactly like an eyeball. This was the second circle potion, a devil's gaze. The refinement had succeeded, despite the strange appearance. Applause echoed through the room. Congratulations, Ms. Marlene. The eye devil's gaze has been successfully refined. Our branch boasts another second circle pharmacist. President Angus offered his congratulations. The other pharmacists joined in, which Marlene stood panting. She wiped sweat from her brow, exhausted as if she had finished an intense battle. A smile touched her lips. Her wrinkled face held relief. Thank you, everyone. The potion is complete. I will not disturb you any longer. I need a short rest before I leave with my apprentices. Which Marlene stood tall. Very well. The certification badge will be delivered to you later. President Angus nodded. Which Marlene stored the eye devil's gaze away. She walked toward the port with Levi and Oliver. Along the path, Levi encountered Jagri. The young man wore a wizard robe. He offered a greeting. He clearly remembered Levi. Levi smiled back. They boarded the return ship after leaving Whale Song Island. Thank you, little Levi. Without you, this refinement might have failed. Ms. Marlene met his gaze with sincere gratitude. This moment mattered to her. Oliver kept his head down. He did not dare meet Marlene's eyes. Marlene sighed. It is fine, Oliver. Do not worry too much. The result is good. Pay more attention in the future. Learn from junior brother Levi. Oliver retreated to the cabin like a pardoned criminal to reflect on his failure. A ping sounded from his bracelet. Levi checked the notification. His bracelet displayed 108 points. Previously, Levi held only 8 points. Ms. Marlene had transferred 100 points. According to mission requirements, Levi earned only 5 points a month. Even with a year of work, he would only earn 60 points. Ms. Marlene clearly felt delighted with the outcome. Teacher, this is too much. Levi felt a surge of embarrassment. He had not done much work. He had received many formulas from her for free over the last 6 months. The abundance of points weighed on his conscience. You are welcome. You deserve it. The value of a devil's gaze far exceeds your imagination. Ms. Marlene patted Levi's shoulder. Then I will accept it. Thank you, teacher. Levi bowed. Very well. I will return to the cabin to meditate. You should rest early too. Ms. Marlene turned, clearly exhausted. She entered her cabin, said a protective spell, and prepared for sleep. Levi returned to his own cabin. With 100 points, he could purchase a wand and exchange for 2 spell models. He planned to head to White Sail Alley to acquire them. He had resided here for 6 months, but his path as a wizard felt like it had only just begun to take flight. Levi pondered the future. Chapter 254. He returned to the cabin and began to cultivate the breathing technique. The next night, the sky remained starry and bright. The sea lay calm. The azure ship advanced slowly. Occasionally, magical sea beasts surfaced to breathe. Levi cultivated the red lotus breathing technique in the cabin. Suddenly, the hair on his arm stood up. Spider sensing activated. Extreme danger pulsed through him. It had been a long time since he sensed such peril. The last time he felt this was when he faced the fist of the Empire as a weakling. He prepared casting materials to weave his seals and peered out the window. At some point, the ship sailed into a fog. Gray mist blanketed the sea. The stars vanished from view. A green light flickered on the sea in the distance. Low, suppressed roars echoed from within the fog. Little Levi, come out quickly. There is an enemy attack, Marlene shouted. She sensed the danger approaching. Her entire body flickered with ocean blue light. The zero-ring cantrip, wave layering, ignited around her. Layers of blue light stacked around Marlene like ocean waves. Levi opened the cabin door and roused Oliver from sleep. Oliver stared, dumbfounded. What is the situation? Oliver asked. Enemy attack, Levi replied. Oliver immediately cast a wave-layering spell with his wand. This stood as the classic defensive zero-ring cantrip of the Ocean School of Thought. Low-level wizards and apprentice wizards favored it. Basically everyone possessed one. Levi used no cantrip. He possessed the Frost Giant armor and the level 10 Black Snake. Stacked together, their defense surpassed this spell. Moreover, the seal of protection remained ready for a critical moment. The Azure ship continued forward into the fog. It is the people from the undead ship. How did they know we were here? Marlene wondered. Did Angus do this? She gazed at the green ghost fire in the distance with a solemn expression. Understanding dawned on Levi. Someone on Whale Song Island must have leaked news about Marlene. President Angus and the other 2 first circle pharmacists stood as possible suspects. Perhaps one of the 4 high-level pharmacy apprentices did it. If not them, Oliver remained unlikely. Levi had observed Oliver over the past few days. Oliver would not betray the Grey Tower, nor did he possess the courage. Someone acted as the snitch. That person leaked Marlene's whereabouts to the undead ship and the enemy forces of the Grey Tower. Such a coincidence simply could not exist. Damn it, Levi cursed silently. Traveling with an official wizard should have been safe, but this crisis proved otherwise. The rapid self-healing of the secondary blood clan required energy consumption. In a short period, rapid healing multiple times proved impossible. At this moment, Levi resembled a black-scaled man. I did not expect you to reach such a realm as a knight, Marlene said, shock coloring her tone. Protect yourself well. Since they are here to kill us, they have sent at least 2 official wizards. I will try my best to hold them back. Find an opportunity to get close. See if you can break their defense. If you cannot, jump into the sea and escape. I will fight to give you a chance. All right, Levi said. He activated his advanced vibrosensing. In this foggy environment, the ability proved even more useful. A whistling sound pierced the air. A dark green ghost fire cut through the night sky, streaking toward Levi and the others. Levi dodged the strike and leaped into the sea. Little Levi, be careful, Marlene called out. She and Oliver drew the enemy firepower. Levi sought a way to launch a sneak attack. Levi dove deep into the sea. With his lung capacity and physical endurance, he could reach hundreds of meters without any spells. He swam forward and rose until the outline of a wooden boat broke the surface of the water. A skull with 2 horns tied to the bow of the wooden boat looked extremely ferocious. Levi dared not approach too closely. He feared the official wizard above would sense him. He waited for the battle between Marlene and the attackers to begin. Once the official wizard grew distracted, Levi could close the distance. The wooden boat closed the distance to the Azure ship. It stood not big, only 30 meters long. The vessel looked simple and crude, but spell runes flickered on its surface. These vessels belonged to the undead ship. The undead ship acted as a special organization. They possessed no island. Their base camp, a giant ship thousands of meters long, served as their home. Legend claimed it as the creation of a famous ancient dark wizard. After turning into a dark wizard organization, the undead ship wandered the outer seas. It usually hid in dangerous waters to avoid pursuit by the wizard tribunal. From time to time, they dispatched raiders to prey on ships traveling the public route. These wooden boats served as their developed means of transportation. Arrays etched into the wood allowed the boats to withstand waves and ordinary sea beasts. Simultaneously, they facilitated quick guerrilla attacks. On the Azure ship, Marlene waved her wand and finished chanting a first ring spell, Sailfish Arrow. This offensive spell of the ocean school of thought condensed sea blue water elemental power into a 3-meter-long sailfish. It appeared completely transparent, with light swirling around it. The sailfish wagged its tail and rode the waves. Like a missile, it streaked toward the people on the wooden boat. Chapter 255. Oliver began to attack with his cantrip, Water Arrow. Several apprentice wizards from other organizations occupied the deck of the Azure ship. They started to counterattack without hesitation. The undead ship held a dark reputation in this area. Hee, Ms. Marlene, long time no see. A green-robed wizard with green skull paint on his face cackled. He held a 2-meter-long staff. The attack of the sailfish arrow vanished, blocked entirely by his green ghost fire. Beside him, a young green-robed wizard stood with a wand in his hand. He looked at Marlene on the Azure ship with a smug expression. Several apprentice wizards on the Azure ship stood ready, rubbing their palms as they looked at the people on the ship. Levi held his breath. He stared at the bottom of the ship with a cold gaze. The water medium transmitted vibrations over long distances. Levi sensed the people on the ship through his advanced vibrosensing, even in the deep waters. He located his target, the young official wizard. Green Ghost Carter, tisk tisk. I did not expect an old fart like you to personally come out to rob us, Marlene said. Miss Marlene, hand over the eye devil's gaze, and I will give you a quick death, Green Ghost Carter replied. As expected, someone leaked the secret. These guys are here for the potion, Levi muttered to himself. Stop talking nonsense, old green ghost. Let us see the truth with our hands. Enemies like the undead ship and the Grey Tower met with burning hatred. Marlene cast another first ring spell, Flying Fishes Dance. As a veteran first circle wizard, her strength remained formidable. Hundreds of flying fishes, condensed by the power of the water element, blotted out the sky as they charged toward the wooden boats belonging to the undead ship. This is a small trick. Come out, Hell Strongman. Green Ghost Carter's huge staff hit the deck. A dark green diamond-shaped array appeared. The green door, which looked like a space-time tunnel, swung open. Isn't this the prototype spell of the Seal of Hell? Hell summoning, Levi thought. He looked at the dark green door on the surface of the sea, ready to attack at any time. After the casting of the first ring spell, a green stone claw emerged from the green door. Green flames burned on the stone. In the next moment, a 3-meter-tall hell rock giant appeared in front of Green Ghost Carter. Green flames radiated from this stone giant, and green runes flickered on its body, blocking all of the flying fish attacks. The other first circle wizard used a green energy cloak to block the assault. Go, Hell Strongman, begin your slaughter. Green Ghost Carter let out a strange laugh. The stone giant exerted force and crushed the deck. The seemingly cumbersome rock giant crossed the distance of dozens of meters and leaped onto the Azure ship. This monster's physical fitness is not any weaker than a legendary knight, Levi noted. As expected of a veteran first circle wizard, Levi waited patiently for the right moment to strike. He possessed only one chance. Once the official wizard braced for an attack, killing him would prove nearly impossible. Marlene's figure fluttered, dodging the rock giant's attack. Her expression remained solemn. She sighed, activated the first circle defensive spell in her wand, and began to chant. A whirlpool appeared on the sea near the undead ship. Terrifying water elemental power gathered in the area. In the next moment, a water pillar shot out. A wizard from the undead ship vanished, blown away by the water pillar, and died instantly. This is bad. This crazy woman used a second ring spell. She is going all out from the start. Green Ghost Carter ordered the rock giant to jump up and attack Marlene in the air, but it could not break her defensive spell. Water pillars erupted from the vortex, and in a flash, several apprentice wizards perished. The other green-robed wizard from the undead ship began to chant. At the end of his wand, a green ghost fire with a diameter of 1 meter took shape, emitting terrifying power. He intended to interrupt the spellcasting. While the young wizard chanted the powerful first ring spell, Levi floated up and exploded out of the water. He snapped his fingers, and the shadow of the frost giant appeared behind him. A three-headed, six-sword-wielding Azura substitute stood in front of the frost giant's phantom. Levi held a sledgehammer, and golden ripple force radiated from him. The bright silver protection on his body shone brightly in the night. Frost giant's sigh froze everything. The red lotus blood burned, and heat waves surged into the sky. Red lotus form and nine swords form, coupled with the power of the golden ripple force, manifested. He cast all of them on the legendary weapon, Lion King's Pride. This was the strongest attack Levi had planned for a long time. Die. The sledgehammer came crashing down. The cantrip level green protective shield on the young first circle wizard's body shattered instantly. The sledgehammer fell against his body. Earthen yellow runes appeared on his skin, and his muscles turned into a rock-like texture. He possessed a passive first ring spell, Rock Body, which strengthened his physique. He practiced dual cultivation in the Earth School of Thought. Fear gripped the young wizard. With the support of the red lotus blood, Levi's strength rivaled a strength-type legendary knight, and his explosive power proved unparalleled. The power of the golden ripple force, and the nine swords form superimposed over the strike. The power of this hammer proved unstoppable. The rock body cracked open, and blood flowed everywhere. This was not the end. The evil spirit double behind Levi revealed 3 heads and 6 arms, wielding 9 swords. 9 blades stream profound meaning, killing indiscriminately. The 9 swords Azura substitute held 9 black gas swords, which danced wildly. Like cutting vegetables, the blades sliced through the already cracked rock body. It slashed the wizard into countless pieces. Levi's attack succeeded. He fled immediately while still in his state. Green Ghost Carter's green flames blasted toward Levi, shattering his bright silver protection, and landing on his back. The liquid black scales exploded, and the remaining force poured onto Levi's frost giant armor. The painful, burning sensation pervaded his body. However, with Levi's current transcendent endurance and powerful physique, these burns were not fatal. Damn, that old man is dangerous. His reaction is too fast. Levi jumped into the water. The blood wings shook the seawater, and just like a swordfish, he quickly pulled away from the undead ship. In the distance, Marlene looked like a god, who had descended to the mortal world. The second ring spell exploded into countless water pillars, shattering the wooden boat. Green Ghost Carter took a hit as well. He looked at the minced corpse of the young wizard beside him, and a chill settled in his heart. The person just now was only an apprentice wizard. However, his path as a knight was clearly comparable to that of a legendary knight. The Grey Tower recruited a legendary knight as an apprentice wizard. He looked very young. Damn it. Retreat. This old woman does not care about her life. She has not even advanced to the second circle, and she is already forcefully using a second ring spell. Moreover, the threat of a legendary knight is no weaker than a first circle wizard. What bad luck. An official wizard died, and I do not even know how to explain this to the captain. Green Ghost Carter did not linger. He cast a flying spell, and led the surviving apprentice wizards into the distance. On the surface of the sea, the remains of ships floated everywhere. Blood dyed part of the sea. The stone giant returned to hell. Levi waited until he felt completely safe before he fumbled around in the sea for a while. He retrieved a few small bags, which served as storage items. He quietly put them away, and returned to the Azure ship. In the chaos, the rock giant had torn Oliver apart, and he died a tragic death. Marlene's face turned pale, and she kept coughing. She returned to the deck. "Teacher, are you all right?" Levi asked. "It is okay. I will bring you off the ship and change the route back to the tower. This route is not safe anymore." Chapter 256. Marlene's light wings glided across the surface of the sea, carrying Levi forward. This mode of flight conserved spell power, allowing for longer distances. 10 miles later, she landed on an uninhabited island reef. "Let us rest for a while," Marlene suggested. "Thank you, teacher. Are you all right?" Levi asked. "I am not doing well." Marlene shook her head. "Although I have already built a second ring spell model structure, I lack the strength to cast a second ring spell. I can only manage it once my spiritual force reaches the peak of a first circle wizard. However, had I not used it back there, Green Ghost Carter, and that other official wizard would have joined forces. We would have had no hope of escaping. Poor Oliver. He was a little stupid and lazy, yet he was a good person." Marlene sighed. "When we return, I will inform the Tower Master, and he will ensure Oliver receives justice. Every apprentice wizard of our Grey Tower is a child of the Tower Master. He appears busy and rarely notices the apprentices, but he is cold on the outside and warm on the inside. In truth, he loves his apprentices deeply. Marlene gathered Oliver's corpse and storage items. Levi recalled Oliver's miserable appearance, unable to suppress a wave of sympathy. Oliver possessed decent strength for an apprentice wizard. Yet, upon this sea, facing an official wizard, an apprentice's life proved as fragile as a candle flame in a draft. A small boat could be destroyed at any moment, and everyone aboard could perish. I know your night realm is powerful, but I did not expect you to kill a first circle wizard, Marlene said. That man was clearly a rookie, who had just stepped into the first circle wizard realm, but it is rare for a knight to kill a wizard in this world. Usually, only legendary knights accomplish such a feat. It is all because your second ring spell attracted the wizard's attention. Otherwise, I would never have been able to get close, Levi replied. He spoke the truth, not merely out of humility. He had successfully killed an official wizard. On the battlefield, after casting a second ring spell, Marlene had fought like a god descended from the heavens. She drew all the wizard's firepower. This allowed Levi to launch his sneak attack. Without her intervention, closing the distance to an official wizard, even the weakest one, would have been nearly impossible. That wizard had mastered at least 10 zero-circle cantrips and 1 first-ring spell. Judging by his performance, he mastered at least 2 first-ring spells from different schools. One was that terrifying green fireball, likely an attack spell from the School of Death. The other was his passive spell, the one that turned his body into rock. It was a first-ring physical strengthening spell, a classic of the Earth School of thought known as Rock Body. Had Marlene not held back the 2 official wizards, Levi would never have dared to make his move. Little Levi, you are a good person in every way, but you are too humble. Overt humility becomes arrogance, Marlene said with a smile. Only a legendary knight could break through an official wizard's defensive barrier and shatter his physical strengthening spell. Tell me, what is your legendary name in the human world? Let me see if I have heard of it. Levi smiled bitterly and waved his hand. Teacher, do not make fun of me. Legendary knights are just tiny specks of dust in this wizard world. All right. If you do not wish to say it, that is fine. Do you have a partner now? Marlene's train of thought was difficult to track. One moment they discussed legendary knights, and the next, she asked if he had a partner. She reminded him of his distant relatives in his previous life. No, I am used to being alone, Levi answered. I see. That is a pity. With your future status and achievements, I think Winnie and you would be quite compatible. However, since you prefer to be alone, I will not try to be the matchmaker. Indeed, many wizards, myself included, realize that falling in love is a boring pursuit once we become addicted to our cultivation, Marlene said emotionally. She had lived for 150 years. She only felt romantic stirrings before she became a wizard. Since then, she had cultivated alone. Without children or a partner, Marlene treated the Grey Tower as her home. Levi chose solitude because he believed having a partner and children created a weakness. Furthermore, he possessed the proficiency panel. Though he was a child of chaos, he faced a long journey on the path of a wizard. What of his family? Winnie possessed a triple affinity. She might not even become an official wizard, let alone progress further. Levi did not wish to watch his family die of old age before his eyes. In short, solitude offered peace, especially now that he had no territory to worry about. With Andrew, the destined worker, overseeing the land, Levi felt comfortable. He rested on the island reef with Marlene. Marlene resumed flying with Levi. After waiting 3 days on another route, they boarded the Azure ship and returned to the Grey Tower. Chapter 257. After saying goodbye to Levi, Ms. Marlene hurried back to the 3rd floor of the White Tower. She needed time to recuperate, to recover from the damage to her spiritual force caused by forcefully using a second ring spell. Then, she would attempt to break through to a second circle wizard. After returning to the Grey Tower's 9th floor, Levi did not check his gains immediately. If the second circle pharmacist Angus from Whalesong Island leaked our whereabouts, we might be in big trouble. Whalesong Island looks peaceful, but it might be colluding with the undead ship. This was a distinct possibility. The relationship between Whalesong Island and the Grey Tower seemed adequate, but no one knew the true intentions of the Overlord Wizard Organization of the sea area. After all, Whalesong Island possessed the only 3rd circle wizard in the region. If the rules of the Pan-Plane Wizard Council did not exist, Whalesong Island might have unified the sea area. Levi lacked evidence, so this remained a guess. It was also possible that the other 2 high-level pharmacy apprentices leaked the information. Although the 2 apprentices were Marlene's friends, they might harbor bad intentions. Competition between different wizard forces persisted. Resources in the sea were limited, making conflicts inevitable. I do not care. In the Grey Tower, even if the sky falls, the Tower Master will take care of it. What is there to worry about? The Tower Master killed a second circle wizard a long time ago. His strength might be close to that of a 3rd circle wizard now. He is unfathomable. Levi paced the room. The Grey Tower was an organization that birthed a 3rd circle wizard. Their legacy was not ordinary. Moreover, the founder of the Grey Tower held a post in the Star Tower. His position was significant, and he was an intermediate wizard. If they were in real trouble, they could even call their ancestor over. There was no need to worry unnecessarily. Levi turned his attention to the bags on the ground. There were 3 in total. One belonged to an official wizard, while the other 2 belonged to apprentice wizards. The official wizard's bag looked delicate, etched with complicated spell runes. The storage pouch alone would sell for a significant amount of money. Levi activated the bright silver protection. Liquid black scales covered his entire body in case of traps. The bag remained tightly closed. Levi attempted to open it physically, but after a long time, it refused to budge. Spell runes flickered, protecting the storage bag with a surge of power. Damn it. I need a spell to open this. This bag is advanced. Levi cursed. Brute force was one way, but he feared damaging the items inside. This was the asset of an official wizard, and Levi would be heartbroken to see it destroyed. In the wizard world, there were many types of storage items. He had never seen such a bag before, so the opening mechanism remained a mystery. He asked Tutton, but that old man did not know whether. I will try again after I study this bag properly. If it does not work, I will find Ms. Marlene. She should have a way to open it. Since he could not open the storage pouch of the official wizard, Levi settled for the next best thing. The storage items of the two apprentice wizards resembled the bag of gluttony. Levi opened them easily. A large pile of miscellaneous items scattered on the floor. Apart from daily necessities and clothes, few items held value. Levi summarized the loot. 66 ether stones, a wand. A sheepskin notebook lay among the items. It contained a first ring spell, Undead Summoning. He also found a spellbook from the School of Death that recorded the spell models of 3 0-ring cantrips, Withering Ray, Soul Fire, and Corpse Burst. Finally, he found a meditation art called Night Crow Meditation Art. Apart from that, there were casting materials and ordinary gold. To Levi, the gold was better than nothing. These storage pouches constituted a decent harvest. Levi unceremoniously put away the ether stones. He had been in the wizard world for half a year, and he had not possessed a single piece of ether stone until now. He did not expect the people from the undead ship to send him ether stones from afar. This was 66 points. The wand was a pitch-black tree branch with a fork at the end, resembling the forked tongue of a poisonous snake. It had a strange shape, and the style was dark. The Viper wand is a middle-grade wand. It possesses 2 0-ring cantrips, Soul Fire and Undead Bone Armor. Soul Fire is an offensive cantrip. It produces a ball of ordinary green hellfire to attack the enemy. The Soul Fire burns the body and soul, so this cantrip is a classic spell of the School of Death. Many official wizards use it. The Soul Fire solidified in this wand has the power of a high-level apprentice wizard. It is quite good. The Undead Bone Armor is a classic defensive cantrip of the School of Death. It condenses into a set of bone armor to protect the user. It can withstand a full-force attack from a high-level apprentice wizard. This wand is a small masterpiece among middle-grade ones. Other than the 2 solidified spells, it also increases the casting speed of the apprentice wizard stage by 10%, and increases the power of magic spells by 10%. In White Sail Alley, a wand of similar quality costs 50 points. Satisfied, Levi put away the Viper wand. He could save a lot of points. Whether in the mortal world or the wizard world, preparation was key. Chapter 258. Hard work and legal avenues of income pale in comparison to high-risk rewards like robbery. The loot feels good, but the danger remains high. Such opportunities occur rarely. Without the presence of Ms. Marlene, Levi would never have dared to attack a wizard. Even a high-level apprentice wizard poses a threat. A moment of inattention leads to failure. Spells exist in countless varieties. The strength of each high-level apprentice wizard fluctuates based on mastered spells, casting experience, and equipment. Levi's primary haul from the bags consists of spell models. The sheepskin notebook contains a first-ring spell, Undead Summoning, capable of pulling the dead from hell. This constitutes the original spell of the Seal of Hell, also known as Hell Summoning. This first-ring spell provides the most important combat power for early-stage School of Death wizards. The weak undead skeletons from Hell and the powerful Hell Strongmen summoned by Green Ghost Carter rely on this first-ring Undead Summoning spell. Carter relies primarily on the Hell Strongman he summons, a creature possessing strength exceeding that of a legendary knight. The creature shrugs off blades and ignores spell attacks below the first ring. It serves as the ultimate tank. Levi desires such power. Mastering a first-ring spell lies beyond Levi's current grasp. He requires the rank of high-level apprentice wizard and spiritual power totaling 15 points to construct a first-ring spell model. To cast a first-ring spell, spiritual force must reach the apprentice peak of 20 points. Mastering such magic as an apprentice wizard proves exceptionally difficult. The other spellbook records 3 cantrips from the School of Death. Soul Fire requires little explanation, given its presence on the staff. Withering Ray captures his interest. It produces a ray of spiritual force infused with the power of death and decay. A successful hit damages the target's spiritual force, while the injured body parts wither and age. Corpse Burst detonates nearby bodies, relying on the explosive impact for damage. This cantrip suits large battlefields. The lack of available corpses renders it useless in one-on-one combat. An apprentice wizard possesses 10 spell slots in total. Levi refuses to waste a slot on this. Soul Fire and Withering Ray offer powerful offensive utility. These far exceed the attack spells of the Ocean School of Thought. That school prioritizes defense and control over raw damage. I have 3 spell slots available, Levi thinks. I must reserve 2 to learn the Ocean School of Thought cantrips for future assessments. This leaves 1 slot for a School of Death cantrip. The wand already contains Soul Fire. While limited to 1 cast per day, the base power matches a high-level apprentice. That suffices. I will master Withering Ray now. I can consider Soulfire once I achieve the rank of high-level apprentice wizard. Night Crow meditation art requires no explanation. As the apprentice stage meditation art of the School of Death, Levi intends to master it. The School of Death functions differently from traditional elementalist schools, where spells and meditation art must align. Traditional schools impose strict limitations. Casting a first ring spell like Burning Palm requires the corresponding Burning School of Thought meditation art. Different schools produce different output. Levi's current Deep Sea meditation art provides a perfect match for Ocean School of Thought spells. However, that power fails to enhance spells from the Burning School of Thought. One can cast spells from the School of Insects or the School of Death using the Deep Sea meditation art, though the power and effectiveness suffer. Levi prefers using Ocean School of Thought attack spells. Levi appreciates the attack spells of the School of Death. They are vicious, insidious, and strange. Every spell serves as a lethal tool. Levi considers focusing on the School of Death. The Burning and Lightning schools require high elemental talent. As a child of chaos, Cultivation moves slowly. Even with the proficiency panel, the pace remains modest. Given enough time, he will cultivate the Burning and Lightning schools eventually. Levi gathers his loot. He leaves the 9th floor of the Grey Tower and heads to Whitesail Alley to purchase 2 cantrip spell models. Meanwhile, in the foggy outer seas, a grey mist lingers year-round. The sun never breaks through. The sea remains calm, yet the roars of beasts echo beneath the waves. Huge shadows drift through the deep. Chapter 259. Among these sea beasts, the extraordinary ones that occasionally appeared stirred up the wind and waves. They were terrifying. In the center of the foggy sea, a dark green light flickered. After passing through the fog and arriving at the light, a huge ship that resembled an island sat motionless in the sea. This was the undead ship. Its existence spanned a period much longer than the Grey Tower. A powerful dark wizard created it a long time ago. Dark wizards operated like dark wizard organizations. They were the dark and evil casters wanted by the Wizard Council, because they had violated the Panplane Wizard Council's charter. They were evil. They did whatever they wanted. That dark wizard left behind many legends in the sea area. He was the undead Captain Jet, a man feared by everyone. His ship was the Black Mary. Captain Jet was once the most powerful man in this sea area. He had reached the realm of a 4th circle wizard. Even in the Star Sea, people considered him an absolute expert. Unfortunately, for some unknown reason, the Star Tower's law enforcement team caught the captain after he had been at large for a long time. They executed him. His ship, filled with hell creatures, evil spirits, and undead, was also destroyed. It sank into the sea. The current organization, the Undead Ship, found the remains of the ship and repaired them. Although it was dilapidated, it served as a base for the organization. The Undead Ship sat docked in this foggy sea area. On the deck, green ghost fire that looked like lanterns flickered everywhere. These undead creatures were lantern fire. Lantern fires were weak. Low-level apprentice wizards could deal with them with simple cantrips. However, there were many of them. Tens of thousands of lantern fires covered the 1,000-meter-long ship. They patrolled the ship day and night. The slightest movement alerted them, and the undead ship would quickly escape. After becoming a dark wizard organization, they either ran away or hid in dangerous waters that others avoided. Other than low-level undead like the lantern fire, the ship held undead skeletons, undead knights riding on skeletal war horses, and skeleton mages holding staffs. At the very top of the cabin, a beast measuring more than 20 meters long slept. It had 3 heads. The middle head possessed a single horn. Its flesh was rotten, revealing ghastly white bones. This was the 3-headed hell lizard. It was powerful and rare among undead creatures. It looked ordinary, but its strength approached that of a 2nd circle wizard. This giant undead creature was a hybrid of the dragon race. It did not possess much dragon ancestry, yet it was mixed blood. It did not even rank as a hybrid like the earth dragon blood. It could not compare to the descendants of the dragon race, who had degenerated to a level that even extraordinary creatures could not reach. The 3 heads of the 3-headed hell lizard possessed 3 different types of spell abilities. They were innate and powerful spellcasters, and their bodies were incredibly tough. Below the 3-headed hell lizard, in the captain's cabin, Green Ghost Carter prostrate on the ground. He looked at the black-robed figure on the throne of bones. Half of the face of this black-robed wizard was a skeleton. The other half was rotten flesh. It looked distorted and terrifying. His chest was empty. He had no heart. Black demonic flames burned in his eye sockets. This was the current captain of the undead ship, Dark Wizard Harland. People remembered him more by his other nickname, Demon. His style was avant-garde and terrifying, leaving a deep impression. However, this was the usual style of many wizards from the School of Death. It was inevitable that he would become this way when he dealt with hell creatures, undead, and all kinds of death-type spells. At this moment, Demon Harlan's eyes filled with anger. Demon fire burned out of his head. It was the literal meaning of burning with rage. So, not only did you fail to get the Devil's Gaze, but you also caused the death of an official wizard from the undead ship, Demon Harlan said slowly. He watched Carter. You ran back with your tail between your legs. The one who killed our official wizard was an apprentice wizard of the Grey Tower. Green Ghost Carter trembled with fear. In front of this powerful 2nd circle wizard, even a veteran 1st circle wizard like him meant nothing. Captain, it is all my fault, Carter confessed. He cat out frantically. I made a mistake. I did not expect that the Grey Tower would actually recruit a legendary knight-level apprentice wizard. Humph, useless trash. The demon snorted. Even with a 2nd circle wizard's state of mind, he stood on the verge of exploding. The current official wizards of the undead ship, excluding Demon Harland, numbered only 6. Now, another had died, leaving only 5. Although their numbers remained greater than those of the Grey Tower, the problem was that the current tower master of the Grey Tower, the crazy old man, who had replaced almost all his organs with alchemical prosthetics, was too powerful. Other than that crazy old man, the damned white snake, the pet of the previous tower master, was also strong. In order to fight against the crazy old man, Harland refused to be outdone. Since he had a modified alchemical body, he would turn himself into a half-human, undead monster. If he did not want to be human, he would not be human. Chapter 260. Since he possesses the powerful second circle transcendent creature, the white snake, a mixed blood of the dragon race, he shall go all out and capture a second circle 3-headed hell lizard from hell, which is also a mixed blood of the dragon race. In the arms race, Demon Harland stands no weaker than anyone else in his life. It is impossible for him to lose to his arch-enemy, the Grey Tower. The problem remains that the wizard under him is disappointing. An official wizard died at the hands of an apprentice wizard. Word of this would turn him into a laughingstock. If they go out to rob, they might end up losing everything. Demon Harland's chest heaves with rage, yet he remembers the apprentice wizard is a legendary knight. Harland accepts his fate. 100 years ago, while he was still a first circle wizard, he fought a legendary knight in the Star Tower. In the end, both sides stood evenly matched. That legendary knight was a woman. She possessed great fame in the human world. People called her Flower Knight Elena. That woman wielded superb swordsmanship, and her powerful breathing technique caused the confident Demon Harland to suffer greatly. After Demon Harland attained his second circle, he once desired revenge on the Flower Knight. It is a pity that upon reaching the Star Tower, he discovered the Flower Knight had already advanced to a third circle wizard and joined the ranks of intermediate wizards. He returned dejectedly. Now, another legendary knight has appeared in this sea area. This brings the past back to Harland. Now is the time for me to use people. You destroyed the official wizard that I painstakingly nurtured. I will not punish you because it is meaningless. Within 1 year, no matter what method you use, you must create another official wizard for me. Otherwise, Demon Harland's voice drips with venom as he sneers. Don't worry, Captain. I will definitely do it. Green Ghost Carter replies, his voice trembling. Green Ghost Carter's mind races. Where will I find an official wizard? An official wizard is not that easy to find. Also, check the name of that legendary knight and his wizard talent. If he possesses a double affinity, or is a child of the elements, we must kill him before he becomes an official wizard. If he possesses only a normal talent, it does not matter. He will become a first circle wizard at most. A legendary knight represents the end of the knight's path. Therefore, his strength cannot reach the second circle. It will not affect our future plans. Harland remembers that Elena was a child of the elements. Her cultivation speed was terrifying. It made Harland feel like trash. Such a tragedy must not happen again. All right, Captain. I will often send people to patrol the route near the Grey Tower. Once we find that legendary knight, we will kill him on the spot. However, what if he continues to hide in the Grey Tower? Green Ghost Carter asks. We cannot start a wizard war with the Grey Tower for the time being. Recently, those damned law enforcers of the Star Tower have searched for us all over the world. We can only make a move after I advance to the third circle. If he does not come out, you can wait slowly. No one can remain patient and stay in a broken tower for so long. Demon Harland glares at Green Ghost Carter with dissatisfaction. Green Ghost Carter slowly retreats. Harland returns to his throne and continues meditating. In a spell shop in White Sail Alley, Levi examines the spellbooks in the display window. These contain cantrip models. A spellbook for a first circle spell does not appear in the display window. Levi's plan involves choosing a control or defense type spell from the Ocean School of Thought, along with an attack type. The Zero Ring cantrip, Water Arrow, requires 3 constitution points and costs 3 spell power. The price is 20 points. For offensive spells, Levi does not hesitate and chooses a normal cantrip like Water Arrow. Although this cantrip lacks power, its structure remains simple, and it consumes very little spell power. Levi possesses great experience, and he will reach the limit quickly. Moreover, if he cultivates the Water Arrow spell to its limit, its power remains acceptable. At least, it suffices for the apprentice wizard stage. As such, Levi ignores the other fancy attack spells. The attack spells he intends to major in the future come from the School of Death. As for the second spell, Levi chooses a control type spell. His current level 10 Black Snake defense provides adequate protection. With the Frost Giant armor, Levi can even withstand a casual attack from an official wizard. Of course, Green Ghost Carter used a cantrip to attack Levi at the end, so the power remained average. Had the wizard used a real first circle spell, Levi might not have withstood it. The Zero Ring cantrip, Tidal Grasp, requires 5 constitution points and costs 5 spell power. The price is 40 points. This Tidal Grasp proves much more difficult than Water Arrow. Control type spells are rare, and Tidal Grasp counts as a classic control type spell at the apprentice level of the Ocean School of Thought. It summons the power of water elements to form a tidal cage to restrict the movements of the enemy. However, this level of control only imprisons the enemy for a short period of time. For Levi, this suffices. After purchasing the spells, Levi returns to the Grey Tower. He happens to meet senior sister Winnie, who has just finished a class. Junior brother, Didn't you go to class? Winnie asks. No, senior sister, you just finished your class, Levi greets politely. He remembers Ms. Marlene's words and takes another look at Winnie. Chapter 261. She was indeed pretty. In his previous life, she would have been the type who was out of his league. Winnie stood there, smiling. Class just ended. Junior brother, you are hiding your strength, she said. Levi blinked in confusion. What do you mean, he asked. Winnie pouted. You helped Ms. Marlene refine the second ring potion successfully, but you did not say a word about it, she said. Levi gestured with his hands. It is not my credit, for high-level pharmacy apprentices were involved. Moreover, I only helped around, and there was not much effect, he explained. Winnie leaned in. As for you being a legendary knight, I have not heard you mention it before. Now you are already an influential figure in the Grey Tower. You are an apprentice wizard who killed an official wizard from the undead ship, yet you are still pretending, she said with a grin. Levi stared at her. What? How did you know, he asked, dumbfounded. Only he and Ms. Marlene knew about this. Perhaps Ms. Marlene told the Tower Master, but the other apprentices should not know. Winnie waved her hand. The White Tower reward for you has been announced, and the notice is posted on the White Tower. Junior brother, do you not know, she asked. After Levi returned, he had been busy researching spells. I will go take a look, he said. He bid goodbye to Winnie, and rushed to the White Tower. The White Snake sensed Levi arrive and woke from its slumber. Levi reached the bulletin board. The Grey Tower low-level apprentice wizard, who is also a high-level pharmacy apprentice as well as a legendary knight. Levi killed the official wizard enemy from the undead ship and protected Witch Marlene. He will be rewarded with 500 points. The undead ship belongs to the Dark Wizard Organization, which is an evil force in the realm of Azure Cloud. It has committed all kinds of crimes in our sea area. Everyone has a responsibility to fight against the Dark Wizard Organization. Signed, White Robe Wizard Herman. Winnie stood beside him, watching his reaction. See, junior brother, you are really low-key. To think that I even wanted to teach you. I did not expect you to be a hidden big shot. A legendary knight against a first circle wizard, she said, shaking her head in disbelief. Being a legendary knight was an honor that many people dreamed of. If Winnie became a legendary knight, she would hire 10,000 bards to go to various regions every day to publicize her glorious deeds. However, when she first met this junior, he looked like a newbie who had just arrived. He seemed stupid and naive. After he came, he stayed at home all day and did not participate in the social activities between apprentices. As a result, most of the apprentice wizards in the Grey Tower still did not know what Levi's name was. To live without a sense of existence was quite amazing. Levi laughed, a sound of mixed frustration and amusement. He read the words on the board, then glanced at his bracelet. 548 points. This happiness came too suddenly. He felt confused. He never thought of telling the Tower Master about killing the enemy wizard. He felt it was not a big deal. Ms. Marlene had done the greatest work by restraining 2 official wizards. Levi felt used to keeping a low profile, used to hiding himself, used to doing things silently without leaving his name. To avoid being noticed by the church in the human world, he had lived in seclusion. Exposing his strength went against his nature. Even though Levi did not care, Ms. Marlene took it to heart. Out of goodwill, she told the Tower Master about the good news immediately after she returned. She gave Levi all the credit for killing the official wizard, and the Tower Master on the 7th floor remained elated for the rest of the day. Because he felt delighted, he generously transferred 500 points to Levi. That was 500 points. Many high-level apprentice wizards in the tower could not save that much despite staying in the tower for more than 10 years. Levi had only been in the tower for half a year. He jumped directly to the top of the Grey Tower rich list. He had even become an influential figure in the Grey Tower. This made Levi unable to adapt. Ms. Marlene, he whispered, feeling warmth in his heart. He had always thought of the world of wizards as a bad place. The strong preyed on the weak, and the dark forest existed everywhere. That was why he kept a low profile. Now, he realized that kind wizards existed. Wizards were human, and human nature was difficult to change. It was the same for Anderson, who was part of the Blood Clan. Winnie laughed, a shameless sound. Junior brother, in the future, I will hang out with you in the Grey Tower. You have to protect me. After all, I was your guide, she said. Levi bade her farewell and walked toward the 3rd floor of the White Tower. He wanted to thank Ms. Marlene personally, but he remembered she might still be recovering from her injuries, so he decided to wait. Along the way, other cold and aloof apprentice wizard seniors took the initiative to greet Levi, who had been in the tower for half a year. Junior brother, what is your legendary name in the human world? One asked. Another leaned in. Junior brother, when will you come to my home for a drink? I have always liked knights since I was young. Unfortunately, my family does not allow me to be a knight. Now that a legendary knight is by my side, can I touch your chest muscles that are more developed than mine? She asked. Thank you for showing mercy during the last test, another muttered. In the past few days, Levi met many unfamiliar seniors who started building relationships with him. They stood shocked beyond words after learning of Levi's glorious feat. In front of the window on the 7th floor of the White Tower, Tower Master Herman looked at Levi with a smile. He liked this kind of apprentice who killed an enemy directly without saying much. When he learned from Witch Marlene that Levi had smashed an official wizard who had learned body-strengthening spells with a hammer, he felt fondness for this simple and violent young man. Not bad. Even if Levi's wizard talent is average, with his pharmacy talent and the strength of a legendary knight, his future status will not be inferior to an official wizard, Tower Master Herman sighed. For the next 3 months, Ms. Marlene recuperated. Senior sister Winnie felt stimulated by Levi and meditated even harder. She possessed talent and learned meditation art from a young age, so she had a solid foundation. Hope remained for her to become an official wizard in the future. The Tower Master obsessed over alchemy and neared a shift from the Ocean School of Thought to the School of Alchemy. To Levi, the Tower Master viewed flesh and blood as inferior and intended to walk the path of developing machinery. 3 months caused the popularity of Levi, the fake legendary knight, to slowly die down. In these 3 months, he did not dare to leave the 9th floor of the Grey Tower. Leaving the island was impossible. He held status as an influential figure. He feared being remembered while outside, especially since he had offended the undead ship. Perhaps those outlaws were preparing to ambush him on the sea lane. Therefore, Levi understood. Before he became an official wizard, he would not step out of the Grey Tower. Most matters could be settled inside. As for the secret medicine and breathing technique required for his night cultivation, Levi planned to find a representative to help him collect them. He hid at home, studied the few spell models he had just obtained, cultivated breathing techniques, and practiced meditation arts. Leaving was out of the question. Chapter 262. Waves rolled in the blue sea. A wooden boat moved slowly along the sea lane around the Grey Tower. Green Ghost Carter brought a few apprentice wizards onto the boat. He gripped the wooden railing. Keep an eye on him. It has been 3 months. I do not believe that kid will not leave the tower. Green Ghost Carter followed Captain Demon Harlan's orders to wait for that legendary night on the sea lane near the Grey Tower. 3 months had passed. He had waited for a long time on the possible sea lanes of the Grey Tower. No sign of the legendary knight appeared. The other apprentices of the Grey Tower went out a few times. If it were any other time, Green Ghost Carter would have attacked them. However, in order not to alert the enemy, he held back. Damn you little brat. I do not believe that you can stay indoors for a year. If you stay indoors for a year, then I will wait for 2 years. If you stay indoors for 2 years, then I will wait for 3 years. The people on the undead ship were used to cultivating on the ship. Green Ghost Carter did not worry about delaying his cultivation. Usually, the apprentices kept an eye on him. Just like that, on the sea lane near the Grey Tower, Green Ghost Carter waited for another 3 months. He still had not found the person he was looking for. An apprentice asked him cautiously why they remained there. Green Ghost Carter snapped at the man. I am not happy if I do not kill that little bastard. It is all his fault that I was punished by the captain. Days passed. The month of beginning, year 1018 of the Holy Brilliance calendar arrived. The human world welcomed the new year again. In the past year, the Blue Frost calamity erupted occasionally in small areas within the Northern Territory. Compared to when it first appeared, the calamity seemed much weaker. This put the Emerald Kingdom at ease. If the outbreak only occurred in the Northern Territory, then the royal family and other great nobles in the south did not have to worry. Meanwhile, in the neighboring Evernight Kingdom, major news arrived. The Snow Queen, a female Grand Knight, had broken through to the legendary level. This surprised many people. Although the Snow Queen was a top-tier Grand Knight, she remained far from becoming a legendary knight. Even the White Horse Knight could not break through to the legendary level. It was unbelievable that Queen Evernight had made a breakthrough. In Flower City, where it was like spring all year round, Anderson came to play chess with Andrew again. The old man settled down in Flower City. In his long life, besides continuing to study the way of knights, one of his few hobbies was playing chess. The Snow Queen has broken through to the legendary level. I did not expect that. It seems that the Church of Snow intends to support the Snow Queen. Otherwise, she would not have attained the legendary level, Anderson said. Everyone says that the Snow Queen is the daughter of God, so it is normal for her to become a legendary knight, Andrew said while playing chess. Speaking of which, it has been a year, and there is still no news from Levi. Has he broken through to the legendary level? Anderson mumbled. It should not be that easy to break through to the legendary level. Even my master needs some time. Elder, do you have any way to contact my master? I have something to give him, Andrew said. In the past year, he collected a few breathing technique inheritance diagrams for Levi. He even found a perfect quality physique breathing technique. It was called the Undying Bird breathing technique. It was said that after mastering it, one's physique would be as strong as the legendary Undying Bird. One would be immune to all poisons, water, and fire. One could even rise from the ashes. These were exaggerations, but it was true that this breathing technique provided a very strong self-healing ability. Andrew had spent a lot of effort to obtain this breathing technique. I cannot contact him either. I do not even know which organization he went to. Wait for him to contact us. I hope that kid does not die in there. Although there is order in the wizard world, it is also very dangerous, Anderson said. In the Endless Sea, inside the Grey Tower, Levi had been in the Grey Tower for a year. Some time ago, Ms. Marlene recovered from her injuries. She intended to attempt to break through to a second circle wizard. If she succeeded, the Grey Tower would have 2 second circle wizards, which was undoubtedly a good thing for Levi. Starting from the preparation work, it would take some time to break through, and very few people knew about this. This was to prevent the people from the undead ship from arranging spies in the Grey Tower and causing trouble at the critical moment of the breakthrough. The reason why Levi knew about it was because of Ms. Marlene. She trusted him. On the 9th floor of the Grey Tower, Levi woke from his meditative state. His current state was much better than half a year ago. The period of weakness from the burning red lotus blood had long passed. In the past half a year, whether it was training as a knight or a wizard, Levi had gained a lot. As for the path of a knight, Levi successfully cultivated another breathing technique to its maximum limit. Levi, Ostrich Mountain Breathing Technique, Level 9, Maximum, Breakthrough available. Special effect, Ostrich Feet, Gas. Ostrich Feet, black gas gathers in the legs, forming gaseous ostrich feet. It will strengthen the power of the legs. A kick can cause an earthquake. The ostrich raised its head and puffed out its chest. Its long legs were strong and powerful. Black gas surged out from the heart area and surged into Levi's legs. Like the fine scales on chicken feet, Levi's legs became even more slender and powerful. The black gas on his feet spread and condensed, transforming into a pair of two-toed bird claws that looked like an ostrich's. Chapter 263. Levi studied his reflection in the mirror. He summoned his black scale and blood wings. He let out a breathless laugh. Black scale, small black feet, bat wings, what kind of monster is this? He kicked, and the air exploded. If this strong kick landed on a grand knight's body, the impact would smash the man into pieces. The special effect of the ostrich feet stood as an upgrade from the transcendent power of the ostrich mountain breathing technique. Levi flexed his leg, feeling the latent power. The giant breathing technique strengthens the arms, while the ostrich mountain breathing technique targets the legs. Even though they are both strength-type techniques, the area of focus differs. I wonder what the red lotus breathing technique strengthens. He stared at his reflection, anticipating the answer. The red lotus breathing technique acted as a perfect breathing technique, and its cultivation speed remained the slowest among all his methods. Fortunately, he had prepared many secret medicines before entering the world of wizards, so he did not have to worry about the supply for the time being. Now that the red lotus breathing technique approached level 9, he estimated that it would only take a few months. At that time, he would discover what kind of surprise the red lotus breathing technique would bring him. Up until now, the only breathing techniques that Levi cultivated that were not at their maximum limit were the red lotus breathing technique and the blood beast breathing technique, which had just broken through. The black snake breathing technique's breakthrough sits on the agenda, Levi thought. I have to think of a way to get some defensive breathing techniques in the next few days. The world of wizards has existed for so long, and there will definitely be some knights who bring their breathing techniques in. I wonder if the Black Sail Wizard Market sells them. He turned the thought over in his mind. After experiencing the last unexpected disaster, and before Levi became an official wizard, he did not want to leave the Grey Tower. The outside world was too dangerous. It was better to stay in the tower. With Levi's current strength and status, he could hand this job over to someone else in the tower. As long as money could solve the problem, there was no need for him to take the risk himself. As for why he wanted to collect so many breathing techniques, he could explain it away by calling himself a breathing technique collector. Apart from the cultivation of breathing techniques, Levi had also been studying the golden cross slash. He felt that he had some understanding of the golden revolving divine palm, but he still stood a distance away from truly comprehending it. After collecting more information, Levi felt certain that the golden cross slash was the ultimate technique of Golden Knight Gregor. He could not help but admire this legendary knight. Every legendary knight had their own strengths. He thought of Blood Knight Brad's strong willpower and righteous principles. He considered Golden Knight Gregor's sword talent and golden blood. He pondered Lionheart Knight Rhine, Flower Knight Elena, Black Knight Blake, the Nameless Knight, and Snow Knight Flare. Although Levi had never seen these people before, they were all worthy of respect. They were mortals who created legends. If the opportunity arose, Levi wanted to track down the traces of these legendary knights. If possible, he could learn their powerful breathing techniques and their combat techniques. Perhaps it would help Levi break through to the legendary realm and open up the path of a knight. One could walk further on any path only by standing on the shoulders of the predecessors. The greatest wisdom of humans was collective wisdom. That was why the wizards established the Panplane Wizard Council, which ended the chaotic state of the early wizards. From then on, the development of wizard theory knowledge began to accelerate. After half a year of cultivation, Levi's Black Devil Blade's proficiency had increased by quite a bit. However, he remained far from breaking through to level 4. After level 3, the cultivation speed of the Black Devil Blade had clearly slowed down. Levi guessed that in order to reach level 4, one would need the spiritual force of a high-level apprentice wizard. This black gas technique combined one's physical body and spiritual force. What was important was balance. Levi stood at the peak of the Night Realm, and he only missed the Legendary Realm. In terms of physical cultivation, he already qualified as a true Grandmaster. However, in terms of spiritual cultivation, he remained a mid-level apprentice wizard, a rookie. Therefore, he had to take it step by step. The last part of the training related to wizards took up the most time in the past 6 months. The deep-sea meditation art remained at level 2, but its proficiency had increased a little. Without supplementary potions, the estimation suggested it would take another 4 to 5 years for it to reach level 3. Apart from the deep-sea meditation art, Levi had also mastered a second wizard meditation art. Levi examined his progress. The Night Crow meditation art was at level 1, with 420 points out of 1,000. Perhaps the reason for this progress was that Levi had already learned the deep-sea meditation art. It was also possible that the Night Crow meditation art was new. Thus, Levi had spent half a year increasing the Night Crow meditation art's proficiency by a large margin. This speed was nearly 3 times faster than the deep sea meditation art. Levi felt that perhaps the meditation art was similar to the breathing technique. The more meditation arts he learned, the higher his experience and realm, and the faster he could learn new meditation arts. Now, Levi's spiritual force had increased to 6 points. His spell power reached 60 points. Now that Levi had a lot of points, he managed to max out all the potions that could increase the upper limit of his spell power. The range of spiritual force for a mid-level apprentice wizard was 5 to 10 points. Above 10 points would be a high-level apprentice wizard. The range of spiritual power for a high-level apprentice wizard was from 11 to 20 points. Chapter 264. Levi remained far from becoming an official wizard. After learning the Night Crow meditation art, Levi completed the spell constitution of the School of Death's Withering Ray. To cast the Withering Ray, he required the Eye of the Grey Snake. This casting material was not sold in White Sail Alley, as it was a component used only by the School of Death. This difficulty highlighted why wizards were divided into schools and gathered together. In the territory of the Ocean School of Thought, finding the casting materials of the School of Death proved a difficult problem. These items existed in the realm of Azure Cloud, but they were not easy to acquire. Levi reasoned that the Black Sail Wizard Market would carry them. Fortunately, the storage bags of the defeated wizards contained some materials for casting Withering Ray. It was enough for Levi to reach level 2. After upgrading the Withering Ray to level 2, Levi temporarily stopped the cultivation of this spell. He switched his focus to Water Arrow and Tidal Grasp. Of the two spells, Water Arrow required no casting materials, and it had a low difficulty. It was less complex than Levi's first spell, the Insect Controlling Technique, which possessed only 30 nodes in total. Levi quickly constructed the spell constitution and cultivated his Water Arrow to level 2. As for Tidal Grasp, it required a type of coral rock produced at the bottom of the sea as a casting material. It was sold in White Sail Alley, and it was not expensive. However, the difficulty of this cantrip was slightly higher, and Levi remained at level 1. As for the Insect Controlling Technique and the Flower Fairy's Dew, these two cantrips reached their limit at level 4. No special effects manifested after these two cantrips reached their limits. With the Insect Controlling Technique at the limit of level 4, Levi could control 1,000 Saint Scorpions. However, after years of natural breeding, there were only about 300 Saint Scorpions in his bug house. The breeding cycle of the Saint Scorpion was too long, and some of the adults would even eat their own larvae. Levi studied the Saint Insect Defending Technique and realized that the larvae needed to be fed separately. Levi possessed only one bug house, so he kept the larvae in a small room on the 9th floor. He usually bought sea beast meat from the White Tower town to feed them. Although the technique claimed that Saint Scorpions could evolve faster by eating humans, Levi would not become a true demon and start a massacre for this. He would not survive more than 1 month in the wizard world acting in such a manner. Therefore, he chose to feed them the meat of sea beasts. The meat was rich in nutrients and sufficed for their needs. Without the guidance of the School of Insects, Levi found the path difficult and could only fumble around on his own. The effect of the Flower Fairy's Dew, at the limit of level 4, increased the range of watering slightly, and the nutrients in the dew were also more concentrated. Other than that, no qualitative changes occurred. This was just a cantrip, and achieving such an effect was already quite good. Levi remained in charge of the small garden. Apart from him, the apprentice wizards of the Grey Tower lacked the ability to care for those precious herbs as well as he did. Levi maintained the small garden quest to repay Ms. Marlene's kindness. These herbs represented Ms. Marlene's painstaking efforts, and many of them were precious raw materials for first circle potions. Naturally, he could not give them up. Moreover, after Flower Fairy's Dew reached level 4, Levi did not have to spend too much time in the small garden. For the past 6 months, he had not left the island or sold medicine to earn money. The 500 points awarded by the Tower Master were enough for Levi to spend for a long time. Life remained unpredictable. Levi had worried about points and devised all sorts of money-making plans, yet he suddenly became rich. Of course, the principle of making money from pharmaceutical production would not waver. The windfall of 500 points was a coincidence. Future consumption would only increase. Therefore, Levi continued practicing his pharmacology. He estimated that by the end of the year, his pharmacy skill would reach level 6. That was the standard of a high-level pharmacy skill. The success rate of making normal potions, such as blue potions and red potions, was basically 80 to 90%. Once he became an official first circle pharmacist, the success rate of these apprentice-level potions would reach 100%. Levi did not have many classes during this period, leaving him ample time to cultivate. With Ms. Marlene in seclusion, the advanced general education class was temporarily suspended. Levi had already mastered all the basic general education classes, finishing them with full marks. He had long mastered the common language of wizards. With this language, he could communicate with other wizards in the realm of the unbelievers without hindrance. Due to the influence of powerful wizards who explored other planes, the common language of wizards had begun to spread in some places in the multidimensional plane. This cultural invasion preceded the arrival of armies. During this period, Levi attended spell and meditation classes. Having cultivated by himself, he recognized that he might make mistakes and fall behind. The current Levi had mastered all of the spell and meditation theories at the apprentice stage. In the future, he would not need to attend the basic classes anymore. Chapter 265. He could save time for his cultivation. Furthermore, given his relationship with Ms. Marlene, he could consult her regarding any difficult questions. One-on-one teaching proved far more efficient. Among the 4 great seals Levi had obtained in the early days, the seal of hell was already at its maximum, yet he lacked a suitable living dead to command. In the Grey Tower, it was inconvenient for Levi to use the living dead, so this seal remained temporarily useless. The seal of flame was also cultivated to level 4. The flame had evolved into purple fire, and its temperature continued to increase. The range of the flame flow reached 7 meters. The power of the current seal of flame proved equal to the cantrips of the burning school of thought mastered by high-level apprentice wizards. When he advanced it to level 5, it would likely rival the first ring burning palm. At that time, it would be equivalent to Levi mastering a first ring spell in advance. As for the seal of dragon might, it reached its maximum when cultivated to level 3. Level 3 dragon's might dealt even more damage to evil spirits. Unfortunately, no evil spirits dared to appear in the Grey Tower, so Levi could not test it. However, the side effect of level 3 dragon's might, a spiritual assault, remained enough to make the enemy suffer. Apart from that, level 3 dragon's might gave birth to a special effect called Dragon Affinity. This special effect increased Levi's affinity with dragons and any dragon bloodline creatures, including purebloods, subdragons, hybrids, and beyond. In short, the greatest effect meant Levi could now touch the head of the white snake, Hormungund, a dragon hybrid. This made Levi wonder, if senior sister Winnie could touch the white snake's head, did she also possess the talent of dragon affinity? The final seal of protection remained at level 2. This was the skill Levi planned to focus on upgrading. As long as he raised this seal to level 3, he could reach the maximum. Levi looked forward to the level 3 seal of protection's special effect. From the current pattern, Levi guessed this special effect would likely be an affinity type trait. The seal of hell had an affinity with hell creatures, while the seal of dragon had an affinity with dragons. He did not know what kind of affinity the seal of protection held, but it was likely related to the Earth School of Thought. In short, Levi felt more interested in the passive special effect of seals. This was something that could be used in the later stages of his life. The seal itself would definitely be eliminated as Levi's strength increased. After leaving the 9th floor of the Grey Tower, he made his way to White Sail Alley. Some time ago, Levi had asked the owner of the material store in the alley to purchase a large piece of pyroxene from the Black Sail Wizard Market. Pyroxene was relatively rare in the human world, but it was abundant in the world of wizards. It was difficult to find in the realm of Azure Cloud. Levi held influence and the ability to make money. After giving the shop owner a few ether stones as a tip, the boss used his connections to acquire a piece from the Black Sail Wizard Market. Today, Levi went to collect the goods. He arrived at the materials store. The boss was a fat man named Manla. He was also an apprentice wizard with a pretty good talent, a triple affinity. He was once an influential figure in the Grey Tower, and the Tower Master had held high hopes for him. He believed Manla possessed the hope of breaking through to an official wizard. However, because he had fought with apprentices of the undead ship when he was young, his spiritual force suffered severe damage, making it impossible for him to advance to an official wizard. He decided to retire to manage the shop for the tower and earn some points. The boss gestured at him. "Hey, look who is here. Our legendary knight, the great hero Levi." Levi smiled. "Has the pyroxene arrived?" The boss nodded. "It is not easy to find this thing in the realm of Azure Cloud. I asked my friend at the Black Sail Wizard Market to look for it for a long time." Then, he took out a large piece of pyroxene. Levi studied it and found that this amount sufficed for him to cultivate the seal of protection to the maximum. How much? 20 ether stones. Pyroxene was only a basic casting material, so the cost remained low. However, pyroxene, a non-ocean school of thought item, could not be bought with points. Levi paid the price without hesitation. Then he spoke. "Boss, help me look for breathing technique inheritance diagrams in the nearby wizard market. I like to collect breathing techniques. I will not reject any type of breathing technique. I will pay you gold coins. If the quality is high enough, I can also pay for it with ether stones." "No problem. I, Manla, admire you for killing the wizards of the undead ship." The boss replied with a smile. His bright future had been ruined by the undead ship. Therefore, he hated the undead ship to the core. Unfortunately, his strength remained average, and he could not take revenge. Levi thanked the boss and left with the pyroxene. In this way, among the 4 great seals, other than the seal of flame, the other 3 seals reached their maximum limit. In the next month, Levi focused on cultivating the proficiency of the seal of protection. Soon, the seal of protection reached its maximum. Levi reached a new plateau. The seal of protection achieved level 3, reaching its maximum. It granted a special effect, Earth Pulse. Earth Pulse allowed him to feel the pulse of the earth. His affinity with earth elements would increase, and his cultivation speed for Earth School of Thought meditation arts and spells would increase significantly. Levi studied the special effect. As expected, it related to the earth element. Without a doubt, the remaining special effect of the seal of flame should provide a flame-related affinity. Chapter 266. Although I am a child of chaos, I have a special effect like earth affinity. Even without the proficiency panel, my cultivation speed for the skills from the Earth School of Thought will definitely be much faster than the other children of chaos. Coupled with my proficiency panel, my actual talent might not be inferior to a double affinity user. I have to learn it in the future. I cannot waste this affinity talent. With a thought, a faint golden light enveloped his body, protecting Levi like a golden bell. After testing the barrier, Levi found that the defensive power of this barrier was stronger than the cantrip of a high-level apprentice. He did not know how it would compare to the original first ring spell, Shield Effect. Shield Effect was the most classic defensive spell of the Earth School of Thought. It could form a protective force field condensed from Earth elements to protect the caster. Many of the later defensive spells from other schools shadowed Shield Effect. A level 3 Seal of Protection, a level 10 Black Snake Liquid Black Scale, and a Frost Giant Armor. My defense is even more abnormal. I feel that unless it is an official wizard, a high-level apprentice wizard would not be able to break my defense. Levi analyzed the situation. Now I am only left with Flame Flow. Once I reach the Seal of Flame maximum level, my overall strength should not be inferior to that of an official wizard. Even a first circle wizard, who mastered 4 first ring spells at the same time, would be considered a veteran wizard. Even so, Levi did not plan to leave the island. He really liked these days when he could cultivate peacefully. He did not yearn for the outside world at all. Green Ghost Carter lay in ambush in the nearby sea area. He became very anxious because Levi would not leave the island. On the ship, Green Ghost Carter wore a gloomy expression. He had been waiting for more than half a year. He wondered how he had endured it. This damned little brat. Is he never going out? Damn it. You darned little brat. If it really does not work, I can only use my final trump card. Green Ghost Carter returned to the cabin. The undead ship had planted a spy in the Grey Tower, and he planned to let this spy lure Levi out and kill him. On this day, Levi was practicing Water Arrow in the forest. Water Arrow seemed ordinary, but it had many advantages, such as fast casting speed, low consumption of magic power, and no need for casting materials. Water Arrow Proficiency +2. Levi held the Viper Wand in his hand and completed another round of casting. He used a huge rock to practice Water Arrow every day, and it had long been pierced through. Now, it was in the shape of honeycomb briquettes. After practicing Water Arrow, Levi went to the small garden to water the plants. He returned to the Grey Tower 9th floor. An apprentice wizard stood at the door with a hesitant expression. When he saw Levi, he smiled and said softly, "Junior brother Levi, you are back." "Senior brother Nas, what is the matter?" Levi recognized the senior. He lived on the 20th floor and above. He was also the senior brother who went to Whale Song Island with Winnie as a guest. He seemed to be close to Winnie. It looked like he was pursuing Winnie, but she did not accept. She only agreed to be friends. Then he continued to get along with Winnie as a friend. He could be considered a bootlicker. In any case, if it were Levi, he probably would not contact Winnie. "Junior brother Levi, I have something that I need your help with. After it is done, you will receive benefits too," Nas said with a serious tone. Levi kept his expression neutral. He asked calmly, "What is it?" "If it is within my ability, I can help you. We are all seniors and juniors, so this is what I should do. Junior brother, I encountered a storm some time ago, and was stranded on an uninhabited island. I found the remains of an official wizard on the island. I suspected that the island was an ancient wizard organization. Unfortunately, there was a spell barrier at the entrance of the ruins. I was too weak to break it. I have to be at least a first circle wizard to break the seal. I remembered that you are a legendary knight. Your attack is not inferior to a first circle wizard, so I wanted to invite you to explore the wizard ruins with me. When the time comes, we will split the things inside equally," Nas said softly. "Where is that place? Is it in a safe sea area?" Levi asked. Although it is not in a safe sea area, there are no dangerous sea beasts in that location, so there is no danger. With my level as a high-level apprentice wizard and your strength as a legendary knight, there is definitely no problem," Nas replied. Levi nodded and said decisively, "Senior brother, I will not be going. I have been busy practicing my spell and preparing for the upcoming year-end assessment." "What about after the year-end examination?" "My schedule is also full." "Junior brother, you have to think carefully. These wizard ruins are definitely real. There must be a lot of good things inside. Ether stones, spell books, wizard tools. These are all good items. Forget it, senior brother. Alright, what about next year?" "No, I am not interested in the wizard ruins. I am just a child of chaos. The spells of the schools are enough for me to cultivate for a lifetime. Senior brother, you should find someone else." In the end, Nas left helplessly. He returned to his residence. This damned Levi. He is so stubborn. How could he not be tempted by this? Nas stared at the wall. The wizard ruins he mentioned were real, and he did not lie to Levi. Chapter 267. He was the spy the undead ship had placed in the Grey Tower. To avoid exposure, the undead ship rarely used him. The spy paced in his room, muttering to himself, "Forget it. I will tell Carter about this situation first. I cannot do anything about it." On the sea, Carter scanned Nas' report. He crumpled the paper in his hand. "Damn it. This little brat, he is not coming out, is he? I am so angry." He slammed his fist against the cabin wall, the sound echoing through the ship. His apprentice stepped forward cautiously. "Teacher, are we still waiting?" Carter glared at him. "We will wait. I do not believe he will never leave the Grey Tower. If we go back now, the captain will only scold us." Carter steadied his breathing, the frustration lingering. He had to capture this damned brat and torture him with those vicious spells from the School of Death. In the Grey Tower, Levi maintained a dull and fulfilling daily life. Meditation, spellcasting, watering flowers, pharmacology, breathing techniques, sword skills, and the Black Devil Blade occupied his time. Soon, the annual assessment approached. Levi excelled in all theory classes. He had practiced water arrow to level 2. Tidal grasp had also broken through to level 2. Level 2 represented the standard of a mid-level apprentice wizard. Levi believed his current level would allow him to handle this year's combat assessment. Only 1 month before the actual combat assessment did he learn of the Tower Master's plan to train everyone's actual combat ability. To better prepare for the revenge of a dark wizard organization, like the Undead Ship, the actual combat assessment would take place at sea. Official wizard Marco led the team of apprentices to the nearby sea to hunt for sea beasts. For 3 days, anyone who killed a sea beast with the strength of a mid-level apprentice would pass the assessment. Killing sea beasts with the strength of a high-level apprentice wizard would be considered excellent. Transcendent sea beasts comparable to official wizards remained off the table. Perhaps only Levi could kill a transcendent sea beast. The rules changed, perhaps to accommodate Levi. They could use any method to kill sea beasts. Even if Levi used his knight's strength to kill a sea beast, the rules would count it in the assessment. The attack incident by the Dark Wizard made the Tower Master realize that the protection of the apprentice wizards in the Grey Tower had been too soft. Everyone had lived at ease for too long and had slacked off. Those who passed the assessment would receive a reward of 20 points. Those who performed excellently would receive 50 points. Those who hunted transcendent sea beasts would receive 200 points. This reward satisfied most apprentice wizards, and everyone felt eager to try. Levi felt helpless upon hearing the news. Although the rewards for this activity appeared decent, he did not want to leave. Before becoming an official wizard, Levi preferred to stay within the Grey Tower. However, he did not dare to disobey the Tower Master's rule. The Tower Master certainly considered the possibility of revenge from the Undead Ship and prepared accordingly. With his current strength, level 4 flame flow, maximum protection, dragon's might, and numerous trump cards, Levi possessed the power to fight against an official wizard. Levi remained a cautious person who preferred conservative estimates. While waiting for the combat assessment, he received a summons to the 7th floor of the White Tower. The Tower Master smiled at Levi and handed him a small bag. Take this. This is 300 ether stones. This is the reward from the Star Tower. Marlene applied for it for you half a year ago. There are rewards for killing evil dark wizards. Although the amount is not large, it represents the recognition of the Star Tower and the Panplane Wizard Council for your actions. The reward arrived a little late, reaching us only a few days ago. Take it. At this stage, you also need the money. Levi felt grateful. He took the small bag and nodded. Thank you, Tower Master. Thank you, Ms. Marlene. Ms. Marlene lived up to her reputation as Granny Marlene, as she possessed a truly kind heart. Levi sighed. He did not expect Ms. Marlene to perform so many acts of kindness behind his back. This brought warmth to his heart. Teacher, you must succeed in advancing. Levi prayed in his heart. He had truly treated the Grey Tower as his home in the world of wizards. If he possessed the strength, he would protect this place. The Tower Master gestured for him to stay. I called you over because there are other matters. Levi nodded, waiting for the instructions. In this combat assessment, I feel that the Undead Ship will make a move against our apprentices. Their captain, Demon Harland, is an old enemy of mine. He has schemed against us, so I will protect all of you in secret. If Harland makes a move, I will take action. I told no one about this. I suspect a mole exists in our tower, but I believe you because Marlene is very accurate in judging people. If Demon Harland does not come, then unless the situation becomes truly critical, I will not make a move. As a second circle wizard, if I make a move, it would constitute bullying the weak. With a veteran first circle wizard like Marco here, you do not have to worry about your safety. Although Marco is strong, his strength alone is limited. If he cannot handle the situation, I will have to trouble you to protect our apprentices. My original intention was to let you experience actual combat, not to let you die in vain. We are nurturing wizards, not raising poisonous worms. Although I am a wizard and do not know much about knights, I know those who can become legends on the path of knights are not ordinary people. Although the Grey Tower is a small organization and is not worth mentioning in front of a large faction, I sincerely hope that every apprentice who comes here can treat this place as their home. Levi nodded. Do not worry, Tower Master. I will do my best to protect everyone. However, if the situation exceeds my ability, I hope you will help. Levi felt completely relieved after leaving the White Tower. With the Tower Master overseeing the assessment, preventing problems remained nearly impossible. Levi returned to the 9th floor of the Grey Tower. Another huge sum of 300 ether stones. I did not think that killing a dark wizard would provide such benefits. After putting away the ether stones, Levi began to prepare for the combat assessment. He packed red potions to recover stamina and spiritual force, blue potions to recover spell power, sacred medicines to heal injuries, poison for dipping weapons, an enhanced sleeping potion to anesthetize behemoths, and special chains purchased at a high price. Levi proceeded in an orderly manner, just as he had prepared for his battles in the human world. 3 days later, Marco stood in the square, his gaze sweeping over the 30 students. He rarely spoke, so no inspiring speech followed. Let us go. Chapter 268. On the sea, a 20-meter-long brass fish sailed on the surface. Apprentice wizards stood on the creature's back, resting and chatting. Brass served as the cheapest alchemy material, followed by mithril, luminate gold, and others. Even in the wizard world, mithril and luminate gold remained precious. Consequently, large alchemical creatures usually utilized brass. This behemoth, White Tower Number 9, stood as the most powerful alchemical creature refined by the Tower Master. Its combat power in the sea rivaled a First Circle wizard. The Tower Master invested heavily for the sake of this assessment. To reduce wear on the creature and save ether stones, he rarely used it. With this copper beast beneath him, Levi felt more at ease leaving the island. Levi possessed a genuine interest in alchemy. The Grey Tower contained basic knowledge on the subject, yet he lacked the time. With his current talent, dual cultivating the meditation art and spells of the Ocean School of Thought and the School of Death consumed too much time. Moreover, pharmacy and breathing techniques demanded his attention. After becoming an official wizard, his lifespan would extend to 200 years. He would gain self-protection power within the wizard world and finally explore skills from different schools. Levi wished for 48 hours in a day. He functioned like an insatiable cultivation machine. Tireless and disciplined, he absorbed experiences throughout the passing seasons. The journey to the assessment area took about a day. Rare opportunities to gather together kept the apprentice wizards chatting and laughing. Winnie sat with Levi. Since he could not cultivate on the alchemical creature, he chatted with her while remaining on guard. Memories of his first voyage, where enemies had ambushed him, prevented him from relaxing. Nas sat alone at the stern, watching Levi and Winnie with a mournful gaze. Damn Levi, no, he thought. Ever since Levi became an influential figure in the Grey Tower, Winnie's attitude toward Nas had grown indifferent. Winnie used to laugh and chat with him. Now, she always politely rejected his company, citing her cultivation. It was all Levi's fault. Indignation burned inside Nas. He wanted out of this spying arrangement. He only wanted the undead ship to kill Levi, so he could return to his ship. It would be even better if he could claim Winnie for himself. A gaze fixed on Levi. He glanced at Nas. Nas forced a smile. Levi offered a faint smile. Nas snorted. You still dare to smile, he thought. I will make sure you cannot smile for long. So what if you are a legendary knight? In front of Green Ghost Carter, you are nothing. Nas acted strangely. Every time they met lately, Levi's spider sensing triggered a weak warning. The sensation remained faint, but it signaled danger. Nas radiated hostility. Because Nas posed little threat, the sense of danger remained mild. Levi suspected it had something to do with Winnie. It is not my fault, he thought. Winnie insisted on sitting with me, and I wanted peace. Winnie acted as his guide, and upon his arrival, she offered advice on many confusing matters. He could not be ungrateful. Deep down, he lacked romantic feelings for Winnie. Still, he felt a flicker of temptation. Winnie possessed beauty, an excellent temperament, a fine figure, long legs, a pleasant voice, and a proactive nature. As a man, it would be hypocritical to remain unmoved. Perhaps his total immersion in cultivation stunted his secular desires. He could not summon interest in this faint attraction. He only harbored feelings for the proficiency panel. On the other side, Wizard Marco sat upright, eyes closed in meditation. Marco and Marlene possessed completely opposite personalities. Marlene was gentle, considerate, and kind, whereas Marco always wore a straight face. Most apprentices viewed him this way. However, the Tower Master assured Levi that Marco remained absolutely trustworthy. He was a reliable wizard. To avoid targeting by the undead ship, the group did not follow a fixed route. An official wizard from the undead ship had died, so retaliation was inevitable. The Tower Master anticipated this, which explained why he hid in the shadows to silently guard the apprentices. Levi scanned the area with his perception, yet the Tower Master remained hidden. White Tower Number 9 did not contain him. An expert like the Tower Master possessed powerful concealment spells. He might be lurking in the deep sea. A day later, the group arrived at the Trial Sea area, called Silent Bay, safely. The water remained calm, and they were outside the safe zone established by wizards. Numerous sea beasts populated the water, including the occasional transcendent beast comparable to an official wizard. However, such transcendent beasts remained rare, making the area suitable for the apprentice trial. Marco spoke coldly. The assessment starts now. Everyone be careful. Do your best. Safety comes first. Chapter 269. He did not say much, yet his presence warmed the group. Some apprentices who mastered diving spells plunged into the sea to seek their targets. For most apprentice wizards, the sea remained treacherous without spells and potions. Many prepared specialized spells and potions for diving. Winnie downed a bottle of swimming fish potion. She waved at Levi, then slipped into the sea like a mermaid. Her posture remained elegant as she hunted for prey. Nas slipped into the water as well. Levi watched the ripples where Nas had vanished. He used no spells or props. He dived into the sea. His physical fitness allowed him to remain submerged for a full day. He followed Nas quietly. Nas had acted strangely recently. Hostility radiated from him. The spider sensing signaled a hint of danger. Levi needed to uncover Nas' intent. Jealousy might explain the tension. If dangerous schemes lay beneath the surface, Levi had to crush the threat in the cradle. He dived 100 meters into the sea. He held his breath and followed Nas from a distance. Nas appeared to search aimlessly. Soon, Levi followed Nas to a small island. Nas stepped onto the island and produced an object. It resembled a conch, flickering with complicated patterns. A voice transmission conch. How could he possess such a precious thing? Surprise rippled through Levi. The voice transmission conch cost a fortune. The seemingly ordinary shell belonged to a rare transcendent creature. It lacked combat power, yet it remained exceptionally scarce. The creature communicated with companions within 1,000 miles using antennae on its forward and shell. Wizards later invented the first ring spell, the voice transmission technique. This spell transmitted sound over short distances. Wizards imitated this conch, combining the technique with the shell to refine the tool. The shell amplified the distance of the voice transmission technique. The two wielders communicated remotely using a fixed incantation. Transmitting voices within 1,000 miles proved convenient. The rarity of the conch made the tool expensive. Even official wizards rarely owned such a tool, let alone apprentices. The discovery stunned Levi. Was Nas a spy from another faction? Alertness sharpened Levi's senses. Nas muttered something into the conch. A voice emanated from the other end of the conch moments later. Levi remained too far away to catch the words. Nas' ferocious expression betrayed his intentions. He is a spy. This trip would never be smooth. Levi cursed silently. Without the assessment and the Tower Master's guarantee, he would never have ventured out. The Tower Master suspected a spy lurked in the tower. Nas was the spy. The thought remained a suspicion. He failed to hear the conversation. Without evidence, Levi could not act. Otherwise, he would have captured the man and delivered him to the Tower Master. The Grey Tower served as his sanctuary. Miss Marlene and the Tower Master treated him well. Anyone threatening the Grey Tower would face his wrath. Levi's expression hardened. The wizard world remained deceptive. A peaceful place for cultivation was a rare treasure. Levi did not rush to act. He watched Nas scan the area before leaving as if nothing happened. By the first night, many apprentices hunted sea beasts. The creatures matched the strength of low-level apprentice wizards. Others searched the sea for higher ranks and better rewards. Levi killed a few sea beasts equal to mid-level apprentice wizards to complete his mission. Completing the test proved trivial. He arrived for more than just the mission. He required a powerful sea beast to serve as his mount. Most sea beasts in Silent Bay matched low-level apprentices, a level Levi had no interest in hunting. Powerful beasts dwelled in the deep sea. He consumed a deep water potion and dived into the abyss. Levi reached a depth of several hundred meters in moments. Sunlight failed to penetrate the darkness. Levi's advanced vibrosensing expanded its range in the water. He activated his perception to scan the area for sea beasts. Whale Song Island tamed sea beasts as mounts. Why could he not do the same? A sea beast mount would prove convenient. Taking a ship imposed too many limitations. The ferry arrived only once every 7 days. The Azure ship remained too obvious. It made an easy target for the undead ship. Sea beasts offered agility. Levi intended to capture a beast alive and tame it using Wild Heart. No sunlight reached the deep sea. Chapter 270. Levi ascended for air every half an hour. He continued to dive, testing the limits of his body. 500 meters. 600 meters. 1 kilometer. Levi reached the depths of 1,000 meters. Immense pressure squeezed his internal organs. Without his strong body and the protection of the black gas, his frame would have collapsed under the weight of the deep. Countless glowing sea fish swarmed around. Large fish devoured the small, and small fish consumed the shrimp. A huge shadow loomed in the water ahead. Blue light flashed above its head as it charged. Levi unleashed Tidal Grasp. Spells of the ocean school of thought reigned supreme in the water. Streams of water coalesced, forming a cage around the massive creature. Advanced vibrosensing mapped the creature's appearance. It resembled an anglerfish. An exaggerated abyssal mouth dominated its face, spanning over 5 meters. Hard fish scales armored its body. The strength of the sea beast rivaled a high-level apprentice wizard. Beneath the waves, these beasts possessed even greater power. Boom. After Tidal Grasp controlled the beast, blood wings erupted from Levi's back. He accelerated. A bloody trail followed Levi as bubbles surged. Frostmorn in hand, Levi unsheathed his golden cross slash. One sword strike tore through the darkness. The light of the blade sliced the sea beast in half. It was too ugly to serve as his mount. Disgust washed over him. He deposited the valuable materials into his storage bag. Many casting materials for the ocean school of thought came from sea beasts. These creatures were treasures. Their meat provided a delicacy for Levi and the saint scorpions, while other parts served as casting materials. Blood stained the seawater. The scent of copper flowed through the currents. Levi deliberately left the internal organs behind. He prepared a trap, intent on catching a larger fish. He placed a large bottle of his enhanced sleeping potion inside the organs. Sea beasts possessed massive appetites, swallowing prey in one gulp. He had no fear of the bait failing. The bottle cap consisted of a material that dissolved easily. Once it entered the stomach, the cap would melt, forcing the beast to consume the sleeping potion. Even transcendent sea beasts would succumb to its effects. With everything ready, he hid within a reef. After a while, various fish appeared, scavenging the giant anglerfish. To preserve his bait, Levi unleashed the seal of dragon might, scattering the small scavengers. The area fell silent. After a moment, the deep sea water shook violently. Spider sensing flared to life. The hair on his arms stood on end. A massive creature approached. This was no ordinary sea beast. It stood as a true transcendent creature, its strength likely comparable to a legendary knight or a first circle wizard. Levi braced himself. Liquid black scales blanketed his body. He prepared the casting materials for the seal of protection and the seal of dragon might. Although he could use the seal of flame underwater, the water would drastically reduce its power, so he omitted it. A sea beast, streamlined and over 10 meters long, glided next to the pile of internal organs and began to feed without restraint. A horn crowned its head, light flowing along its length. Its four limbs had degenerated into four flippers. Fine scales covered its body, and inverted spines lined its back. Is this a dragon king whale? Levi's heart skipped a beat. He remembered this sea beast from his general education class. It was a famous transcendent sea beast in the endless sea. It was a true first-ring transcendent creature. It possessed spell abilities comparable to first-ring spells. It had two types. The first was an energy beam fired from the horn on its head, known as the Annihilation Beam. This stood as the Dragon King Whale's most feared spell ability. Precedent existed of a second Circle Wizard's second-ring defensive spell being destroyed by the Annihilation Beam. Theory suggested that a fully charged Annihilation Beam could injure a second Circle Wizard. Of course, this remained theoretical. The charging time was too long, making it easy to interrupt or dodge. Apart from that, the Dragon King Whale had another spell ability. It spat a powerful breath from its mouth. It was called Dragon King's Breath. This was the most commonly used spell ability of the Dragon King Whale. Every use of the Annihilation Beam caused a certain amount of damage to the whale itself. Unless faced with a critical moment of life and death, this giant would not utilize it. The Dragon King Whale gained fame primarily as the most common dragon hybrid in this sea area. The term Dragon Clan resounded throughout the entire multidimensional plane. Powerful wizards viewed the Dragon Clan with extreme respect and fear. This race possessed ancient wisdom and power. Like the gods, they were synonymous with power in the eyes of mortals. Among the 7 kingdoms, one kingdom's national religion worshipped the god of the king of 10,000 dragons. If I could claim a hybrid Dragon Clan transcendent creature as my mount, I would be awe-inspiring. The sea beasts on Whale Song Island are much weaker than the Dragon King Whale. Chapter 271. Levi pondered the power of the Dragon King Whale. Fear nudged him, yet he could not miss this opportunity. As a hybrid, the Dragon King Whale possessed strength exceeding ordinary transcendent sea beasts. It matched a first Circle Wizard. While fighting such a creature proved difficult, Levi felt he could subdue it if he remained careful. He had recently obtained a passive special effect called Dragon Affinity. With this effect, coupled with Wild Heart, Levi felt he could succeed. Taking the risk for a dragon hybrid transcendent creature was worth it. The Dragon King Whale acted as more than a mount. It could serve as a fighter, providing protection in these waters. In this region, First Circle Wizards represented high-end combat forces. The glands of the Dragon King Whale produced ambergris. According to the general education texts, all creatures related to the Dragon Clan produced ambergris. The purer the bloodline, the better the quality. Better ambergris accelerated the cultivation of the black snake breathing technique. The black gas he cultivated would also strengthen. The blood of the Dragon King Whale acted as a substitute for the blood of an earthly dragon beast. He learned more about mysticism in the wizard world. According to the breathing technique master, those secret techniques required the blood of earthly dragon beasts, or ambergris. In essence, it required the trace of the Dragon Clan bloodline and aura. Behind these breathing techniques lurked massive beasts, such as the black snake with a candle, the giant iron crocodile, the red lotus, and other legendary existences. These were likely alternative dragons, or even pure-blooded dragons. He felt that these breathing techniques evolved toward the Dragon Clan, continuously purifying and evolving, and finally allowing Levi to develop a body as powerful as the Dragon Clan. For these reasons, Levi would not let the Dragon King Whale go. The Dragon King Whale wolfed down the food. It remained unaware that Levi had poisoned it. Levi waited for the medicine to take effect. The creature could not imagine that at this 1,000-meter deep seabed, a cunning human waited with a trap. As a transcendent creature, it resisted the sleeping potion. Even after consuming enough to knock out 1,000 people, it continued to wander as if nothing had happened. Levi followed from afar. He lost track of time while swimming with the beast. It hunted weak sea creatures along the way, allowing Levi to witness the power of the Dragon King's breath. A dark blue, high-pressure water column erupted, penetrating the defenses of a sea beast equal to a high-level apprentice wizard. Levi felt he could handle such power. Beyond these two spell abilities, the Dragon King Whale lacked other outstanding traits. It barely surpassed the earthly dragon beast, a top-tier beast in the secular world. The sleeping potion finally took effect. The Dragon King Whale swayed, its body floating upward, seeking the surface for a breath. As the whale broke the surface, Levi burst forth. A blood-red shadow arrived at the belly of the Dragon King Whale. He unleashed the first circle spell, Frost Giant's Sigh. The phantom of the Frost Giant appeared and snapped its fingers. Cold wind passed through, freezing everything. The surface of the sea turned to ice. This move only temporarily restricted the creature. It caused little damage to such a transcendent beast. Levi exploited the opening, blasting out the seal of dragon might, one after another. He planned to use the seal to consume the spiritual force of the whale and destroy its will. The seal of dragon might proved effective in taming wild beasts. Levi lacked confidence against a transcendent creature like the Dragon King Whale. He placed his hope in his dragon affinity. After a few applications of the seal of dragon might, the Dragon King Whale grew dispirited. Although powerful, the beast relied mostly on physical strength. Its spiritual power cultivation resembled that of a grand knight. It could not withstand the spiritual attack of Levi's seal. The ice restricting its body shattered. Levi immediately used Tidal Grasp to temporarily restrict the movements of the whale. He shot out a water arrow, hitting the body of the beast. Pain rippled through the whale, though its defenses held. Useless cantrip, Levi thought. He pulled out the Lion King's pride. He raised the sledgehammer and his body expanded. Black scale, ostrich feet, blood wings, and other forms appeared. Levi had already used most of his trump cards. He hammered the head of the Dragon King whale, holding back his strength to avoid using the golden cross slash. He dared not kill the beast. Chapter 272. Knocking the creature unconscious offered the best chance to kidnap it. Dragon Affinity, or Wild Heart, could not tame this transcendent beast in a short period. He needed to bring this fellow back and tame it slowly, just like an eagle. The hammer strike landed with a dull thud. The Dragon King whale fainted. It drifted in the sea, half floating and half sinking, but its chest continued to heave with life. Levi took the opportunity to retrieve the mithril chain from his storage bag and tied the whale firmly. He had come out with the intention of taming a sea beast, so he had made preparations. Levi dragged the heavy Dragon King whale and swam slowly forward. Without the water, even his extraordinary strength would struggle to drag such a massive object. By the time Levi reached White Tower number 9, early morning sunlight bathed the waves. Most apprentice wizards had completed their missions, though some still hunted for a target. Winnie had completed her mission. She spotted Levi appearing in her line of sight. "I killed a hammerhead beast," she said, her voice bright with excitement. The hammerhead beast ranked as a relatively powerful sea beast, boasting the strength of a high-level apprentice wizard. "Congratulations, senior sister. You performed the assessment excellently," Levi said with a smile. "What about you?" Winnie asked. Levi tied the chain in his hand to the tail of White Tower number 9. He relied on the alchemical creature to drag this massive prize back. The giant sea beast appeared in the eyes of many apprentices, its size rivaling that of the tower itself. It possessed a symbolic horn, 2 pairs of flippers, a slender and powerful whale tail, a blue back, and a white belly. "Dragon King whale," Winnie exclaimed. She recognized the creature from the monster guide. Mr. Marco's expression shifted. "This is your prey. Why did you not kill it?" he asked. Levi offered a sheepish smile. "Teacher, I want to catch a live one. I have learned some beast taming techniques, and I want to see if I can tame such a sea beast." Marco's face twitched. He took a deep breath before speaking. "The Dragon King whale is a true first circle transcendent creature. Ordinary beast taming techniques cannot tame it unless you are a wizard from the school of spiritualism and have mastered a true beast taming spell." "It is fine, teacher. I will try. I will keep an eye on this big guy. Do not worry. Since I can capture it alive, I have the ability to deal with it. It will not affect our operation," Levi replied. "All right. To be safe, I am going to cast another first circle spell on this guy, the Song of the Sirens," Marco said. He began to chant. His voice sounded ethereal and melodious, much like a siren. He waved his wand, and a blue light entered the body of the Dragon King whale. "The Song of the Sirens should keep it asleep for a while, but it will not last long," Marco noted. "Thank you, teacher. Am I considered to have completed my mission?" Levi asked with a wry smile. Marco nodded. "You went beyond what you should have done. Your reward is 200 points. The other apprentice wizards stood dumbfounded. They had struggled to hunt standard sea beasts, and he had captured a first circle transcendent creature alive. The chasm between them felt immense. Was it too late to switch to the path of a knight? Levi ignored their gazes and looked at Nas, who sat quietly. Everything appeared normal. Had he misunderstood Nas? He might not be the spy. Questions swirled in Levi's mind. He returned to the ship to recover his stamina and spiritual force, waiting for the assessment to end. The next night, Levi calculated the Dragon King whale would wake up soon. He administered a sleeping potion, and Mr. Marco used the Song of the Sirens once more. Most of the apprentices had successfully returned. Some sustained injuries, but no one died while hunting sea beasts. Provided they did not wander too far, or provoke the most powerful beasts, the trial posed little threat to life. By noon on the 3rd day, everyone had completed the assessment. Even the weakest among them achieved a passing grade. Levi alone received an excellent rating. Envy rippled through the other apprentices. White Tower number 9 moved slowly, retracing their path. Along the way, Levi kept his gaze fixed on the Dragon King whale, occasionally glancing at Nas. The spider sensing still provided a hint of danger. Levi dared not let his guard down. The spider sensing had saved his life many times. He trusted its accuracy. When White Tower number 9 sailed out of the harbor, a wooden boat appeared, docked at the edge of the pier. The sense of danger from the spider sensing surged instantly, causing the hair on Levi's arms to stand on end. The enemy possessed great power. On the bow of the wooden boat, Green Ghost Carter's face remained gloomy. 2 hell-strong men stood at his sides, protecting him. On his ship, the undead creatures roared, and apprentice wizards hid among them. Green Ghost Carter's excitement grew when he saw Levi standing on White Tower number 9. He, that damn legendary knight has finally come out. "This time, I must kill him," he muttered. Over 6 months had passed, and the wait had felt eternal. He clutched his staff, resembling a shaman from hell. Chapter 273. This powerful first circle wizard blocked Levi and the others' way out. On White Tower number 9, Levi looked at Nas, who maintained a calm expression. As expected, this guy is a mole. He used a voice transmission conch to inform the people on the undead ship. However, all of this was within Levi's expectations. With the Tower Master overseeing the situation, there should not be any problems with safety. Green Ghost Carter, are you trying to start a war between the Grey Tower and the undead ship? Marco said coldly. Marco, hand over that legendary knight and you can leave. To be honest, the undead ship will definitely have a decisive battle with you one day. But not today. As long as we take that legendary knight away today, we will temporarily not pursue the matter of you killing our first circle wizard. If all of your apprentices die, that old fellow Herman would probably be heartbroken, right? Green Ghost Carter threatened. He was one of the strongest wizards on the undead ship. He had mastered 10 0-ring cantrips, 6 first-ring spells, and 1 second-ring spell. Last time, he was ambushed by a legendary knight. And that old woman Marlene used a second-ring spell without any regard for her life, forcing him to retreat. This time, he had come prepared after being tipped off by the spy, Nas. This time, no matter what, this legendary knight had to be taken away and tortured to death to vent the hatred in Green Ghost Carter's heart. When Marco heard such an unreasonable request, he sneered. You shouldn't be speaking so arrogantly by yourself. If I am not wrong, your captain, Demon Harland, should be here as well. If that is the case, then there is no need to hide anymore. If you want to start the second Circle Wizard War between our two organizations in advance, then go ahead. As a spell teacher, Marco had advanced to the first circle not as long as Marlene and Green Ghost Carter, but his strength was not something that ordinary first circle wizards could compare to. Green Ghost Carter snorted coldly. Why would the captain need to do anything to deal with a junior like you? Marco, you think too highly of yourself. Since you do not want to hand over that legendary knight, then prepare to die. Hee, killing so many Grey Tower's apprentices at once and cutting off your inheritance, isn't that beautiful? With a wave of his staff, 2 hell strongmen leaped into the air, their bodies covered in green flames, and gusts of cold wind blew as they charged toward Levi and the others. At the same time, Nas, who had a calm expression on his face, suddenly cast an unknown spell on Winnie, who was caught off guard. Winnie, who was a high-level apprentice wizard, immediately fainted. Nas picked up Winnie and lit up his protective shield, heading straight for the undead ship. Nas, you? Marco's expression changed. He wanted to attack, but the Hell Strongman had already attacked. Facing an undead creature that was comparable to a legendary knight, Marco did not dare to be careless. He could only deal with the Hell Strongman first. The rest of you, protect the wounded, and then work together to deal with the other Hell Strongman. Levi, go save Winnie, Marco said. Yes, teacher. Levi nodded. The remaining apprentices chanted spells and waved their wands. With the advantage of numbers, they blocked the first wave of attacks from the Hell Strongman. However, it was obvious that the Hell Strongman was only one of Green Ghost Carter's summons. As a veteran first circle wizard of the School of Death, he did not only summon these few creatures. Therefore, he focused all his strength on his summoned creatures. Now that he was prepared, all kinds of summoned creatures completely formed a situation of overwhelming numbers. Levi's blood wings spread out, and his speed skyrocketed. He stepped on the water and casually condensed a black gas blade in his hand, shooting it out. Nas was scared out of his wits as he looked at Levi, who was getting closer and closer to him. Lord Carter, save me. Nas shouted anxiously. The moment the black gas hit Nas, it was devoured by a green flame. The green flames did not slow down at all as they charged toward Levi. Levi's expression was solemn. He narrowly dodged the green flames. Then, he opened his hands and the 10 black gas blades flew out. Dense black gas blades tore through the air and whistled out. Nas barely blocked this wave of attack using all kinds of defensive spells. One of the black gas blades stabbed into his waist. He could have dodged it, but in order to protect Winnie, he did not dodge it. Good heavens, he isn't a bootlicker. This is love. Levi cursed in his heart as he prepared for the next wave of attacks. Green Ghost Carter was fighting Marco, while he commanded the undead creatures to attack Levi. Just as these undead creatures surrounded them, White Tower number 9 braved the wind and waves, and white gas surged into the sky. At the same time, a red pillar of light spurted out from the bow of White Tower number 9. Raging flames swept across the sea area dozens of meters ahead. This was the powerful weapon that the Tower Master had installed for White Tower number 9. He named it Crimson Flame's Breath. The power of this shot was so great that even official wizards did not dare to take it head-on. However, the price of this shot was that it directly consumed 100 ether stones. Those undead creatures vanished into thin air in front of the Crimson Pillar of Light. Chapter 274. Damn, these alchemical creatures are incredibly strong. I must create them once I become a first circle wizard. Levi felt a surge of envy while he stepped onto the bow of White Tower number 9. He bent his feet, black gas burst outward, and he launched himself into the air. He soared nearly 100 meters high. Even the massive White Tower number 9 shuddered and dipped into the sea from the impact. Behind him, the 9 swords Azura appeared with terrifying might, a god intimidating everything in its path. He fell from the sky. Gravity and his blood wings propelled him downward. The 1,000-pound black flame giant smashed onto the wooden boat. Levi transmitted the ripple force into his ostrich feet. The force of the kick shattered the deck engraved with spell runes. He stomped through the bottom of the boat and crashed into the sea. He peered up at the wooden boat and retrieved the Lion King's pride. The heavy hammer struck with ripple force. The bottom of the ship shattered, and seawater poured into the cabin. The wooden boat began to sink. Levi's blood vessels glowed red like lava, and hot steam vented from his mouth and nose. He activated his black scale, ostrich feet, blood wings, and red blood forms. He resembled a small dragon breathing fire. He gripped the giant hammer, while the 9 swords Azura's ferocious figure loomed over the ship. A terrifying green fireball descended from the sky. The blast sent Levi into the cabin as the ship erupted in flames. Green Ghost Carter sneered. He is only at the legendary level. I said before if I were well prepared, a legendary knight would not be worth mentioning. This shot of mine. Before Green Ghost Carter could finish his sentence, a faint golden light flashed within the green flames. The light shattered, and liquid black scales flowed out. Levi stomped on the deck and rushed forward like a bloody shadow. His seal of protection defended against the first circle spell attack for a moment. The blood shadow formed by Levi's rapid running reached Nas. Nas held Winnie while Levi's palm shattered his protective shield. Levi snatched Winnie, smashed Nas' head with his palm, grabbed Nas' loot, and retreated quickly. The sequence happened in one fluid motion. Although his seals held great power, his goal remained saving Winnie, not fighting a powerful wizard like Green Ghost Carter. Green Ghost Carter possessed too many trump cards. Levi refused to waste the opportunity to retreat. He carried Winnie and jumped into the sea. A flame knight burning with scarlet hellfire appeared beside Green Ghost Carter. It stared at Levi and emitted a monstrous aura. "Go, kill that person," Green Ghost Carter sneered. The flame knight rode on a skeletal warhorse, chased Levi, and closed the distance. "Since I dared to surround you alone, I naturally have my own backing. This is a genuine nightmare knight. I will let a so-called legendary knight like you experience a true knight," Green Ghost Carter laughed. The nightmare knight rode the Hell Nightmare warhorse and waved a heavy chain hammer. He stepped on the water and ran on the waves while the seawater around him turned into white gas. Levi's expression turned grave. This nightmare knight seemed even stronger than the Hell Strongman. He refused to continue fighting. The blood beast exploded and his speed increased. He shot out of the water and leaped onto the top of White Tower number 9. Another crimson flame's breath fired from White Tower number 9 at the nightmare knight. The nightmare knight did not dodge. Bathed in flames, he waved his chain hammer and continued his assault. This must be a second circle summoned creature, right? Levi felt a jolt of shock. He shot out countless blades of black gas, but the nightmare knight blocked them all. With the help of White Tower number 9, Levi brought Winnie to the side of Mr. Marco. Under the joint efforts of the apprentice wizards, the Hell Strongman lay crushed, and Marco had taken care of one already. Seeing that Levi had successfully saved Winnie, Marco heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at the nightmare knight on the flame horse with a solemn expression. Fear gripped him. This hell creature possessed power close to the second circle. Levi retreated behind Mr. Marco. He completed his mission, so he could not work too hard anymore. The Red Lotus blood had burned out, and the 9 Swords Azura was also utilized. Charging forward now would be suicide. The Tower Master watched the situation from somewhere. The owner of the ship might be hiding in the dark as well. These 2 second circle experts would not easily make a move. Once they acted, it would be a complete war. Neither side would stop until the other perished. Levi, take the other apprentices and leave quickly on White Tower number 9. I will hold back Green Ghost Carter and his summoned creature. This summoned creature is very powerful. He must have forcefully used a second ring spell to summon it, Marco ordered. Yes, Mr. Marco, Levi replied. Levi did not delay. He took advantage of the moment when Mr. Marco fought the nightmare knight. He led the apprentice wizards, retreated, and boarded White Tower number 9. He counted the survivors. Nas, the traitor, lay crushed to death. The other apprentices survived, though a few suffered serious injuries. Chapter 275. After all, with so many apprentices, they were a very powerful force. With everyone's cooperation, they could even kill the Hell Strongman. Mr. Marco struggled beneath the nightmare knight, and Levi sighed, his chest tightening. If he had not been in the Red Lotus blood state, he could have helped his teacher. However, he was already in a weakened state. He would be courting death if he participated in a battle of that level. The most important thing to do now was to not disappoint Mr. Marco, and bring these apprentices back to the Grey Tower safely. On the other side, the legendary knight Levi scrambled to escape, and Green Ghost Carter grew anxious as he let the nightmare knight continue to pressure Marco. He waved his array and chanted an incantation, turning into a green smoke that surged towards Levi. Damn it, anyone can leave, but you little bastard must stay. Green Ghost Carter sneered within the green smoke. This was a flying spell from the School of Death, and it could only fly for a short distance. The green smoke surged forward, closing the distance. Black gas danced around Levi's body, and he prepared casting materials to cast the seal of flame. At this moment, a mithril arm appeared and extended. Runes flickered on the arm as it grabbed the green smoke. Screams echoed from the green smoke. The Tower Master had finally made his move. Hee, old man Herman, I knew that you would not be able to hold back. I did not want to act so quickly, but I do not want to give up such a good opportunity. Do you know how long I have waited for this day? Do you know how I spent such a long time on the run? Since you are here today, do not leave. You and the pile of iron lumps on your body can die in this sea. A figure that looked like a ferocious undead creature, covered in black demonic flames, stepped into the void. Beside him, a ferocious 3-headed hell lizard drooled. Cut the crap, Harland. Let us fight here today. Your undead ship needs some beating. The Tower Master's voice boomed from his metallic arm. The green smoke broke free from the Tower Master's control and returned to the demon's side, transforming back into Green Ghost Carter. Captain, that little bastard is the legendary knight that the undead ship is trying to capture. We cannot let him go, Green Ghost Carter complained. Levi, bring the others and retreat. I will have Horman receive you at the front. I will not have time to worry about you. The Tower Master's voice echoed in Levi's mind. Levi did not waste any more time, and let White Tower 9 evacuate quickly with everyone. The situation on the battlefield had shifted. This damned second circle wizard had appeared. If they stayed here, the aftershocks of the attacks from the second circle wizard would surely kill them. In the end, Levi and the others left the terrifying battlefield. Explosive sounds of powerful spells echoed across the water. The outcome remained uncertain. I hope nothing happens to the Grey Tower. The Tower Master has to deal with the owner of the undead ship alone, and there is also a second circle transcendent creature. I wonder if he can handle it. Levi frowned. Not long after, Levi and the others met Horman, who hovered above the sea. Horman came to pick up Levi and the others. The apprentices climbed onto Horman's body, and Horman quickly led them away. As for Levi, he stayed on the damaged White Tower 9. He still had to keep an eye on his Dragon King whale. After an unknown period of time, Ms. Marlene's figure emerged on the surface of the sea. Little Levi, are you all right? Ms. Marlene asked with a solemn expression. Teacher, I am fine. Did you successfully advance to the second circle? Levi asked in surprise. That is right, I succeeded. Ms. Marlene smiled. Word reached me that we were at war with the undead ship, so I rushed over immediately. Levi heaved a sigh of relief. With a new second circle wizard like Ms. Marlene, they should be safe from now on. Not long after, a strange man with only half of his body left emerged, holding Green Ghost Carter, as he cut through the sea and fled. Behind him, a law enforcement officer in a starry robe chased after the strange person without saying a word. Damn Herman, you actually called the Star Tower's law enforcers to ambush me. You are despicable. The figures of Demon Harland and the law enforcement officers quickly disappeared into the horizon. In the sky, a 5-meter-tall alchemical creature, with a head covered in mithril and rivets, shining with a golden glow, fell to the surface of the sea and appeared in front of Levi. There was still a lot of flesh, skin, and hair on this alchemical creature. Traces of burnt marks from flames marred his form, and the head of the luminant gold was cracked, revealing a brain inside. This monster was the Tower Master. He stopped chasing, his gaze lingering on the retreating Demon Harland. Tower Master, are you all right? Levi asked carefully. The Tower Master appeared in such a sorry state, and it was obvious that the battle had been extremely tragic. It is fine, haha. It is just a pile of scrap metal. My brain is not damaged yet. I will go back and fix it. This time, I took the opportunity to teach Harland a lesson. He should be quiet for a while. He will not be able to recover completely before 10 years. Hee, a body of flesh and blood cannot compare to an alchemical body after all. The Tower Master said calmly, and he even put his fallen eyeball back into his eye socket. You are too desperate, Marlene said. I am fine. Hey, you have advanced to the second circle. The Tower Master asked in surprise. Yes, I was lucky and almost failed, Marlene said. Haha, great news. Do not tell anyone about this. We have 2 second circle wizards in the tower now. If Harland dares to come again, we will make sure he does not return. The Tower Master laughed loudly. Stop talking. Hurry up and repair your prosthetics, Marlene said helplessly. Year 1018 of the Holy Brilliance calendar, month of flowers. On the 9th floor of the Grey Tower, Levi opened his eyes. The Red Lotus breathing technique was at level 9. Chapter 276. Levi checked his status. The Red Lotus breathing technique was at level 9, 1 out of 150,000. The special effect was Flame Body, and he possessed Red Lotus blood. The Red Lotus breathing technique has reached level 9. The Red Lotus giant beast burned with flames, enveloping his heart. Warmth flooded his chest. His upper body felt as though he had been poured into lava, emitting an extremely hot aura. Black gas resembling red flames circulated. His chest became a furnace, and his heart became the core. An incomparably powerful force surged into his body, forming a shocking explosive power that surpassed everything. The system notification echoed in his mind. The flame body was active. Red Lotus black gas gathered in his body, forming a gaseous flame. His strength and explosiveness were greatly enhanced. The Red Lotus flame body could burn everything. At the same time, his resistance to fire-related spells increased significantly. Levi stood in front of the mirror. His skin had turned red. It glowed like red-hot glass and lava, emitting a strange luster. This is the Red Lotus breathing technique, Levi whispered. This is too powerful. His strength increased, far surpassing his previous gains from Ostrich Feet and Frost Arm. The Red Lotus breathing technique was worthy of being a perfect technique. Levi's black gas had turned the color of red flames. It could no longer be called black gas, but fire gas. These flames danced around him, making him look like a flaming man. He bathed in flames, and the high temperature filled the practice room. This heat was far inferior to the Seal of Flame, yet it was superior in endurance, and could be maintained continuously. Levi only needed to burn the Red Lotus black gas, and his entire body became a furnace that constantly heated up. The burning effect of the gaseous body is average, he thought. It is fine against ordinary Grand Knights, but it is useless against wizards. Levi removed the special effect. His red skin began to fade. The lava flowed back into his heart. He returned to normal. He opened his mouth and blew out a scorching breath, looking like a dragon that had just finished breathing. You look more and more like something other than a human, Levi mocked himself. Several months had passed since the war. The weakness caused by the Red Lotus had long faded. After returning safely to the Grey Tower, Levi stayed busy with cultivation. In those few months, the Red Lotus breathing technique reached level 9. Regarding breathing techniques, other than the Red Lotus and the Blood Beast techniques, Levi had nothing else to cultivate. He had to hurry and break the limit of the Black Snake breathing technique. Once it advanced to level 11, he would become a legendary knight. Becoming a legendary knight meant he would be a true first circle wizard. With his many trump cards, an ordinary first circle wizard should not be a match for him, provided they were not someone like Green Ghost Carter, or an experienced veteran like Ms. Marlene. It was arrogant, perhaps, but after 2 soul-stirring battles, Levi realized a first circle wizard was not that terrifying. Of course, he still needed to be cautious. A stable and fine tradition could not be abandoned. Aside from the breathing technique, there was no improvement in his spells. The progress bar for Water Arrow and Tidal Grasp was halfway through level 2, and steadily advancing toward level 3. Levi's 5 cantrip spell slots were filled. With his current spiritual force, he could not learn any new spells. It was the same for his meditation art. Cultivating without supplementary potions would be slow. Levi left the Grey Tower and went to the 3rd floor of the White Tower, the location of Ms. Marlene's room. He wanted her to help him open the storage bag from the official wizard. He had tried for a long time, but he could not open it. Na's storage bag contained nothing of value other than the voice transmission conch. The conch required a specific incantation, otherwise it could not be used. Therefore, Levi handed it over to the Tower Master, who rewarded him with 300 points. Levi's contribution to protecting the apprentice wizards was included in the reward. This allowed Levi's points to break through the 800 mark. He did not lack points at the moment. On the 3rd floor of the White Tower, Ms. Marlene was in a good mood after class, researching a new potion. "Teacher, are you busy?" Levi asked. "Little Levi, what is the matter?" Ms. Marlene asked with a smile. "Teacher, I obtained a storage pouch from the official wizard I killed. I cannot open it, so I would like to trouble you," Levi said with a bitter smile. He trusted Ms. Marlene, so he had no worries. "All right, bring me the storage bag. I will study it. If I cannot open it, you can go and find the Tower Master. Do not worry, as long as it is spoils of war, the Tower Master will not snatch it," Marlene said. Levi chuckled. Although the Tower Master was a nice person, he still trusted Ms. Marlene the most. "Oh right, Ms. Marlene, how is the Tower Master's recovery? Is he all right?" Levi asked. "Do not worry," Ms. Marlene said helplessly. "Other than his brain and heart, there is basically no other part of his body that is human. He does not need to recover from his injuries. This guy is too extreme." In order to pursue strength, he transformed himself into an alchemical creature. "I persuaded him many times, but he did not listen. Let him be. Levi, do not learn from him." Chapter 277. Levi understood the Tower Master, yet he would not follow that path. When he learned alchemy, he might study alchemical creatures or modify his living dead. He would never alter his own body. He possessed the night breathing technique. It remained the superior method for transforming his form. This was an era where extraordinary powers coexisted. Flesh and blood held strength. No need existed to pursue the path of mechanical ascension. Across the room, Ms. Marlene fiddled with the storage bag belonging to the official wizard of the undead ship for a time. A realization dawned upon her, and she turned to consult several books. At last, before Levi's eyes, Ms. Marlene opened the storage bag. A pile of items spilled to the floor. Levi gathered them up. Ms. Marlene whispered the spell required to open the bag. Levi thanked his teacher and departed from the White Tower. The white snake Horman rubbed his head against Levi's hand. "Goodbye, Horman," Levi waved. Horman wagged his tail in return. Perhaps due to his dragon affinity, his relationship with Horman continued to improve. He appeared to be surpassing Winnie. She grew discouraged, claiming Horman had suffered a change of heart. Once his tasks concluded, Levi headed to the shore. He carried a storage bag filled with sea beast meat. Along the quiet coast, the dragon king whale lay tethered. A mithril tool covered its horn, and a halter bound its mouth. Secured to a huge rock pillar, the creature had lost its drive to fight in the water. It floated quietly. Levi approached the dragon king whale. "How about it, Leviathan? Have you thought it through? I only require you to be my mount for 30 years. I will return your freedom in the future. With your lifespan as a mixed blood dragon clan, 30 years is nothing, is it?" Leviathan was the name Levi had bestowed upon the dragon king whale. It bore a resemblance to his own name. Levi removed the halter from the mouth of the dragon king whale and offered it food. The dragon king whale's eyes filled with disdain. Despite its feelings, it relished the meat of sea beasts. Its abyss-like mouth opened. 100 caddies of meat vanished in a single bite. The dragon king whale offered no reaction. Levi let it be. He possessed plenty of time to use Wild Heart to tame it. It was, indeed, a true first circle transcendent creature. Even with Wild Heart and dragon affinity, taming the dragon king whale within a few months remained impossible. Levi hailed from no school of spiritualism. Mortal beast taming techniques failed against transcendent creatures. Yet, the special effect of dragon affinity offered a chance. A few months ago, the dragon king whale grew agitated at the sight of Levi. It attempted to attack him. The dragon king's breath had blasted Levi 100 meters away. Had Levi not prepared the seal of protection and the liquid black scale, the beast would have crushed him to pieces. This necessitated the custom mithril iron cage that covered its head and prevented it from opening its mouth. Now, although the dragon king whale remained unhappy at the sight of Levi, it did not attack as it had before. This marked a victory at this stage. Dragon king whales were vengeful. Their intelligence was high among sea beasts, and their memory even stronger. It still brooded over the fact that Levi had struck its head with a hammer. "Even though my head is tough, you cannot be so rough." Levi had no other choice. Time acted as the best catalyst. If he endured, one day, this big guy would become his mount. After feeding the Dragon King whale, Levi visited the small garden to tend to the herbs. He then arrived at the materials store in White Sail Alley. Wizard Manla meditated in his small room within the materials store. Levi refrained from disturbing him. He waited quietly until Manla finished his meditation. Manla poured Levi a cup of coffee. "It has been a long time since I last saw you," he said. "You must be busy." "I was a little busy." "Did you acquire the breathing technique?" Levi asked with a smile. Manla proudly retrieved several pieces of parchment from the warehouse. Delight filled Levi. These breathing technique inheritance diagrams were collected at the Black Sail Wizard Market. "You can give me some gold coins as a token of appreciation," Manla said. Levi handed Manla 1,000 gold coins and 5 ether stones directly. Among the techniques lay an outstanding quality defensive breathing technique. This alone was worth 1,000 gold coins. Boss Manla was not short of gold coins. Levi provided another 5 ether stones as a commission fee. He intended to work with Manla for a long time. He could not be stingy. Searching for the breathing technique inheritance diagram in the world of wizards consumed many of Manla's resources. 3 ether stones is enough. 5 is too much. "It is just a mortal breathing technique," Manla said with embarrassment. He returned 2 pieces to Levi. "Take it. I heard your daughter possesses the talent of a wizard. In the future, she will consume many resources cultivating in the tower. These 2 extra pieces are a token of my gratitude as an uncle," Levi said with a smile. "All right, brother Levi, I will accept it. If you need help in the future, let me know." Manla took the ether stones happily. He desperately needed the ether stones. He worked in the shop to earn money for his daughter. "You are welcome. Just help me keep an eye on these things in the future." Chapter 278. Levi left White Sail Alley with the breathing technique inheritance diagrams. He relied on friends when he was away. Even in the world of wizards, connections solved many problems. In the human world, he used the connections of the Golden Warhammer Master Tyra to solve many problems. Holding the inheritance diagrams, Levi pondered his next plan. His path as a wizard was already on the right track. Ways to improve strength included advancing to a high-level apprentice wizard, increasing the upper limit of spiritual power, and learning more cantrips. Advancing required 11 spiritual force points. Levi possessed 7 points, nowhere near enough. According to Levi, the potions used to aid meditation art were precious. Even the official wizards in the tower used them occasionally. No one used them as daily supplementary potions. As an apprentice, he had no chance. Tower resources prioritized official wizards, then apprentices. If Levi wanted this kind of potion, he had to rely on himself. The most important thing now was to break the limit of the black snake breathing technique. He focused on strengthening the technique with the easiest breakthrough. Then, he would obtain resources to support his wizard cultivation. Once he attained wizard status, he would study the path beyond legendary knight, using wizard abilities to bolster knight cultivation. First strengthen the wizard path, then use it to support the knight path. This was the next plan. On the way home, Levi met senior sister Winnie. Winnie wore a melancholic expression. The realization that Nas was a traitor and her kidnapping left her shaken. She truly treated Nas as a friend, but Nas only desired her body. "Junior brother Levi, long time no see," Winnie said, squeezing out a sweet, fragile smile. "It has been a while. I heard that you are already preparing to construct the first ring spell model structure. Senior sister, once you construct it successfully, share your experience with me," Levi said, smiling. "All right, junior brother, I will go home first," Winnie said. Levi returned home and activated all the breathing techniques. He possessed 3 breathing techniques. One served for strength, one for speed, and one for defense. Other than the defense technique being excellent, the others were low level. Levi did not lack speed and strength for the time being. He kept these 2 for now and would use them later. As for the defensive breathing technique, it was the old mountain snake breathing technique. What a coincidence. It is another defensive breathing technique related to snakes. The old mountain snake breathing technique had a total of 66 miniature diagrams. It should be an excellent defensive breathing technique, similar to the black snake breathing technique. The old mountain snake was a legendary giant snake. The size of the snake was immeasurable. Legend held that the old mountain snake liked to sleep. Every time it slept, it would sleep for thousands of years. When it woke up, the world had changed. The snake resembled a mountain range that stretched across the earth, which was why it was called the old mountain snake. Myths and legends were exaggerated, yet the old mountain snake was clearly extraordinary. It should be a mythical creature that was not inferior to the black snake with a candle. The secret medicine of the old mountain snake breathing technique was also highly compatible with the black snake's secret medicine. Ambergris, snake blood, and other ingredients were needed. The difference was that the old mountain snake breathing technique required another material, called the rock tortoise shell. There are tons of rock tortoises in the endless sea. Once I tame the Dragon King whale, ambergris can be collected continuously. As for snake blood, I will ask the Tower Master, and also ask White Snake Horman to donate some blood. At most, I will hunt some high-quality sea beast meat for it to replenish its body. In fact, White Snake Horman could produce ambergris, but the gland that produced ambergris was also its poison sac. Therefore, the ambergris produced was poisonous and could not be used. Moreover, the white snake was the first Tower Master pet. It was rude to take away the precious ambergris. The production of ambergris was scarce, unlike blood. Levi finished reading the 3 breathing techniques, but he did not rush to cultivate. He opened the official wizard bag, eager to examine the contents. 435 ether stones. There was one earth meditation art. This was the basic meditation art of the earth school of thought, but it could be cultivated to the level of a first circle wizard. It was even more complete than the deep sea meditation art that Levi had previously obtained. The other was the first part of the night crow meditation art. This was the same as the night crow meditation art that Levi had obtained during his current apprentice wizard stage. This way, the School of Death and Earth School of Thought meditation arts would suffice for Levi to cultivate to the level of an official wizard. He would not have to worry about meditation arts for a long time. Apart from that, there were 4 spellbooks. 2 of them were the undead summoning and the apprentice spells that Levi had obtained before. They seemed to be the main spells of the undead ship. The other 2 were spellbooks belonging to the Earth School of Thought. One of them was the first ring spell, Rock Body. This was a physical strengthening spell, a type of passive spell. After constructing the spell model, one needed to solidify the spell with their body and let the spell runes cover them entirely to strengthen themselves. This was the method that wizards used to strengthen their physical defense. Chapter 279. This method saved significant time. A knight starting a breathing technique from scratch faced a long period of practice, while this spell proved quick and effective. Such was the wisdom of a wizard. Levi studied the tome. The spell offered potential. With it, his physical defense would become even more monstrous. Stacked armor style rarely failed. The final spell in the book was the Mountain Giant's Wrath. A pleasant surprise indeed. It was the most powerful first ring spell of the Earth School of Thought. He did not need to learn the spell itself. The Lion King's pride had already solidified the structure within him. He simply needed the incantation to trigger the wrath held inside. Apart from the spellbook, the bag held various casting materials. A large number of eyes of the gray snake lay among them. With the materials for Withering Ray now in his possession, he could resume cultivation. A surge of anticipation coursed through him. The official wizard's storage bag contained a treasure trove. Most items would prove useful for practicing the School of Death spells. Levi found himself rich from the ether stones alone. He held more than 800 on his person. For an apprentice wizard, this was a massive sum. Many young official wizards without savings might never see such wealth. Everything stood ready. Only experience remained elusive. Over the following days, Levi focused on taming the Dragon King whale, while working to cultivate his proficiency. During the month of Wheatfield, his night crow meditation art broke through to level 2. The technique progressed even faster than the earth meditation art. This progress stemmed from the special effect of the earth pulse he had obtained. With the aid of his proficiency panel, he practiced the Earth School of Thought's meditation art with unnatural ease. In just 3 months, he advanced the earth meditation art from the beginner stage to level 2. The speed far exceeded his previous efforts with the deep sea meditation art. This success deepened his interest in the seals of the Duncan family and the Van Helsing family. The 4 great families possessed depths he had yet to fathom. Their bloodlines and seals corresponded to the 4 elements of earth, fire, wind, and water. If he could gather all the seals, his talent as a child of chaos would bloom, marking him as a true genius of the 4 elements. So this is what it feels like to be a genius, Levi muttered. Damn, this is awesome. By now, the earth meditation art had caught up to the night crow breathing technique and the deep sea breathing technique. Levi suspected that even without supplementary potions, he could cultivate the earth meditation art to level 3 within 3 years. In the month of Northern Wind, the old mountain snake breathing technique he had acquired reached level 8. He had tamed the Dragon King whale, Leviathan, and secured a portion of the beast's ambergris. With the Tower Master's permission, he collected a small amount of Horman's blood, concocting it into a high-grade old mountain snake secret medicine. The effect proved excellent, and his cultivation efficiency surged. By the beginning of next year, he estimated he could cultivate the old mountain snake breathing technique to its maximum limit. At that point, he would be able to break the limit of the black snake. During this period, the Grey Tower remained exceptionally quiet. After the Tower Master and the Star Tower's enforcers taught the undead ship a lesson, the vessel remained far more obedient. It likely hid somewhere to recover its vitality, waiting for an opportunity to make a comeback. Levi stayed home, rarely leaving. He spent the entire second half of the year 1018 in a flurry of activity. Ms. Marlene had advanced to the second circle, yet she remained humble. With a second circle wizard who valued him as a mentor, Levi led a comfortable life in the tower. Although he no longer lacked points, he still frequented Ms. Marlene's garden to tend to her flowers and plants. Ms. Marlene eventually insisted he stop wasting time on the task. She found a replacement to handle the garden, allowing Levi to focus on his own work. He only needed to assist Ms. Marlene with her medicine and fulfill the duties of a pharmaceutical apprentice. This arrangement allowed his pharmacy skills to steadily charge toward level 6. Life in the Grey Tower proved dull, fulfilling, and occasionally boring. The elders here possessed diverse personalities. Some were strict, some were kind, and others were simply strange. Unlike the villainous elders found in popular tales, these figures did not bully the weak or exploit apprentices for petty profits. An organization built on such corruption would not endure. The environment fostered friendliness, and genuine warmth existed between masters and disciples. As long as one contributed to the tower, one received an equivalent reward. Levi appreciated this atmosphere. It served as his ideal place for cultivation. Year 1019 of the Holy Brilliance calendar, month of beginning. The human world welcomed a new year. Under the leadership of the legendary female knight, the Snow Queen, the Evernight Kingdom, and the Church of Snow managed to contain the terrifying Snow Demon Calamity. Although only temporary, the success marked a huge victory. People called this rare female legendary knight the goddess Knight Elsa. The name implied the Snow Queen's identity as the daughter of God. To believe in the goddess Knight was to believe in the Snow Queen. They were one and the same. This legendary name would pass down from generation to generation, revered by those in the future. Chapter 280. Perhaps one day, it would also appear on the wine barrels of the Shining Tavern in the future, becoming a new admission ticket. In the Emerald Kingdom, the southern nobles celebrated the new year. They were lucky that the Blue Frost did not invade the south. However, this was only temporary. With the recovery of the Dark Wave, there might be an existence as terrifying as the Blue Frost invading this world, such as the Blood River will. During this period, rumors about vampires began to spread in some areas of the south. Only those who truly understood the inside story knew that this was the awakening of some sleeping Blood Clan members. They had not drunk fresh blood for too long. They thirst for fresh blood and killing. There were very few true knights like Anderson. Most of the secondary Blood Clan members gradually abandoned human morality and laws, and did whatever they wanted after becoming vampires due to their bloodthirsty instincts. This was the reason why Anderson wanted to be reborn. He wanted to stop this kind of behavior, although this idea was completely unrealistic. In Flower City, Andrew quietly packed the things that he had prepared for his master: the breathing technique inheritance diagrams, secret medicine materials, gold, and the core of the undead. Before Levi left, he had instructed Andrew to collect all these from the human world. Andrew carried out Levi's mission conscientiously without any complaints, and he did not need to be paid a single gold coin. This was the advantage of a blood servant: absolute loyalty, never betraying. The reason why he had to pack these things was that Knight Anderson had finally found out where Levi was through various means. He was at the realm of Azure Cloud, Grey Tower. With the help of his wizard friends, Anderson contacted the messenger of the express delivery company, Ullery, which was a part of the Panplane Wizard Council. Now, Ullery's messenger had arrived in Flower City. "I spent a lot of effort to send something to your master," Anderson said, his expression pained. "With my master's personality, he definitely will not let you suffer." "Do not worry," Andrew said, his smile bright. In the end, the messenger of Ullery, a witch wearing a black robe with an owl print on it, put the things that Anderson had packed into a special storage bag. "Please pay the shipping fee," the messenger requested, her voice calm. Anderson took out a small bag with heartache. It contained a portion of the ether stones he had accumulated over the years. Although he was not a wizard, he had some ether stones on him so that he could trade with wizards. Now, he used it to pay for Levi's delivery. He had put in a lot of effort for Levi. He was a person who knew how to repay kindness. Anderson was optimistic about Levi's path as a knight, and felt that he might be able to help him break through the shackles of the legendary realm in the future. After she finished collecting the goods, the witch transformed into an ordinary black owl, and left Flower City in a hurry under the cover of night. "Come on, Elder, let us continue playing chess," Anderson said to the air. "I cannot continue anymore. A good friend of mine has woken up. I have to look for him and discuss something. Recently, some Blood Clan juniors have been too restless. Sooner or later, they will bring disaster to our entire race," the elder replied, rising from his chair. Year 1019 of the Holy Brilliance calendar, the month of Germinal. In the realm of Azure Cloud, the edge of the endless sea, the Grey Tower. On the 9th floor of the Grey Tower, the black snake seed in Levi's heart was more solid and powerful than last year. Its eyes were more lifelike, and its black scales were glowing. Today, Levi's black snake breathing technique finally broke through its limits. Levi, black snake breathing technique, level 10, 5/200,000. Special effect, black scale, liquid. The special effect of the old mountain snake breathing technique was rock armor. Like elephant armor, it overlapped with the special effect of the black snake breathing technique. Hence, Levi incorporated the black snake breathing technique into it to break the limit. Most importantly, there were too few defensive breathing techniques. Levi had no other choice but to fuse with this one if he wanted to break the black snake's limit. This was different from the strength breathing techniques of the ostrich, the giant, and the red lotus. Frost arms strengthened the arms, flame body strengthened the body, and ostrich feet strengthened the legs. Each had its own focus and could be used at the same time. As for defensive breathing techniques, Levi only planned to cultivate his own black snake breathing technique for the time being. This was enough since he still had wizard spells to use for defense. With the high-grade black snake secret medicine I have concocted, the black snake breathing technique should reach the peak of level 11 by the beginning of next year. I can also hit the legendary realm after my 30th birthday, Levi thought, feeling a thrill of excitement. As an ancestral breathing technique, the black snake had been cultivated by Levi to a level that no one had ever achieved before or since. Reaching the legendary level at the age of 30 was an amazing thing. In the human world, it would definitely be a big event in the Knight's Circle. Unfortunately, this was the wizards' world. Wizards were busy with their own matters, and powerful wizards had even gone on expeditions to other planes, leaving behind countless legends. No one cared about a small legendary knight. As soon as Levi broke out of seclusion, he was called to the Grey Tower's reception room by an apprentice. Levi was puzzled. In this world, the shipping fees were very expensive, and even Levi was reluctant to use them. It was not that he could not afford it, but he felt that it was not worth it. Instead of spending precious ether stones to send breathing techniques from the human world, he might as well spend more time in the world of wizards and find them slowly. Inside the hut, the messenger lady from the Olary stood waiting. She was a beautiful witch. She took out the cheapest storage bag and handed it to Levi. The price of the storage bag was included in the shipping fee. In the storage bag, there were a few breathing technique inheritance diagrams, a core of the undead, and a letter addressed to Levi. Chapter 281. The ninth floor of the Grey Tower. Levi read the letter in silence. Andrew wrote the letter, and it described the current situation of the territory. Everything was fine in the territory, and nothing of note had happened. Occasionally, some minor conflicts with the neighbors arose, but they were resolved in secret and peacefully. In any case, the deaths were all recorded on the head of the Bird of Death's voice. The letter then informed Levi of some major events in the human world. The great voyage to find the treasure of the Golden Knight Gregor had ended. So far, no one had found anything. Rumor held that the Fist of the Empire, Emperor Mew, had obtained the treasure. At the same time, with the help of the Church, the Saintess, the Snow Queen Elsa, had become a legendary knight. Excluding Knight Anderson, who had changed his appearance, she was the only living legendary knight in the world. Far away from the Emerald Kingdom lay the East Pole Empire, which spanned the entire continent. The Church of the Dragon God claimed that the world was filthy, full of sins, and that a catastrophe was coming. However, the Pope had received instructions from the Supreme King of 10,000 Dragons. The sacred dragon emissary had been born in the mortal world. He would spread the glory of the King of 10,000 Dragons to every dark land, and protect the billions of people of the 10,000 Dragons God. Since then, many churches had also expressed that their saints were about to descend, telling the residents of their countries not to panic. In Levi's opinion, whether true or not, the gods of the astral world seemed to be growing restless. The moment of the plane convergence was approaching, and the forerunner of the dark wave had already touched the interests of the seven gods. Before the arrival of the waves that would get increasingly turbulent, each stronger than the last, the gods had to take action. However, all of this had nothing to do with Levi, currently in the Grey Tower. The wizard world was as peaceful as ever. Since the gods did not welcome the appearance of wizards in the human world, the wizards pursued their own truth and path in their own small plots of land. Not only that, those powerful wizards had already taken the initiative to travel to other planes. Some of the more skilled and daring wizards even conquered and colonized some of the weaker planes in the multidimensional plane. They killed the native masters of the multidimensional plane and made themselves the new plane lords, transforming the plane into their own wizard demiplane. They continued to carry forward the tradition of humans who liked to farm. The entire plane became their backyard or training area. Generally speaking, there were only a few high-level wizards, Ninth Circle Grand Wizards, and Legendary Wizards. After all, under normal circumstances, the plane lords were all at the level of the demigods. If other wizards went to the other plane, they would be nothing more than food. Expedition wizards learned about local customs and experienced extraordinary systems. They used this knowledge to study spells, learn from others, and even learn to control those very systems. It was because of this spirit that the theoretical knowledge of the wizard world could be continuously changed and iterated, and the upper limit of wizardry was also slowly increasing. At the end of the letter, Andrew expressed how much Knight Anderson missed Levi. Knight Anderson constantly thought about Levi's advancement to the legendary level, and talked about it in Andrew's ears all day long. Andrew suggested that if Levi had time in the future, he should write a letter to Knight Anderson. Levi smiled. This old fellow, when I advance to the legendary level, I will reply to him. I really do not know what to do with him. Levi felt helpless. He kept the gold coins that Anderson had sent. With his territory providing strong logistical support, Levi was not worried about the lack of money. His identity as a pharmacist was very costly. Without the support of his territory, it would be difficult to continue. Of course, after he became a First Circle pharmacist, he would not be able to buy many First Circle potion materials with gold coins. At that time, the use of gold coins might be reduced. In addition to the gold coins, Levi also collected the core of the undead. These were the high-quality cores that Andrew had purchased in the Northern Territory. The Necromancer world also had cores, and Levi had obtained quite a few during the battle with the undead ship. However, the quality of those was much worse than the cores created by the Blue Frost disaster. Although Levi could not use the Seal of Hell for the time being, it did not mean he could not use it in the future. In theory, as long as Levi's spiritual force was high enough and his strength was strong enough, he could even turn an official wizard into one of the living dead. Since the Grand Knight could use the black gas while in the living dead state, the wizards in the living dead state might also be able to use spells. If that were the case, Levi believed he could create a wizard version of the 7 generals of the living dead family. With Levi's current level, even the 7 living dead top-tier Grand Knights that were painstakingly gathered were nothing in front of a spell from an official wizard. Therefore, if he wanted the Seal of Hell to help him, he had to change the source of the living dead. Wizards, transcendent creatures. They could all become his experimental subjects in the future. As for the remaining inheritance diagrams, there were a total of 6. Levi automatically filtered out the 3 strength type breathing technique inheritance diagrams. Compared to the other types, the power was simply too much. In the future, whether it was Red Lotus, Giants, or Tuoshin breaking the limits, he would not have to worry about not having enough breathing techniques. Chapter 282. The reason for this phenomenon lay in strength. Strength provided the greatest boost to combat power. Strength broke all techniques. Therefore, mainstream breathing techniques focused on strength. As for the other 3 breathing techniques, one of them was a shallow quality breathing technique that did not interest him at the moment. Only 2 breathing techniques captured his attention. One of them was the undying bird breathing technique. It was an extremely rare perfect grade breathing technique, and it involved a relatively rare type of physique. The other book was the night owl breathing technique. Although it was only of a shallow quality, it was a very rare perception technique. Andrew possessed a talent for efficiency. In the future, he deserved the title of an excellent employee. Satisfaction warmed Levi. Andrew's delivery proved excellent this time. The undying bird breathing technique especially pleased him. This perfect physique breathing technique should allow Levi to cultivate it directly to the legendary realm. The undying bird lived as a powerful existence in myths and legends. This divine bird remained immortal. Every time its lifespan exhausted, the bird built a nest with the branches of the holy tree, then turned into a ball of flames. The undying bird reborn from the ashes of the holy tree emerged as a young bird. In this way, the creature continuously reincarnated and achieved another form of eternal life. It behaved somewhat like the lighthouse jellyfish from his previous life. Levi placed high hopes on this breathing technique. If he could continuously deduce and cultivate this breathing technique to a level that no one had ever achieved before, he might gain the ability to be reborn like the undying bird. Of course, he only guessed. This ability defied the heavens. Perhaps, only upon reaching the realm of the real undying bird would that ability manifest. As for a mythical creature like the undying bird, it stood on the same level as the red lotus. At the very least, it belonged to the level of the ruler of the multidimensional plane. Levi held no delusions now. As long as he obtained a transcendent physique, he would be satisfied. Among the secret medicines required for the undying bird breathing technique, a main ingredient existed called the 7-colored rainbow pheasant blood. When Levi lived in the human world, he never heard of such birds. It should remain the same as the turbularian eggs, which did not exist in the Emerald Kingdom at all, or perhaps in other kingdoms. Andrew's letter stated that the undying bird breathing technique came from a traveling merchant at an antique shop in the faraway East Pole Empire. Therefore, the source of this breathing technique might reside in the East Pole Empire. Andrew had already sent people to the East Pole Empire to look for the secret medicine materials, but no news had arrived so far. If it remains lost, I will simply cultivate slowly. This breathing technique matters too much to set aside. I will see if I can find it in the wizard world. Levi made a decision. His current physique breathing technique was the Vortex Beast. Vortex Beasts reached only 3rd grade excellent quality, and level 7 remained the highest it could reach. To Levi, the so-called top-tier physique no longer sufficed. As for the other technique, the night owl breathing technique. The night owl was a legendary creature, a strange bird that appeared in the night. The night owl's hearing was extremely sharp. Legend said it could hear movements from thousands of miles away. It truly acted as a 1,000-mile ear. This point resembled the man-faced spider. From the night owl breathing technique's tiny figure pattern, this breathing technique's quality matched the man-faced spider breathing technique. The ingredients needed for the night owl breathing technique remained easy to find, and Levi planned to train it to its maximum level during this period. With his current realm, reaching the limit of this level of breathing technique would not take long. In the next half a day, Levi mastered the night owl breathing technique. 3 days later, the undying bird breathing technique followed. Levi checked his status. The night owl breathing technique reached level 1, 1/1000. The undying bird breathing technique reached level 1, 1/1000. After learning the basics of the breathing technique, Levi asked Manla to inquire about the whereabouts of the rainbow pheasant required for the undying bird breathing technique. No need existed to waste precious cultivation time on such trivial matters that money could solve. During the month of flowers, Levi also helped Ms. Marlene complete the refinement of a second circle potion. After this refinement, Levi's pharmaceutical skills also reached level 6. This represented the limit of a high-level pharmacy apprentice. Any higher and one became an official pharmacist. Levi's pharmacy skills reached level 6, 1/40,000. Levi's current pharmaceutical skills stood second only to Ms. Marlene in the entire Grey Tower, which made Levi's status even higher. Even the unsmiling Mr. Marco, or Mr. Tim, the meditation teacher whom they rarely met, would occasionally ask Levi to help them refine some potions, and the reward consisted of points. No matter how busy Levi became, he always found time to help these teachers refine. After all, wronging a good relationship with his seniors was impossible. Moreover, the teachers of the Grey Tower acted with such kindness. Even without the sake of connections and points, Levi was willing to refine for these teachers. Year 1019 of the Holy Brilliance calendar, during the month of flowing fire, Levi cultivated the night owl breathing technique to its maximum level. Levi checked his status again. The night owl breathing technique reached level 6, maximum. Special effect, advanced hearing, favored by the night. After Levi practiced the night owl breathing technique to the maximum level, other than the expected high-level hearing, another special effect emerged. Chapter 283. The night owl breathing technique offered a double special effect. Sound arose from the vibrations of objects. The advanced hearing ability resembled Levi's advanced vibrosensing, though with subtle differences. His hearing surpassed that of ordinary people. He could detect the wind blowing, grass moving, leaves falling, and insects chirping within a range of 1 kilometer. Advanced hearing provided a wider range of perception, though it remained limited to the ears. While the man-faced spider's advanced vibrosensing range was small, Levi could use his skin, hair, and every part of his body to sense vibrations, and the depth of that perception was far greater. Each technique had its advantages and disadvantages. Beyond advanced hearing, another special effect caught his interest. Favored by the night. Starting from dusk, his physical and mental state would gradually rise from his baseline. At midnight, he would reach a peak 10% higher than during the day. As dawn approached, this state would decline, eventually returning to normal. This special effect could not be upgraded, though its impact would improve slightly as his realm increased. The effect paralleled the Blood Clan's strength boost during a full moon. The night owl was a legendary, strange bird of the night. In areas where night and day were distinct, Levi's overall condition improved significantly at night, matching the low-level Red Lotus blood. Unlike Red Lotus blood, which was active and short-lived, this effect was passive, lasting, and long-term. In the dark of the night, while killing or setting fires, this proved the strongest special effect for assassination. The perception type of breathing technique provided two initial special effects. Both were practical and powerful. The man-faced spider breathing technique offered spider sensing, and the night owl breathing technique granted favored by the night. Life in the Grey Tower remained comfortable, however. He had no need to assassinate anyone, so the utility of this special effect remained minimal for the moment. Levi kept his vow to remain until he became an official wizard, so he stayed in the Grey Tower to train. During the month of Wheatfield, the Tower Master emerged from seclusion. He had spent the period repairing his body. Ms. Marlene noted that the Tower Master was researching a new alchemical body. If refined successfully, the Tower Master's strength would reach the level of a third circle wizard. The core component of this alchemical body was the heart. Did he no longer desire a human heart? Theoretically, as long as the brain remained human, the body could function. This seemed extreme. Since joining the School of Alchemy, the Tower Master had abandoned his flesh and blood bit by bit, replacing it with alchemical parts. His strength improved, but the price involved sacrificing his humanity. Ms. Marlene had advised the Tower Master many times, yet he persisted. He seemed under immense pressure, forcing himself to constantly use this extreme method to accelerate his growth. Perhaps the reason related to the Tower Master's deceased lover. Once, while searching for him, she accidentally witnessed the Tower Master hugging the head of his dead lover and talking to it. He kept the head soaked in a special antiseptic solution. She believed the Tower Master wished to use alchemy to resurrect his lover. Unfortunately, the School of Alchemy lacked such technology. Very few wizards modified their bodies to such an extent. While strength might increase quickly in the early stages, this path abandoned the possibility of further growth. Moreover, this transformation stripped away emotions and desires, turning one into an emotionless alchemy puppet. Some alchemists, failing to maintain strong willpower during the transformation, were contaminated by their prosthetics. They became metal lunatics, much like the lunatic knights. Ms. Marlene worried constantly about this outcome, though she could not sway the Tower Master. Levi sighed. The Tower Master was an idealist who believed in love. This reminded him of Nas, the traitor he had killed. Judging by his behavior before death, Nas had truly cared for Winnie, though he ultimately met a horrible end. Love was indeed a weakness. The forever single Levi found another reason to remain that way. Still, the Tower Master's condition caused him worry. He hoped the Tower Master would succeed. Meeting such a good leader was rare. After the Tower Master taught the undead ship a lesson last year, the region had remained peaceful. Little news of evil deeds emerged from the undead ship during this period. Whether a tide surged in the dark or not, the sea region remained calm on the surface. This year, the combat assessment took place at Silent Bay again, led by Mr. Marco. Levi finished in first place once again. Chapter 284. Ever since that battle, all the apprentices in the Grey Tower had been suppressed by Levi. His results during every assessment remained consistently excellent. As a mid-level wizard apprentice, Levi eventually earned the right to reside on the 20th floor of the Grey Tower. He could claim the house that once belonged to Nas. Levi declined the offer. The 9th floor suited him better. Strength and his status as a high-level pharmacy apprentice catapulted Levi to fame. He became the 5th most recognizable figure in the Grey Tower, trailing only the Tower Master and the 3 official wizards. The legendary knight Levi earned a reputation among the younger generation of wizard organizations throughout the region. Over the years, many knights entered the wizard world, and numerous grand knights walked these halls. Yet, legendary knights remained rare. Levi felt the urge to groan. He had not attained the legendary rank yet. He shouted to the empty air, demanding they stop spouting such nonsense. It was one thing to claim Levi possessed legendary rank inside the tower, but they carried the lie outside. Everyone in the sea believed a legendary knight had emerged in the Grey Tower. If a true legendary knight arrived, expecting a peer, only to find a fake, the situation would turn incredibly awkward. This felt like his childhood, when parents bragged to neighbors about his test scores. Levi felt such acute embarrassment he could dig a hole deep enough to fit 3 rooms and a living room. To avoid exposure as a fraud, his goal remained crystal clear. He needed to cultivate the Black Snake to level 11 and become a true legendary knight. Levi remained merely a local celebrity among small groups. He could not yet stir up a storm in this vast sea. Conversely, Jagri, the dual-element genius, had set the fastest record for an ordinary person to become a mid-level wizard apprentice in the past 100 years on Whale Song Island. In this region, dual-element geniuses stood at the pinnacle. A child of the elements had not appeared in a very long time. Jagri enjoyed more fame among the youth than Levi, the legendary knight. This was the wizard world. The residents valued wizard talent over knightly prowess. Wizards argued that legendary knights represented the limit, possessing no further potential. However, a genius like Jagri still held the potential to become an intermediate wizard in the future. Once that happened, the dominance of Whalesong Island would become impossible to shake. Levi ignored the chatter of the outside world. He focused on his own tasks. As the year 1019 of the Holy Brilliance calendar drew to a close, Levi had forced his undying bird-breathing technique to level 5, despite lacking secret medicine. With proper reagents, he suspected he could have reached at least level 7. Such was the disparity between having the secret medicine and training without it. After reaching level 5, even with the proficiency panel, the progress of the undying bird-breathing technique slowed significantly. Levi remained patient. He stuck to his plan, searching through monster guides for transcendent creatures possessing the legendary undying bird bloodline. Beyond the breathing technique, he made rapid progress with his cantrips. During the month of Northern Wind, he cultivated his water arrow technique to the maximum level, level 3. The level 3 water arrow carried significant force. It could pierce through thick slates. Even the dragon king whale Leviathan would feel pain if struck by this arrow. One could not underestimate the simplest water arrow technique once it reached its maximum level. Many high-level apprentice wizards of the Grey Tower had not achieved level 3 with the water arrow. Withering Ray and Tidal Grasp also reached level 3, but these two cantrips possessed greater complexity. Level 3 did not constitute the limit, allowing Levi to continue his cultivation. This proved especially true for the Withering Ray. Beyond level 3, its power surged. Levi once tested it on a sea beast known for its strong physique and defense, the scorpion-tailed turtle. The impact severely injured the creature. Ordinary high-level apprentice wizards of the Ocean School of Thought struggled to break the shell of the scorpion-tailed turtle. Level 3 of the Withering Ray became Levi's most powerful spell attack. This remained true until the month of winter, when the Seal of Flame reached its maximum level of 5. Chapter 285. Levi checked his status. Seal of Flame, level 5, maximum. Special effect, Dance of the Fire God. Dance of the Fire God. Your cultivation speed of fire element-related meditation art and spells has increased significantly. Levi stared at the new special effect. It was exactly as he had expected. Once the Seal of Flame reached its maximum at level 5, the special effect it granted related to fire element affinity. This meant his cultivation speed in the meditation arts and spells of the burning faction far surpassed those of the Children of Chaos. If he factored in the effect of the Earth Pulse and his own proficiency panel, his current fire talent should rival those possessing double affinity. However, Levi did not possess any meditation art related to the burning faction at the moment. This technique was not available in the Grey Tower. He would have to ask Manla to check the Black Sail Wizard Market. All sorts of people gathered there, and rogue wizards from every faction mingled in its stalls. Now, it is time to try the might of the level 5 flame flow. Levi left the 9th floor of the Grey Tower and walked alone toward a remote shore on the island. This coast served as a restricted area of the Grey Tower. A supernatural creature comparable to a first circle wizard, the Dragon King Whale, lived there. With this massive creature occupying the waters, the apprentices did not dare to venture near. The official wizards also knew it was Levi's pet, so they left him undisturbed. Marco had previously asserted that Levi could not tame the Dragon King Whale, but he never expected to be proven wrong by Levi. In the end, he still could not figure out how Levi managed to use such an ordinary beast taming technique to force the irascible Dragon King Whale, a beast that even official wizards struggled to control, into submission. Currently, Leviathan wandered leisurely on the surface of the sea. Levi had specially customized armor pieces to protect its weak spots. These plates made Leviathan look a little like a cyberpunk behemoth. Leviathan, let us go. Find me a scorpion-tailed turtle. I will make you a fragrant roasted scorpion-tailed turtle. Levi sat in the middle of Leviathan's spine and gripped the ridge with one hand. Leviathan spewed out mist, wagged its tail, and surged away from the shore. They did not need to travel far to find scorpion-tailed turtles. They inhabited the sea near the island. The size of this turtle resembled a private car, and its tail featured a scorpion tail poison needle. This served as its main attack method, and the creature possessed strength nearly equal to a high-level apprentice wizard. Although the scorpion-tailed turtle's attack prowess was limited, its shell was very hard, and its defense was top-notch. Moreover, they gathered in small groups and possessed aggressive tempers. It was quite dangerous. Therefore, most apprentice wizards avoided provoking scorpion-tailed turtles without reason. Levi was different. He sought out scorpion-tailed turtles every once in a while to test the power of his breathing technique. This activity caused the number of scorpion-tailed turtles near the Grey Tower to dwindle. With Leviathan's help, Levi searched for half a day before spotting a scorpion-tailed turtle. Levi had tested his skills on them many times before. If Levi did not use his knight abilities, the only cantrip he possessed that could severely injure the scorpion-tailed turtle was the level 3 Withering Ray. Because the Withering Ray had a strong penetrating effect, it could ignore part of the shell's defense. The water arrow technique, which was also at level 3, could only cause some cracks to appear on the shell, but it could not completely break through the defense. Now, Levi had mastered level 5 of the Seal of Flame. In theory, the power of this Seal of Flame should not be much weaker than the first ring spell, Burning Palm. He began to prepare the spell about 10 meters away from the scorpion-tailed turtle. A few small cracks marred the shell of this scorpion-tailed turtle, caused by Levi's water arrow technique during previous practice sessions. Now that the small cracks were about to heal, Levi arrived again, riding his Dragon King whale. The scorpion-tailed turtle remained motionless when it saw the man and whale duo. It swam desperately in front, while Leviathan chased after it at a moderate pace. It basically maintained a distance of about 10 meters from the turtle. Levi slapped the air with his palm, and a colorless flame flow scorched the path ahead. The air distorted under the high temperature. A distorted burning tunnel crossed the distance of 10 meters and blasted onto the scorpion-tailed turtle. Boom! The scorpion-tailed turtle seemed to be burning without fire. Its hard shell began to rapidly turn black and carbonize. It shrank into its shell. After the flame flow ended, the scorpion-tailed turtle remained motionless. It was roasted at a high temperature. The turtle shell served as a pot, turning the beast into a serving of turtle soup. Go eat. After receiving Levi's permission, Leviathan began to enjoy the feast. Not bad. With the current power of the flame flow, I finally have a decent trump card for my spell attacks. Levi returned to the tower with satisfaction. Now that the 4 great seals were all at their maximum levels, he did not need to waste time cultivating seals in the future. It saved a significant amount of time. For Levi's path of wizardry, the only meditation arts that required cultivation were Deep Sea, Night Crow, and Earth, as well as Tidal Grip and Withering Ray. As for the breathing techniques, the Black Snake, Red Lotus, and the newly obtained Undying Bird breathing technique still required cultivation. Other than that, he had the Black Devil Blade and the Golden Cross Slash. I cannot waste the Dance of the Fire God special effect. I will get Manla to help me get a basic meditation art for the Burning faction. In terms of attack power, the Burning faction and the Thunder faction are both top-notch. Chapter 286. The Flame Robe and the Thunder Spear, they were cool. Now, beyond cultivating experience, 2 more important tasks remained. One involved finding transcendent creatures that might contain the Undying Bird bloodline, and the other involved locating the inheritance seals of the Duncan family and the Van Helsing family. The Undying Bird breathing technique held immense importance. Levi needed to cultivate it to the maximum level as soon as possible. A powerful physique would provide a low-level version of the Blood Clan's immortal body. The seals held equal weight. They might represent the only way to change his Children of Chaos talent and rewrite his fate, enabling him to become a genius of the 4 elements. Finding clues about the 4 great families in the wizard world proved straightforward. The descendants of 4 powerful grand wizards had established these families in the mortal world. These descendants served as the ancestors of the 4 families mentioned in the letter. These 4 powerful grand wizards hailed from ancient times. They no longer existed. They might have fallen. Although wizards possessed long lifespans, it remained relative to short-lived species. Compared to long-lived species, the lifespan of wizards was completely proportional to their strength. A third circle wizard wielded immense power. Under normal circumstances, they lived for little more than 500 years. They could not even match the lifespan of Knight Anderson, a first-generation secondary Blood Clan member. Higher-level wizards might possess a lifespan of more than 1,000 years, but compared to their staggering strength, this duration felt brief. An unseen will seemed to balance all of this. Wizards possessed great wisdom and strength, yet they never completely understood the mysteries of immortality. Without that limitation, given the speed of wizard progress, they likely would have toppled the high and mighty gods of the astral world. During this period, Levi gathered information about the 4 great families through various channels. He realized the data remained incomplete, and very little useful information existed. Moreover, much of the information ultimately pointed toward the human world. If he wanted to obtain the seal inheritance of the 2 other families, he might need to start in the human world. With Andrew acting as his agent in the human world, Levi did not need to return personally. He sealed the clues he had collected regarding the 4 great families, and packed items intended for the human world. He contacted the messenger from the Olary, planning to ask Andrew to increase his search efforts based on the new clues. The year 1020 of the Holy Brilliance calendar, the month of beginning. The owl flew to the Grey Tower and transformed into the messenger Levi had met before. What a coincidence, beautiful lady. How should I address you? Levi offered a slight smile. The messenger stood impassively, her slender legs faintly visible beneath her black veil. She ignored the question. The shipping fee is 100 ether stones. Payment is due. Could it be cheaper? All right, fine. Levi tried to charm her to reduce the shipping cost, but the effort failed completely. The messenger remained cold and aloof, her expression icy. After receiving the letter, the messenger spoke. Now, to answer your first question. My name is Eve, and I am messenger of the Olary number 1024. I am in charge of the mail service in your area. She waved her wand, transformed into an owl, and flew away. So expensive. 100 ether stones. This is daylight robbery. Levi felt an ache in his heart. Even with his current wealth, the price stung. Had the matter of the seals not been so urgent, Levi would never have wasted his money. Considering the trouble involved in traveling between the human world and the realm of Azure Cloud, 100 ether stones remained reasonable. Among the items Levi mailed, he included clues regarding the 4 great families as well as a reply for Andrew. He also included some ether stones to return to Anderson. Levi felt too embarrassed to accept so many ether stones from the old man for free. Before Levi could continue his secluded cultivation, he received news. The Tower Master needed to discuss something with him. Levi hurried to the White Tower, traveling by way of Horman, and arrived at the 7th floor. The Tower Master and 3 other official wizards waited in a special meeting room. Hello, Tower Master. Hello, teachers. Levi's heart skipped a beat. With so many official wizards gathered, something significant was afoot. The Tower Master looked identical to the first time Levi met him, but Levi knew better. Beneath the fake flesh and blood body lay the alchemy body of the Tower Master. Have a seat, Levi. Ms. Marlene gestured to a chair. Levi sat obediently, waiting for the official wizards to speak. After a moment of silence, the Tower Master motioned to Marco. You explain it. Mr. Marco nodded with a serious expression. Levi, you should have heard of the Shadow Realm. Levi nodded. Yes, teacher. I learned a little about it in general education class, but not much. The Shadow Realm functioned as a type of realm of the unbelievers, also located within a subdimensional portal. Due to strange and bizarre reasons, the Shadow Realm did not attract a large number of wizards like the realm of Azure Cloud, leading to its reputation as the uninhabited realm. If the realm of the unbelievers in the realm of Azure Cloud acted as a huge subdimensional portal bubble, then other bubbles of varying sizes drifted around the realm of Azure Cloud. Chapter 287. Some of these subdimensional portal bubbles were the realm of the unbelievers of other schools. The other part was the uninhabited Shadow Realm. It is like this. In 1 month, there will be an entrance to the Shadow Realm that will overlap with the realm of Azure Cloud. The coordinates will be in the open seas of our sea area. According to the Shadow Realm Peaceful Development Act of the Panplane Wizard Council, other than the Dark Wizard organizations and Dark Wizards, all the wizard organizations and wizards in the vicinity are qualified to send people to explore this Shadow Realm. At the same time, according to the rules of the bill, in order to prevent the various forces from causing a large-scale civil war between official wizards, due to the uneven distribution of resources in the Shadow Realm, the effective strength of the wizard community would be weakened. Therefore, in the exploration of the Shadow Realm, the strength of the wizards who enter would be divided according to the size and danger of the Shadow Realm. At the same time, it was advocated that wizards should carry out friendly mutual assistance and peaceful win-win exploration to avoid military conflicts. The realm that is about to appear this time is called the Black Fog Realm. According to the classification standards of the Panplane Wizard Council, it is a small-scale low-risk realm. The upper limit of the dangerous factors in it would not be higher than the 2nd circle. This time, our Grey Tower also got a quota, but our tower only has 2 first circle wizards now. Mr. Tim and I will go to the Star Tower to study for a year next month. This opportunity is very precious, and the Tower Master does not want us to give it up. We cannot lead the team, and Granny Marlene and the Tower Master are both in the 2nd circle, so they do not have the qualifications to enter. Although there are certain dangers in the Shadow Realm, there are some precious resources that are not available in the realm of Azure Cloud, because the Shadow Realm has not been developed. Many key resources can only be found in the Shadow Realm. For example, the alchemy material Stone Heart that the Tower Master needs has once appeared in the Black Fog Realm. Levi heard the name, and his heart skipped a beat as he listened to the details. The Stone Heart is extremely important to our Grey Tower. If the Tower Master has this material, he has a high chance of successfully advancing to the 3rd circle. This way, our Grey Tower will become a 3rd circle wizard force in one fell swoop. And we will not have to listen to Whalesong Island for everything. As for small characters like the undead ship, there is a chance to destroy them in one fell swoop. Therefore, I hope that you can lead the team to the Shadow Realm. You only need to find the Stone Heart. If you find the Stone Heart, you can obtain a reward of 1,000 points, or 500 ether stones from the tower. Other than that, we will not ask for the other resources, medicinal herbs, or the wizard tools of the dead explorers that you obtained in the Shadow Realm. You can choose 5 apprentice wizards yourself. That way, even if the 6 of you apprentice wizards go, we will not break the rules of the Panplane Wizard Council. Mr. Marco spoke with a solemn expression, and the others looked just as serious. When Levi heard about the Stone Heart, he could roughly guess what the Tower Master wanted: an alchemy heart. In the end, he had still come to this stage. Levi did not rush to refuse. He spoke in a calm voice. Teachers, I understand what you are saying. However, although I am a legendary knight, whether it is attack methods or knowledge, I am definitely not as good as the 1st circle wizards led by other forces. I am afraid that I will not be able to complete the mission and disappoint everyone's expectations of me. The difference between 1st circle wizards was significant. Mastering 1 first ring spell was considered 1st circle, and mastering 7 or 8 first ring spells was also considered 1st circle. Do not worry about that. We have already discussed this with the wizard leading Sighing Sea Breeze. After we enter the secret plane, that official wizard will help us to the best of his ability. Sighing Sea Breeze has always had a good relationship with us. If you encounter any trouble that you cannot solve, you can ask those wizards for help, Mr. Marco replied. How about this, teachers? Give me 1 month to consider it. Moreover, I still need more detailed information about the Black Fog Realm, Levi requested. To be honest, he felt tempted by the potential rewards. However, he had never explored the Shadow Realm before, leaving him feeling uncertain. All right, we will not force you to do this. After all, the reason why the Shadow Realm is called the Shadow Realm is that there must be a certain degree of danger. After you go back, take a good look at the information about the Black Fog Realm, Mr. Marco suggested. Levi nodded and left the 7th floor of the White Tower after receiving permission to do so. In the conference room, the Tower Master sighed. The number of official wizards in our tower is still too small. It is indeed a bit too much to trouble this kid. Humph, it is fine as long as you know. Although Levi is a legendary knight, other organizations will definitely send their most experienced first circle wizard to lead the team in order to obtain more rewards. Levi will be at a disadvantage, Ms. Marlene noted with a frown. She remained unsatisfied with the plan proposed by these people. Tower Master, if it really does not work, let me go, Mr. Marco offered. The Tower Master shook his head. Let us wait for Levi's reply first. I have consulted a wizard who has entered the Black Fog Realm before. He knows some more secret information about the Black Fog Realm. The place where the Stone Heart is located is close to the center of the Black Fog Realm. There seemed to be an indescribable power there that could disrupt a wizard's spiritual force and affect a wizard's spellcasting. That was why I wanted Levi to make a move. In my opinion, if they really entered the center of the Black Fog Realm, those so-called experienced wizards might not be a match for Levi. Chapter 288. Moreover, my teacher spent a lot of effort to obtain these 2 spots for our Grey Tower. This is an extremely precious opportunity. Marco leaned forward, his gaze intense. Take advantage of the time, when Harland is severely injured, and has no time to cause trouble. You should hurry up and study. When the time comes, you will bring more advanced knowledge from the Star Tower. It will benefit our Grey Tower endlessly. Right, Marlene, I have a wizard tool here. Give it to Levi. The Tower Master shifted, his metal joints grinding as the left side of his chest plates pulled apart. A beating heart lay exposed, connected to an array of metal alchemy prosthetics. Beside the heart rested a black ring, covered in complex and profound spell runes. Marlene stared at the device, her expression shifting from confusion to realization. This is the ring of the Wind Spirit. Is this not your lover's ring? The Tower Master retrieved the ring and snapped the metal housing shut over his chest. Yes, this is her ring. If I fail to do what I am going to do next, the ring cannot be covered in dust. He turned his focus toward Levi. Although you have not joined the Grey Tower for long, you have helped us many times. You have passed everyone's test. As a legendary knight, you possess strength, but you lack methods. I have decided to give this ring to you. With it, you can make up for some of your shortcomings. The Tower Master's eyes held a melancholic glint. Only he understood the difficulty of his upcoming path. He had already made a series of arrangements, including naming Marlene as his successor should he fall. All right, I will hold on to it, Marlene sighed, reaching out to take the item. If Levi does not go to the Shadow Realm, I will return it to you. It is fine. Whether he goes or not, I will let Levi take it. It is just a first circle wizard tool. I can part with it. I have nothing else for you all to do here, so everyone can leave. The wizards departed. The Tower Master remained alone in the room, the weight of his decisions pressing down on him. Levi reviewed the information about the Black Fog Realm. The Panplane Wizard Council classified Shadow Realms into small, medium, large, and extremely rare giant realms. As a small-scale Shadow Realm, the highest danger level in the Black Fog Realm reached only the 2nd circle. Most areas posed dangers below the 1st circle. Previous cases showed that even apprentice wizards maintained a high survival rate if they remained cautious. 1st circle wizards occasionally died inside, though the probability remained low. The Stone Heart presented a problem. Even if it did not lie in the core danger zone, it probably rested near it. It served not only as an alchemy material, but also as a component for refining potions and wizard tools. It was a true treasure. Levi considered that other people besides the Tower Master would seek this material. Conflicts with other organizations felt inevitable, which implied a degree of danger. He recalled the Black Flame demonic bird, a transcendent creature reported to live in the Black Fog Realm. He had identified it earlier as one of the few creatures possessing the Undying Bird bloodline. Unlike the Dragon Clan, with its abundance of hybrids, confirmed Undying Bird bloodlines were rare. The Black Flame demonic bird had once existed in small groups across various realms of the Unbelievers, but wizard hunting had driven them near extinction. Only certain Shadow Realms retained populations, and the Black Fog Realm was one of them. If he could capture a Black Flame demonic bird alive, he could utilize the beast-taming spell of the School of Spiritualism. This would solve the problem of the secret medicine for the Undying Bird breathing technique. Furthermore, the materials needed to refine the meditation art's supplementary potion lay within the Black Fog Realm. The place carried risks, but it held many opportunities. Levi considered the timeline. 1 month remained before the entrance opened. If he became a legendary knight within that month, he could handle the dangers if he remained cautious. The Tower Master and Marlene placed no hard requirement on obtaining the Stone Heart. If the situation exceeded his ability, he would retreat. They would not blame him. He would simply lose out on the points. Marlene arrived later, holding the ring the Tower Master had offered. This is the Ring of the Wind Spirit, she explained. It used to be the wizard tool of the Tower Master's lover. The ring serves as a storage tool, and its internal space is larger than all your current storage bags combined. She traced the runes on the band. It also holds a first ring spell of the Storm School of Thoughts, Wind Spirit Shelter. Once cast, wind elements gather around you, forming a wind mist armor capable of blocking most first circle spells. The Wind Spirit also wraps around you, granting temporary flight. Your speed will roughly match mine when I cast a flying spell. Use it at a critical moment, and it should ensure your survival in the Black Fog realm. She watched him, her eyes searching. Of course, if you do not want to go, do not force yourself. The Tower Master will not force you. Levi took a deep breath. Teacher, I will go, but I have a request. What request? I want to go alone. No apprentice wizards should accompany me. Marlene smiled bitterly. Although you are strong, 5 high-level apprentice wizards would provide better assistance than going alone. Levi shook his head. His expression remained firm. All right, I will speak to the Tower Master. Marlene surrendered to his stubbornness. She handed him the ring and recited the incantation before leaving. Levi fumbled with the band and slipped it onto his finger. He believed that bringing 5 apprentice wizards would only burden him, forcing him to divert his attention to their protection. He could not explain away their deaths if they fell inside. Going alone removed that worry. The Tower Master agreed to the request. Levi would explore the Shadow Realm alone in 1 month. Levi turned his focus to the black snake breathing technique. He intended to reach the maximum level within that month. He abandoned other training to prioritize this. His progress accelerated. At the end of the month of beginning, 1 week before the entrance opened, on a calm afternoon, Levi pushed the black snake breathing technique to level 11. Levi checked his status. The black snake breathing technique had reached level 11, maximum. Special effect, black scale, solid state. He had finally become a legendary knight. He had developed his first supernatural organ. However, the position of that organ defied his expectations. Chapter 289. Before the mirror, Levi opened his mouth. A hair-raising sight took place. Inside his mouth, the ordinary tongue split into 2. It stretched out a full foot, coiling in the air like a tentacle. It mimicked the form of a snake's tongue. With a thought, it retracted. The flesh pulled back, returning to the shape of a normal tongue, before settling inside his mouth. This supernatural organ arrived after Levi advanced to the legendary level. He expected black scales, but this came as a surprise. The tongue possessed a forked structure. Under normal circumstances, the tongue appeared indistinguishable from any other person's. Exposure would bring trouble. A wizard from the School of Monsters would label him a notorious lizardman, capturing him for research. The supernatural organ failed to appear on the proficiency panel. The name Black Snake's message seemed appropriate. Preliminary research revealed the functions of this supernatural organ. It functioned as a large-scale, high-precision scent perception tool. Standing on the 9th floor of the Grey Tower, the foul breath of Leviathan drifted to his senses from the coast more than 10 kilometers away. Different auras emanated from every apprentice within the Grey Tower. These signatures remained invisible to ordinary people. To Levi, they presented as clear, unique coordinates. The coordinates mapped themselves in his mind, forming a circular layout resembling a navigation chart. Prey and targets stood revealed within this mental map through the dimension of smell. The tongue stored these auras, forming a vast vault. Anything stored within that vault triggered an immediate alert upon entering his perception range. The black snake's message, paired with the man-faced spider's high-level vibration perception, and the night owl's high-level hearing. This pushed Levi's perception to an exaggerated level. Fine vibration detection, large-scale hearing, and immense scent tracking. Levi's ability to monitor his surroundings outstripped even a second circle wizard. Detection spells, whether cantrips or first or second circle spells, struggled to match such multidimensional, large-scale coverage. None could compare. The supernatural organ developed after reaching the legendary level of the black snake breathing technique proved to be of an auxiliary type. He had expected a combat-oriented organ, yet no disappointment touched him. Breathing techniques like the man-faced spider and the night owl confirmed the rarity of such traits. Perception attributes remained the rarest of all. Furthermore, after reaching the 11th level of the black snake breathing technique, the solid-state black scale manifested. Its defensive power stood on par with a first-ring defensive spell, and even outstripped golden protection. With such armor, Levi stood invincible against a normal first-circle wizard. The solid black scale operated without casting speed or spell power restrictions, functioning as an innate ability. As long as Levi's black gas flowed, the scales manifested continuously. This defined the strength of the breathing technique. The disadvantage lay in the extensive cultivation time required. With the help of the proficiency panel and the secret medicine, 17 years passed to bring him to this day. For anyone else, the task remained impossible. Levi willed the black gas to wrap around his body, condensing it into solid black scales. The scales layered themselves. As Levi commanded them to open and close, the sound of metal clashing rang through the air. This was the solid black scale. From the outside, it looked no different from a real snake scale. Snake scales covered Levi's body, and the snake tongue stretching from his mouth twisted in the air. Coupled with his tall and burly body, a barbaric and unruly aura radiated from him. I feel so safe and secure. Levi examined the transformation and stuck out his tongue. Then, he retracted his tongue and banished the black scales. Now that he had advanced to a legendary knight, 7 days remained before the opening of the Shadow Realm. Preparation work occupied the coming days. He required poison, sacred medicines, mana potions, health potions, sleeping potions, the 4 great seals, cantrip casting materials, Lion King's Pride, Frostmourne, and more. A vast array of items required preparation. Because Levi had obtained the Ring of the Wind Spirit, the bag of gluttony that had accompanied him for a long time lay at home, gathering dust. However, Levi still prepared a large amount of blood food for the creature. After using it for so long, affection for the object had grown. Although the version of the bag of gluttony was ancient and carried a risk of losing items, Levi felt reluctant to throw it away. The Ring of the Wind Spirit proved to be a valuable item, possessing a large storage space. That first ring spell allowed for both flight and protection. Experimentation revealed its defense to be very strong, enough to block 2 of Leviathan's Dragon King's breaths. In terms of flying speed, it moved twice as fast as the explosive blood wings. Chapter 290. The item offered immense utility. This stood as the finest wizard tool in Levi's possession. In terms of value, the pot of equal value failed to compare. Levi had long since emptied that pot of its treasures, leaving only the antique Tutton sleeping within. Among all first circle wizard tools, the Ring of the Wind Spirit stood as the best of the best. The ring held a value exceeding 1,000 ether stones. Levi would never have purchased such an expensive item on his own. Activation of the Wind Spirit blessing in the ring proved difficult for a mid-level apprentice wizard with Levi's current spiritual force. Levi possessed 8 points of spiritual force and 80 points of spell power. This Wind Spirit blessing consumed 60 points of spell power at once, 20 times the cost of casting a water arrow. If it were a wizard tool holding a second ring spell, it would consume hundreds of points of spell power, requiring the capabilities of an official wizard to activate. With the Ring of the Wind Spirit, Levi gained confidence for his upcoming trip to the Shadow Realm. The Tower Master had invested heavily to help Levi obtain the Stone Heart. The Tower Master fought with his back against the wall, driven to offer his late lover's wizard tool. Levi refused to betray that trust. He would do everything in his power to help the Tower Master obtain the Stone Heart. The Tower Master's strength guaranteed safety within the Grey Tower. While Levi prepared to enter the Shadow Realm, other wizard organizations qualified for entry made their own arrangements. On Whale Song Island, a black-robed wizard with white hair stood on the shore. Sunken, aged eyes revealed a sharp, wise gaze. This was the island master of Whale Song Island, the Whale Sage, and Third Circle wizard Morpheus. He stood as the most powerful wizard in the sea area. As an intermediate wizard of the Ocean School of Thought, Morpheus exuded confidence regarding this trip to the Shadow Realm. Whale Song Island overflowed with talent. For this expedition, they sent a veteran First Circle wizard, Shark Tiger Witch Bane. Bane, a disciple of Morpheus, had mastered 7 first ring spells. Mastering 5 first ring spells typically earned one the title of an experienced First Circle wizard, but Bane possessed 7, demonstrating his formidable strength. The 5 apprentices leading the team were all outstanding talents of Whale Song Island, for held the rank of high-level apprentice wizard, each having mastered at least 8 cantrips. The final member, a mid-level apprentice wizard, was the dual-element genius Jagri, who had joined Whale Song Island a few years ago. Jagri, a mid-level apprentice wizard, had mastered 5 cantrips. He lacked the strength of his 4 seniors, yet Morpheus desired to train him, granting Jagri this opportunity to learn. With the luxurious lineup of Whale Song Island, the probability of danger outside of their control remained low. Set off when you are ready, Morpheus said, staring out at the ocean. Set off early to ensure success. All right, Lord Morpheus. We will return with a full load, Bane replied. Standing beside Morpheus was a second circle wizard. This was the second circle pharmacist of Whale Song Island, Angus, who also served as the president of the Pharmacist Association. The 2 leaders of Whale Song Island watched the expedition team mount their sea beasts. Island Master, Angus said, bowing slightly. According to information from Harland, Grey Tower Herman's strength has increased greatly. If he advances to the 3rd circle, it will prove detrimental to our future plans. I know, Morpheus replied, his voice calm. That is why, regardless of whether we find anything in this exploration, we cannot let the people from the Grey Tower return with anything. Harland will send people to infiltrate the Shadow Realm. When the time comes, we will join forces with the undead ship, kill the Grey Tower's wizard and apprentice wizards, and then search for the resources ourselves. But what about the law enforcement officers from the Star Tower? Angus asked, glancing at the island master. Can we sneak in the undead ship? I have already made arrangements. There will be no problem, Morpheus said. The foundation of Whale Song Island remained too strong, exceeding the imagination of other forces. Had the cost of becoming a dark wizard organization not been so high for Morpheus at this stage, he would have destroyed the other organizations and unified the sea region long ago. Seeing the confidence of the island master, Angus ceased his worrying, though a lingering uneasiness remained. He held a premonition that the operation would not proceed so smoothly. On Sighing Sea Island, the second circle wizard, Sage Mason, wore a green robe. The members of Sighing Sea Breeze who were to explore the Shadow Realm stood ready. Their lineup appeared just as luxurious. A veteran first circle wizard, Docket, led the team. Among the 5 apprentice wizards, 4 were high-level apprentice wizards. The only one who failed to reach the high level was a 3-meter-tall giant. This was the Fist of the Empire, Emperor Mew. After many years, the Fist of the Empire remained a low-level apprentice wizard, failing to advance to the intermediate level. This represented the true situation of the Children of Chaos without the assistance of a proficiency panel, a miserable fate. However, due to the powerful knight strength of the Fist of the Empire, Sage Mason allowed him to participate. In truth, the Fist of the Empire served as the real trump card that Sighing Sea Breeze had hidden for this operation. Chapter 291. Shortly after joining Sighing Sea Breeze, the Fist of the Empire successfully stepped into the legendary Night Realm. His strength matched an ordinary First Circle wizard. Sighing Sea Breeze kept this development quiet. They planned to use the Fist of the Empire as a hidden trump card to turn the tide during important future events. Sage Mason turned his gaze toward Docket. I owe Herman a favor. During this operation, help the people of the Grey Tower. They lack an official wizard, so they will struggle to gain anything in the Shadow Realm. Prioritize gathering resources. Only intervene if the apprentices of the Grey Tower face a life or death crisis. Sage Mason looked at the Fist of the Empire. Avoid fighting in the early stages. Docket and the others will protect you. Return from this operation with plenty of rewards. Docket nodded. I understand, Mr. Mason. Docket and the Fist of the Empire left Sighing Sea Island. In the past few days, the Dark Sea Cave, the Lost Ancient City, and other Second Circle wizard organizations gathered at the entrance to the Shadow Realm. Even those who lived alone on their islands with a few apprentice assistants arrived. Every exploration of the Shadow Realm acted as a feast for all forces. The strange and colorful Shadow Realm offered endless temptation, drawing the wizards in. Levi finished his preparations and set off alone. He rode the Dragon King Whale toward the entrance. The Dragon King Whale moved much faster than the Azure ship. Levi arrived at the sea entrance and saw that he arrived before most of the others. In the center of the sea ahead, a thick black mist swirled and twisted. Levi stood on the back of the Dragon King Whale. The intersection of the Black Fog Realm and the realm of Azure Cloud loomed before him. This scene reminded him of the place where the Blue Frost Plane and the human world met in the multidimensional plane. Strange blue light filled that space as well. Levi rested on Leviathan. He represented the Grey Tower and arrived alone, which surprised the other organizations. While Levi waited, the group from Whale Song Island arrived. They rode on a high-level apprentice wizard sea beast, the blue-patterned whale. The blue-patterned whale felt uneasy. This beast originated from the School of Spiritualism on Whale Song Island. Bane watched the whale. Its unease signaled a high-level transcendent creature nearby. He scanned the area and spotted a ferocious-looking dragon king whale floating on the surface of the sea. On its back sat a tall and burly gray-robed wizard with two swords on his back. His robe featured moon patterns. Levi had accompanied Marlene to Whale Song Island, so Bane recognized him. Bane scanned the area. He saw that only Levi stood there. No other apprentice wizards from the Grey Tower accompanied him. Bane shook his head. What is going on? Has the Grey Tower given up on this exploration? Are they just throwing away their chance? He struggled to understand why only one person from the Grey Tower appeared. Although intelligence reports labeled Levi as a legendary knight, it seemed naive for a knight to think he could fight against an official wizard and 5 apprentice wizards from other organizations. Something abnormal occurred here. Bane spoke quietly to his team. After we enter, we will find a place to deal with the legendary knight of the Grey Tower. He transmitted his voice to the 5 apprentice wizards. Levi possessed capability. He tamed a Dragon King whale, so he remained a threat. Bane refused to underestimate him and prepared to go all out. The 4 high-level apprentice wizards nodded. Jagri hesitated. He remained silent. As an apprentice of Whale Song Island, he lacked the power to change anything and obeyed the orders of the organization. Levi remained calm, though he sneered internally. The spider's senses alerted him. These people from Whale Song Island intended to harm him. The news of Ms. Marlene successfully refining the second circle potion, a devil's gaze, clearly originated from Whale Song Island. The killing intent of those people last time felt less obvious, so his senses failed to pick it up then. Levi filled with killing intent. He began to plan how to deal with this group in the Shadow Realm. Among the 6 people from Whale Song Island, only Jagri lacked hostility toward him. Both sides stood on different paths, so Levi would show no mercy. A day later, the group from Sighing Sea Breeze arrived. The 3-meter-tall Fist of the Empire stood out among them. Levi caught sight of him at a glance. The Fist of the Empire saw Levi on the back of the whale. As a legendary knight, he knew that Levi was the recently famous legendary knight of the Grey Tower. Now that they met again, he recognized the aura of a legendary knight. His fighting spirit rose. He wanted to engage in a physical fight with Levi. Levi was the only legendary knight he had ever met. Though Emperor Mew and Levi lacked interaction, mutual appreciation stirred within him. Chapter 292. In this world where wizards were revered, meeting a legendary knight proved as rare as phoenix feathers and Kylan horns. I am the Sighing Sea Breeze wizard, Docket. If you encounter any danger in there, look for me. I will help you settle it within my power. Docket sent the message through a magical vibration, the words resonating directly within the mind of Levi. Levi smiled at Docket, gratitude warming his chest. Soon, the final step followed the intersection of the Black Fog Realm and the Azure Realm. An entrance that emitted a strange red light slowly formed in the black fog. Nothing appeared clearly inside the entrance. At this moment, a second circle wizard wearing a starry robe appeared above everyone. Below him, endless currents gathered into a water tornado that lifted him into the air. He resembled a sea god descending to the world, looking down at the exploration team below. According to our calculations, the intersection of the Black Fog Realm and the realm of Azure Cloud will last for 7 days. You only have 7 days to explore the Black Fog Realm. On the 7th day, everyone will have to gather at the coordinates of the entrance to the Black Fog Realm and leave. Otherwise, you will be left in the Black Fog Realm forever. You can only leave the next time the Black Fog Realm and the realm of Azure Cloud converge. I think most of you will not be able to live until then. According to the Shadow Realm Act, only members of the Panplane Wizard Council and legal organizations are qualified to explore the Shadow Realm. If some dark wizards or dark wizard organizations try to pass off as qualified wizards and sneak in, I advise you to give up. Once I find out, I will not hesitate to kill you. Finally, in the Shadow Realm, I hope that everyone can work together to achieve a win-win situation. The Panplane Wizard Council does not encourage malicious killing and competition between wizards. However, if your life is forever left in the Shadow Realm for various reasons, the Panplane Wizard Council will not take any responsibility for it, nor will the council initiate an investigation. All responsibilities and consequences will be borne by the explorers themselves. Please think carefully before entering. Next, I will announce the list of organizations or wizards who are qualified to enter. Those who are not on the list, please leave. The law enforcement officer spoke with dignity, his aura heavy and powerful. He began to call out the names of those qualified to enter. Wizard organizations entered the black hole emitting red light under the lead of their respective wizards. Levi studied the people who had entered. The words of the law enforcement officer echoed in his ears. After entering the Shadow Realm, life and death were disregarded. If he died, the Panplane Wizard Council would not investigate the cause. Therefore, the greatest danger in this exploration might not be the Shadow Realm itself, but the competing explorers present. To Levi, the main danger came from the people on Whale Song Island. If a chance arose, he had to strike first. His black snake message had already collected the aura of everyone present. Levi stored all of their auras in his aura vault. As long as they entered his range of perception, he would sense them immediately. If the people of Whale Song Island scattered or encountered any danger, Levi would not hesitate to beat them. Grey Tower, Levi. The law enforcement officer frowned slightly and called out to Levi. You are the only one from your Grey Tower, right? Yes, Lord Wizard. Levi smiled at the man. You may go in. The law enforcement officer said nothing more and motioned for Levi to enter. Levi smiled at the entrance of the black hole. Under his robe, solid black scales covered his entire body. He had even prepared the golden protection in his hand. Once he entered and someone ambushed him, he would activate the seal. Taking a deep breath, Levi stepped into the opening and vanished. The world spun around him. When he reappeared, gray fog surrounded him. The Shadow Realm earned the name Black Fog Realm for a reason. In this Shadow Realm, fog clung to everything. The edge of the area consisted of gray fog. The deeper they went, the darker the fog became. He could not even see his fingers when he stretched out his hands. Darkness swallowed the light of any sun. Levi activated his advanced vibrosensing and advanced hearing. Nothing around him could escape his perception. Within his perception, those who had just entered the Black Fog Realm quickly scattered in all directions to find their targets. Levi studied the cave entrance behind him. After marking the coordinates, he left quickly. The cave entrance offered no safety. When the people from Whale Song Island entered, they might immediately join forces to hunt him. The wizard leading the team on Whale Song Island was a veteran First Circle wizard. Confronting them head-on was not a wise choice. In this Black Fog Realm, black fog filled the air. Most ordinary wizards found their perception limited. On the other hand, Levi moved like a fish in water due to his various perception abilities. He had to make good use of this advantage and launch a sneak attack on the other party. Not long after Levi left, Sighing Sea Breeze also arrived. The Fist of the Empire looked grave as he left the place under the lead of Docket. More and more people stepped into the Shadow Realm. In the end, the people from Whale Song Island entered last. Bane looked calm. He let out a sound wave that sounded like a whale song. The sound wave traveled through the fog, and ripples spread out. Chapter 293. Damn it. Levi runs fast. He has already slipped beyond the reach of my whale song. Bane cursed, his face twisting with frustration. Teacher, why not go inside and explore? This Shadow Realm is small. The true treasures lie in the inner area. We will inevitably cross paths with that boy again. The high-level apprentice wizard, Deli, adjusted his robes as he spoke. He had mastered 8 cantrips in total. Your logic holds. Lie in ambush here. Bane pulled a parchment from his belt. I will grant you a shifting scroll. This precious second circle item was bestowed upon me by Lord Morpheus. Should Levi return to the exit, tear this scroll. It will swap our positions. I will execute him at lightning speed. I should stay? Deli blinked, stunned. He had clearly expected to join the main party. As you wish. Deli kept his objections to himself. He dared not reject an official wizard. Bane gathered the remaining 4 apprentices and marched straight toward the inner region. Bane left no backward glances. Little remained in the border area, as previous explorers had scoured it clean. Time was too precious to waste here. Furthermore, the undead ship had infiltrated the region. A meeting with them was essential. Weakening the Grey Tower was not his only goal. If possible, he needed to diminish the influence of factions like the Sighing Sea Breeze, which threatened the plans of Whale Song Island. In this place, the Panplane Wizard Council ignored murder between rival factions. Major organizations sent their elite First Circle wizards and apprentices to harvest resources. Should they perish here, the loss would devastate their respective organizations. 10 kilometers from the entrance, Levi huddled within a tree hollow, shrouded by gray fog. Bane's first ring detection spell, Whale Song, lacked the range of Levi's black snake message. Bane sensed nothing. Levi emerged from the tree hollow, his black snake tongue flickering into the air. He waited until Bane and his party vanished from his perception. One high-level wizard remained at the entrance. Levi knew Whale Song Island had sent an ambush, though their specific trump card remained a mystery. He waited. The wizard held his position at the entrance, showing no sign of departure. Interesting, Levi mused. You intend to ambush me? He grinned, his eyes fixed on the distant target. Unfortunately, my black snake message leaves you nowhere to hide. Time to switch the roles of hunter and prey. Levi leaped, vanishing into the fog. He felt no urgency for the inner region. He dared not hunt for the stone heart, with a hidden threat lurking at his back. He would play a game of cat and mouse for the next few days. The entrance stood abandoned. Most explorers had pushed deeper into the inner area. Only the weak, the timid, or those with nefarious intentions lingered at the edge. Utilizing his black snake message and his heightened perception, Levi navigated the fog, locking onto a single target. The apprentice from Whale Song Island. Killing a high-level apprentice posed little challenge to his current strength. Levi returned to the area. He gazed upward, though the gray fog strangled the warmth from the high sun. Favored by the night works only at night, but killing an apprentice requires no such luxury. Levi slipped into stealth mode, his mental map tracking his target. The wizard remained stationary. Levi closed the distance. Within half a mile, Levi halted. Black gas coiled around his hand, condensing into a blade. The gray fog obscured his vision, but the black snake message and his advanced hearing locked onto the wizard's coordinates with perfect precision. No obstacles remained. Deli huddled in a bush near the entrance, alone and paralyzed by fear. He kept his grip tight on his wand and casting materials, his nerves frayed, ready to unleash a spell at the slightest sound. Suddenly, the air whistled. A black blade materialized, slicing through the mist. Levi's level 4 black devil blade sent the projectile flying over 200 meters. The blood beast seed surged within him, driving his blood wings to pursue the blade. Deli jerked his wand, a torrent of water erupting to shield him. The black gas slammed into the water, neutralizing on impact. Deli reached for the shifting scroll. He had not seen his attacker, but he knew the legendary Knight of the Grey Tower had struck. Too late. Levi's explosive speed outpaced the conjured blades. He materialized 10 meters in front of Deli. Black gas coiled into a long whip, lashing through the air. The whip slapped the scroll from Deli's hand, then coiled around his throat. Levi loomed over him, his body encased in solid black scales. His face was a mask of dark armor, and his mouth darted out a sinister, forked snake tongue. Lizardman, a monster? You are a monster, Deli gasped, his voice trembling. He scrambled backward. How could a knight look like this? If not for the moon-patterned robe, he would have taken Levi for a beast born of the Shadow Realm. Crack, crack. Levi snapped the fingers of the hands Deli used to cast spells. Crack, crack. He shattered both of Deli's legs. He hoisted the boy by his neck. Levi snatched the shifting scroll from the ground. He opened his mouth, his voice cold and raspy. Answer me, or die. Deli nodded, desperation overriding his resistance. Why does Whale Song Island want to harm me? Levi demanded. Deli froze. Only the leadership knew of this plot. How did he know? A mole? The matter was exposed. The Grey Tower stood prepared. That explained why they sent only one man. Lord Morpheus issued the order, Deli stammered. I do not know his reasons. What is the strength of the Whale Song Island team, and what spells do they wield? Deli, clinging to the sliver of hope that Levi might spare him, poured out every detail he knew. He lacked the spine of the Grand Knights Levi had faced in the mortal world. Once Levi acquired the information, he honored his promise. He spared the boy's life but rendered him harmless. He severed Deli's limbs, bandaged the wounds to prevent immediate death, and used the seal of dragon might to shatter the boy's spirit, permanently crippling his ability to cast spells. He then administered a slow-acting poison. Deli would linger in misery for a few days before expiration. Levi needed the boy alive for a short while, as he knew the official wizard tracked the life force of his apprentices. If the link broke instantly, the wizard would grow suspicious. Levi stripped Deli of his storage items, his wand, and the precious shifting scroll before disappearing into the fog. Chapter 294. The black fog realm stretched out before them. Most wizards traveled through the outer regions. As the group moved deeper, the fog thickened and light dimmed. Daytime faded into the gloom of night. A faint rustling sound broke the silence. A monster stirred, or perhaps only the wind whispered through the trees. In a dark forest, Shark Tiger Witch Bane met the infiltrators from the undead ship. The two wizards stood in the dense woods. They moved with the caution of men hiding secrets. The stranger revealed a scarred, aged face and a deep gaze. Levi would have recognized the man, Green Ghost Carter, from their two previous encounters. Green Ghost Carter demanded as he spotted Bane. Where is that damned brat? He had suffered twice at the hands of the young man. Twice. Other wizards might doubt the claim, but the pain remained fresh. I have not found him yet, but do not worry. Scouts guard the entrance. If the boy appears, I will kill him in an instant, Bane replied with confidence. That brat is not an easy target, Carter warned. I know. However, I did not expect the Grey Tower to send only one person, Bane admitted. Herman, that old geezer, sits on the verge of advancing to the third circle. Resources in the Black Fog realm matter to him. I do not understand why he sent only one person, Carter mused. Unless the boy carries a trump card, perhaps a powerful wizard tool provided by the old man, Bane analyzed. Forget it. I do not care. Has the apprentice guarding the entrance sent word? Carter asked. Not yet. Levi must have ventured deep into the Shadow Realm, Bane answered. He carried Deli's spirit stone. The special tool absorbed Deli's mental energy. If Deli died, the stone would shatter. It remained intact, so Deli continued to guard the exit. Bane felt no fear of Levi escaping. Upon entering the realm, he used the whale song skill to scan the land within a 10-mile radius. Levi's signature remained absent. He had moved deeper into the fog. Let us go. We should not waste time out here. The area holds nothing. Green Ghost Carter, if we encounter wizards from other organizations, we will strike together. I believe no one in this shadow realm can match us. When your undead ship helps our Whale Song Island complete the next part of the plan, killing Herman will be simple, Bane proposed. Green Ghost Carter nodded. No problem. He and Demon Harland had been besieged by Herman and another law enforcer from the Star Tower previously. They had suffered heavy injuries. Ultimately, the island master of Whale Song Island, Morpheus, saved him and the captain. The undead ship handed a portion of their stolen loot to Whale Song Island. The local tyrant secretly provided aid to the undead ship in the sea area. Island master Morpheus maintained a strong network within the Star Tower, allowing them to turn a blind eye to many activities. Otherwise, the arrogant undead ship would have met its end long ago. Recently, Whale Song Island participated in the planning stage. This mattered immensely to a dark wizard organization like the undead ship. If the plan succeeded, dark wizards in the sea area, and perhaps the entire Endless Sea, would benefit. They intended to imitate the Panplane Wizard Council and establish an unfettered free wizard plane alliance. The dark wizards of the pan-dimensional plane had joined forces. They stood for freedom. Together, they would resist the tyranny of the Panplane Wizard Council. The undead ship no longer had to run like a stray dog from the law enforcement officers of the Star Tower. They had joined hands with Whale Song Island to ensure smooth progress should obstacles arise. Meanwhile, in the outer area of the Black Fog Realm, Levi found a safe location to examine the spoils of war taken from Delhi. He began to count the items. He held a ghost shark staff of medium quality. It contained 2 cantrips, water arrow and wave layering. Levi put it away. The wand matched the quality of the viper wand and exceeded 10 ether stones in value. Mosquito flesh remained flesh, regardless of the size. Levi had never learned the wave layering cantrip before. This wand provided a second layer of defense for an apprentice. Mid-grade wands usually shared similar characteristics. They typically held 1 defensive cantrip and 1 offensive cantrip. The Viper wand he obtained previously followed the same pattern. These cantrips offered limited utility to him now, but they served their purpose. Inside Deli's storage pouch, he found less than 30 ether stones. Deli had been a high-level apprentice wizard, but the high cost of training prevented him from saving anything of substance. Compared to a hoarder like Levi, the boy was a pauper. Beyond the ether stones, the remaining item was a meditation scroll from the Ocean School of Thought. It was titled The Stingray Meditation Art. Chapter 295. Levi already knew the deep sea meditation art. A copy of that art sat within the Grey Tower. He saw no reason to waste time learning the Stingray meditation art. The spells within the scroll matched those he already knew from the Grey Tower. Levi felt no interest in them. Finally, Levi reached for the exquisite scroll. Powerful energy radiated from the parchment. Mysterious, complicated spell runes flickered across the surface. This was a shifting scroll, a second circle spell tool. A one-time consumable. Multiple combinations of second circle spells layered the parchment. The final effect allowed the user to shift body and shadow, swapping positions with a target. One of the spells was a lost art from ancient times, meaning the production process for this scroll was gone forever. The value of this item exceeded all his other wizard tools combined, even the Ring of the Wind Spirit. Whale Song Island sacrificed such a precious tool just to harm him. Levi searched his memory, but he could not understand what he had done to provoke such extreme measures. Deli was merely a low-level apprentice. He knew nothing of the plans held by the upper echelons of Whale Song Island. If Levi wanted to uncover their true intentions, he needed to target the official wizard leading the team. He gripped the scroll. If he tore this open and recited the incantation, he could swap positions with the wizard leading the team. Used correctly, this function would allow him to kill his enemy easily. A sinister expression crossed Levi's face. He began to plot. He stuck out his snake tongue, his features twisted into a villainous mask. The strange realm would only exist for 7 days. He had 2 goals to complete within that time frame. First, he needed the stone heart. Second, he needed to capture the black flame demonic bird. The Black Fog realm hosted many monsters native to this world. The stone heart came from a first circle transcendent creature known as the rock troll. Such creatures appeared only in specific shadow realms. The heart of the rock troll, known as the stone heart, was a treasure rich in earth elemental energy. It had a wide range of uses, but the yield remained extremely low. Consequently, the price for a single heart reached 10,000 ether stones. A top-grade second circle wizard tool cost roughly the same amount. The black flame demonic bird was not a first circle creature. It sat near the power level of a high-level apprentice wizard. It possessed the ability to fly, and it remained hidden within this shadow realm. Locating it would prove troublesome. Neither mission would be easy. Levi had to hurry. Grey Tower information divided the Black Fog realm into 3 areas. Levi currently stood in the outer region. Very few ordinary monsters inhabited this space, and they possessed relatively weak strength. A high-level apprentice wizard could survive here for 7 days, provided they exercised caution. The inner region hosted potential first circle transcendent creatures. Explorers had discovered as many as 10 types of these creatures within the Black Fog realm. The rock troll was one of them, and it stood as the most powerful. It mastered 4 spell abilities. Combined with its innate rock body, Its strength rivaled that of a senior first circle wizard. The core area lay deep within the inner region. This served as the source of the black fog in the shadow realm. Second circle transcendent creatures potentially lived inside. Levi needed to avoid any encounter with such an existence. A massive difference existed between a first circle and a second circle. The most important reason a senior first circle wizard possessed strength far beyond an ordinary first circle wizard was their construction of a second circle spell model. They stood ready to break through to the second circle. Marlene, Green Ghost Carter, and Bane were all at this stage. A true second circle wizard mastered many powerful second ring spells, leaving ordinary first circle wizards with no chance of victory. During this operation, Levi remained especially wary of encountering those second circle transcendent creatures, in addition to his caution regarding Whalesong Island. Fortunately, he possessed the Black Snake's message, advanced hearing, and advanced vibrosensing. It felt as though he carried a personal radar. No movement in his surroundings could escape his detection. He began to explore the inner area, moving slowly from the outer reaches. He failed to find the black flame demonic bird along the way. He had to venture deeper. The chances of encountering the bird in the inner area remained higher. The inner area was smaller, and the monster density sat at a higher level. Levi traveled at a leisurely pace for the entire day. Occasionally, monsters emerged from the fog, but he killed them easily. He did not waste the corpses, storing them in his storage bag. Monsters unique to the Shadow Realm often possessed remains that served as rare potion materials or casting materials outside. They could be sold for a good price. The next day, Levi finally stood on the verge of leaving the outer region. He estimated that the people from Whalesong Island and Sighing Sea Breeze had already reached the inner region. Because Levi possessed a large range of perception, he killed any monsters he encountered along the way, provided they remained within range, and stored them in his ring. No matter how small the gain, it remained a gain. The monster corpses Levi collected could be sold for more than 200 ether stones at the Black Sail Wizard Market. Along the way, he also found some corpses of explorers from long ago. Their bones had decayed, and others had long since looted their storage bags. Chapter 296. Levi picked up a broken old wand. It was an antique, likely a high-grade wand with 3 zero-ring cantrips fixed on it. Unfortunately, it was useless. The spell runes were damaged and dimmed. Levi kept the material, as it was not bad. He had yet to find anything truly valuable, such as precious herbs. As he walked, a corpse appeared in the fog. Unlike the rotten bones he had encountered along the way, this corpse had been born yesterday. Spell fluctuations radiated from it. Someone was fighting here. The corpse belonged to a high-ranking wizard. The clothes identified the victim as a member of the Dark Sea Cave. The organization base was located in an underwater cave, and the cave master was also a second circle wizard. A storage bag rested around the corpse. Levi's expression remained neutral. He lowered his head, picking up the storage pouch with a surge of excitement. A spell flared through the fog. 2 water arrows shot towards Levi. Levi sneered, shattering the spells with his black gas. He rushed into the fog beside him. Miserable screams cut through the air. A moment later, 2 corpses of apprentice wizards appeared in Levi's hands. Saint scorpions crawled over their heads, devouring the souls of the apprentice wizards. These souls were more nutritious and delicious than the souls of mortals. The saint scorpions, having eaten the souls and meat of sea beasts in the bug house, craved this feast. After devouring the souls, the saint scorpions wanted to eat the flesh of the 2 apprentice wizards, but Levi chased them back to the bug house. He had his own use for the 2 corpses. "You still want to bait and ambush me," Levi said, his voice cold. "I will turn you into living dead, and make you work for me even after death." With his extraordinary perception, he sensed others lying in ambush beside the corpse. That performance had been an act. He did not know which force these 2 apprentice wizards belonged to. One was a high-level apprentice wizard, and the other was a mid-level apprentice wizard. Their strength was ordinary. "You overestimated yourself," Levi whispered. He picked up the storage bag on the ground, finding it empty. The 2 people must have divided the contents. He checked the 2 storage bags, finding nothing of value. He put them away calmly. He took out the antiseptic, beginning to prepare the living dead. In this shadow realm, no one cared about him. He considered using the corpses of the apprentice wizards to create living dead. When he left the shadow realm, he could pack up these corpses or destroy them. Levi had never used a wizard corpse to make a living dead before, so he did not know if he would succeed. After he finished, he began to cast the seal of hell. "O lonely soul of hell, give thee a new life." Levi chanted the incantation. The 3 cores of the undead spun, turning into blue rays of light that shot into the foreheads of the 3 corpses. The 3 living dead with blue ghost flames burning in their eyes set up in unison. Levi gave an attack command to one of the high-level apprentice wizards. The high-level apprentice wizard instantly waved the wand in his hand, chanting an incantation coldly and mechanically. A water arrow shot out. He wanted to continue casting spells, but Levi stopped him. "Seems feasible. He can use his spell." Levi had worried that the apprentice wizard controlled by the seal of hell would not be able to cast spells. If that were the case, it would be better to control a grand knight than to control a wizard. Now it seemed that Levi was overthinking things. The seal of hell was far more powerful than he had imagined. Among the 3 living dead, there were 2 high-level apprentice wizards and 1 mid-level apprentice wizard. Levi did not bother giving them names. This kind of living dead at the apprentice level would soon be eliminated. They were cannon fodder prepared for this trip to the Shadow Realm. The living dead made with the corpses of these wizards consumed 1/10 of the energy of an ordinary core of the undead just by casting a cantrip of water arrow. This was much higher than the energy consumption of a Grand Knight. Basically, after a battle, 1 core of the undead would be wasted. Levi brought the living dead deeper into the forest. The next night, Levi entered the inner area of the Shadow Realm from the outer area. As the fog thickened, the gray fog turned into black fog, and the sunlight was blocked completely. It was impossible to see one's fingers, and it felt like the deep sea. The difficulty of moving through the dark seemed immense for a wizard who had not learned tricks like the illuminating spell. He remained unaffected. He walked in the fog, using his perception to sense the aura of his prey. Along the way, he met people from other wizard organizations. He chose to avoid them. They all had official wizards leading them. As night fell, Levi felt his body strengthening bit by bit. The magnitude was small, but it was lasting. This was the effect of favored by the night. As Levi felt his body getting stronger, he searched for the black flame demonic bird and the rock troll. Chapter 297. Suddenly, a familiar aura breached the range of the black snake's message. The people from Whalesong Island had arrived, but an unfamiliar, dangerous aura lingered nearby. Green Ghost Carter had snuck in. He arrived only after Levi entered the Shadow Realm. Since Levi achieved legendary knight status, he had never recorded Green Ghost Carter's aura in his personal database. Levi stiffened at the sudden appearance of the strange signature. Levi held his position. Despite his recent advancement to legendary knight, the first circle wizard of Whalesong Island could still crush him. The strange and dangerous aura nearby only compounded the threat. The Whalesong Island group stood in the light. Levi remained in the dark. Both sides hunted for the other. Levi held the advantage with the black snake's message, a tool offering superior detection range. So long as he chose to vanish, they could not find him. This fact alone granted him an absolute advantage in the Shadow Realm. He intended to end the problem with Whalesong Island today, but paused. It would serve him better to let them live for a few more days. Collecting resources alone proved too slow. He would let these men gather the spoils for him. When a suitable opportunity arose, perhaps against a powerful enemy, Levi would shift his shadow. He would transfer Shark Tiger Witchbane, the strongest combatant, into the fray to meet his end. After that, he would infiltrate the Whalesong Island team and finish them off. Levi shadowed the Whalesong Island group from a distance. They remained within the maximum range of the Black Snake's message. By midnight, Levi's strength reached its daily peak. He resisted the urge to strike, waiting for the right moment. By the third day, many wizards who entered the Shadow Realm had perished at the hands of competitors and monsters. As more explorers ventured into the inner region, Levi sensed intense battles through his perception. Spell light flickered in the fog, then vanished. Levi donned the robe Deli once wore, altering his appearance to adopt a new form. He moved with patience, slaying the humans and monsters he encountered. Meanwhile, the Whalesong Island group hunted other wizards in the Shadow Realm. Gradually, a terrifying realization dawned on the explorers. Whalesong Island intended to trap everyone who ventured into the Shadow Realm within. Panic set in. Some explorers retreated, abandoning their mission. They intended to escape and report the situation to the Star Tower law enforcement officers. Levi surveyed his harvest with satisfaction. 500 ether stones filled his pouch alone. The wands and casting materials he secured held significant value. Levi targeted wizards already engaged in battle, or apprentice wizards who foolishly ambushed him. He avoided official wizards. Because he avoided official wizards, he collected no high-quality items, relying instead on quantity. He estimated his final harvest from this Shadow Realm excursion would exceed 2,000 ether stones. A horse grows thin without night grass, and a man does not grow rich without a windfall. Both hard work and unexpected opportunities drive prosperity. The Panplane Wizard Council encouraged cooperation, but Levi realized that in the Shadow Realm, greed overruled any desire to work together. Without rules to constrain them, human greed stood naked. He was no exception. After being robbed several times, Levi dropped the pretense of being a simple man. He was a professional madman in the human world. Beyond normal items, Levi obtained herbs from a wizard who attempted to rob him. He secured a precious material for the first circle potion, Fog Lamp Grass. Fog Lamp Grass had been a primary target for this exploration. This herb possessed only a slim chance of growing in a Shadow Realm like the Black Fog Realm. Fog Lamp Grass served as one of the 3 main ingredients for refining the first circle potion, Naga's Blessing. The other 2 main herbs included the tears of Grey Naga and the beak of the Bird of Joy. Those 2 were precious, yet purchasable. Fog Lamp Grass remained nearly impossible to buy in the outside world. Naga's Blessing increased the upper limit of spiritual power and raised the success rate of breaking through to a first circle wizard by roughly 1/3. It functioned similarly to the low-level second circle potion, I Devil's Gaze. The ingredients for this potion were extremely rare. I Devil's Gaze required all of Ms. Marlene's efforts to collect. Though Levi remained a mid-level apprentice wizard, his rapid progress with the earth meditation art brought him close to the high level. He needed to prepare for the leap to official wizard status. A high-level apprentice wizard with double affinity only held a 2/3 chance of breaking through to become an official wizard. For a child of chaos like Levi, even with the support of the Earth Pulse and the Dance of the Fire God, the success rate set below 50%. Chapter 298. Even though he could still spend some time recovering his spiritual strength and make a comeback if he failed, Levi did not want to fail. He wanted to succeed once and for all. It was always good to collect this kind of medicine that could increase the success rate of breaking through in advance and prepare for the future. Levi flicked out his black snake tongue and sniffed the fog lamp grass. He stored the aura of the herb in his aura library. With the black snake's message, it was much easier to find this herb. As long as a fog lamp grass existed within his range of perception, it could not escape his demonic claws. The black snake's message possessed countless uses. It tracked and locked onto enemies, scouted the surroundings, and searched for treasures. It was a divine artifact. The black snake's message granted him a godlike perspective in the shadow realm. It was difficult to successfully refine Naga's blessing in one go, so Levi had to prepare a lot of fog lamp grass in advance. He followed the group of people from Whalesong Island and continued to search for the fog lamp grass in the inner area. On the fourth day, Levi had collected about 20 sets of fog lamp grass. If he sold them outside, countless people would fight to buy them. That should be enough. After he advanced to a first circle pharmacist, he could start refining Naga's blessing. If that failed, he would spend some points and ask Ms. Marlene to help him refine it. With her level as a second circle pharmacist, she could refine it successfully. The formula of this first circle potion came from Ms. Marlene. Among all the potion formulas that Ms. Marlene had inherited, its value was second only to I Devil's Gaze. Ordinary pharmacists could not even buy it. Levi was Ms. Marlene's most trusted apprentice pharmacist and had helped her a great deal. Thus, he only used 300 points to buy this potion formula. He went deeper and deeper into the fog, and the frequency of monsters increased. Their strength also escalated, and there was no lack of first circle extraordinary creatures. Levi possessed superb perception and avoided them in advance. Otherwise, he would have wasted a lot of time just dealing with these monsters. Suddenly, a black flame descended from the sky within the fog. Levi watched the flame. The feathers of the black flame demonic bird caught his eye. He had sensed a bird flying overhead just a moment ago. He did not expect it to be the black flame demonic bird he was looking for. He used the black snake's message to collect the aura of the black flame demonic bird. Then, he rushed in the direction where the creature had flown. Gradually, Levi ventured deeper into the inner region. He did not meet any rock trolls. Because he had to track down the black flame demonic bird, Levi lost track of the people from Whalesong Island. At this moment, the people from Whalesong Island did not matter. The most important thing was to capture the black flame demonic bird alive. He moved with great speed. Although the black flame demonic bird could fly, it could not avoid Levi's pursuit. It was not a first circle transcendent creature. Levi condensed his black gas into blades and waited for the black flame demonic bird to enter his attack range. A black blade shot out. They were separated by layers of fog, but he relied on the black snake's message. The black flame demonic bird could not escape his lock on it all. The blade struck. Black blood fell from the sky and turned into black flames as it descended. As expected of a creature with the bloodline of the undying bird, this blood was magical. He had to use a special tool to extract the blood. The black flame demonic bird descended from the sky, and Levi grabbed it by its neck. With his current strength as a legendary knight, dealing with a black flame demonic bird was a simple task. After casting a few more seals of dragon might to disperse the spirit of the black flame demonic bird, Levi bound it with chains. He looked at the black flame demonic bird on the ground. It was only 10 feet long and had a wingspan of about 20 feet. Its long black tail feathers resembled a black flame and looked beautiful. The black flame demonic bird suffered heavy injuries from Levi and hovered on the verge of death. Levi gave it some healing medicine to save its life before throwing it into the bug house. Only the bug house could contain living creatures. With Levi's current level of insect controlling technique, he faced no problem ordering the Saint Scorpions not to eat the black flame demonic bird. Now that the secret medicine for the undying bird breathing technique was found, he would raise this black flame demonic bird when he returned to the tower. Would the undying bird breathing technique not take off like a rocket? The undying bird bloodline of the black flame demonic bird was thicker than the undying bird bloodline of the seven rainbow pheasant, so the effects of the secret medicine would certainly be better. After doing all of this, Levi looked at his current location. He had run into the depths of the inner region while chasing after the black flame demonic bird. Next, other than dealing with the people from Whalesong Island, Levi's only mission was to find the stone heart. Although he had only been here for 4 days, Levi had gained a lot. As long as he could get the stone heart and kill the group of people from Whalesong Island who wanted to harm him, Levi could leave early. There might be second circle extraordinary creatures in the core area, so Levi would not enter. He looked at the black fog in front of him, which was as thick as ink and flowed like asphalt, before turning around to leave. An existence lurked there that caused his spider sensing to feel an intense sense of danger. It was not something that he could touch at the moment. Rock trolls were first circle extraordinary creatures. Theoretically, they could be found in the inner area. There was no need to take the risk to go to the core area. Hence, Levi began to search the inner region on a large scale. Rock trolls were extraordinary creatures that were more than 5 meters tall when they matured. They were extremely strong, and their bodies were covered in hard rocks. When they slept, these trolls resembled boulders, making them very difficult to find. Chapter 299. With the information provided by the tower, he managed to find traces of the rock trolls. After collecting the aura of the rock trolls from those traces, Levi tracked them. On the 5th day, Levi wandered around the inner region. He encountered people from Whalesong Island, and that unfamiliar aura once again. The number of explorers in the inner region decreased significantly. Many retreated in the face of difficulties, while others fell to the people from Whalesong Island. These hunters surely gathered massive resources from the Shadow Realm. They were rich in resources. This fueled Levi's determination to kill the members of Whalesong Island. Levi stopped. He flicked out his snake tongue, then pulled it back. He had been chasing the aura of the rock trolls. He found the source on a huge rocky beach, 10 miles away, for rock trolls stood entrenched. Levi's heart hammered against his ribs. He had actually found the rock troll tribe. Rock trolls usually lived alone. A group signaled the mating season. A couple of rock trolls took care of their offspring together. An adult rock troll possessed the strength of a first circle veteran wizard. It mastered 4 powerful spell abilities, such as Rock Thorn and Rock Burst. Most importantly, the thick rock armor of a rock troll rivaled the strength of Levi's black scale in its solid state. Levi could only handle one of these creatures at a time. He could not deal with so many. Even so, he did not hesitate. He headed in the direction of the rock troll tribe. He gripped the shifting scroll and set his jaw in determination. A mile away from the rock troll tribe, black gas swirled around Levi. He flicked his snake tongue. Black scales covered his entire body. His muscles bulged, and blood wings sprouted from his back. He flapped his wings, accelerating toward his targets. 4 rock trolls occupied the rocky beach. The tallest stood 6 meters tall, while the shortest stood only 2 meters tall. This was a family of 4. The 6-meter-tall rock troll was the father, and the 5-meter-tall rock troll was the mother. They roasted meat over a fire. Rock trolls possessed high intelligence and mastered the technique of using fire. The family of 4 roasted meat and chatted happily. Suddenly, a little black dwarf over 2.5 meters tall, covered in black scales, crashed into their camp. Levi shot out black blades immediately. The blades struck the rock troll's body, leaving only shallow scratches. They failed to break through the defense. Only the 2 immature rock trolls cried out in pain as Levi's black gas pierced their hide. Earth and yellow blood dripped from their wounds. The 6-meter-tall troll father flew into a rage. He waved a giant hand and slammed it into the ground. He activated his spell ability, Rock Thorn. Suddenly, sharp stone spikes shot from the ground beneath Levi. The bright gold protection flickered, then shattered. The remaining thorns shot toward Levi. He blocked the attack with his frost giant armor and solid-state black scale, though the impact sent him flying. He used the momentum to leap high, descending from the sky. Before the rock trolls could react, Levi gripped Frostmourne. He utilized his golden cross slash with all his might. He stabbed the blade into the heart of a small rock troll. Although the little rock troll possessed the strength of a high-level apprentice wizard, it could not withstand a single blow from Levi. Its stone heart, still taking shape, shattered instantly. It died on the spot. This infuriated the rock troll couple. They charged at Levi in anger. Levi did not dodge. He charged the father. A giant spiked club materialized in the troll father's hand and flew toward Levi with tremendous force. Simultaneously, the rock troll's spell ability gathered power. Rocks around Levi exploded like bombs, sending shockwaves and gravel sweeping through the air. At the critical moment, the scroll in Levi's hand turned to ashes. A mighty force descended from the sky. Levi saw the stars, and the world spun. His figure shifted. Levi vanished. In his place stood the shark tiger witch, Bane. Bane wore a sinister look, ready to kill Levi at lightning speed. A moment later, Bane's expression shifted from sinister to shocked. Boom. Bane had survived hundreds of battles. He knew he had been tricked. He activated his fastest technique, the wave layering technique. This cantrip meant nothing before the rock troll's spiked club. Only a strength-type legendary knight like the Fist of the Empire could compare to the strength of a 6-meter-tall troll. Bane's robe shimmered with the light of runes. The heavy blow sent him flying, and he spat out blood. Behind him, a huge shadow appeared. It was another adult rock troll. She charged at Bane, furious, wielding a huge stone pot. Damn it, Bane spat. 100 miles away, the apprentice wizards of Whalesong Island watched the spot where Wizard Bane had vanished. One of the apprentices chuckled. That Levi must have been frightened by us, preparing to leave the Shadow Realm. In the end, Deli discovered him. Let us wait for Bane's good news. The 3 high-level apprentice wizards gloated. Jagri, silent and alone, sat not far away. Suddenly, Jagri realized a ray of light descended from the sky within the fog behind his senior brothers. The light illuminated the area. A 3-meter-tall, 3-headed, 6-armed, terrifying evil spirit appeared. It held a sword in each hand. Boom. Thunder seemed to crash in the sky. Green Ghost Carter let out a strange cry. The 3 senior brothers fell instantly before the terrifying evil spirit. The 9 swords danced wildly, indestructible. Every defensive cantrip shattered like paper. Levi kicked the heads away from his feet. He swiftly secured their storage bags and released the Saint Scorpions to feast. He stood proudly on the ground and looked at Green Ghost Carter, who had appeared out of nowhere. Levi curled his lips, licking them with his snake tongue. The black scales on his body assembled. Familiarity breeds contempt, Levi whispered. Let me send you off. Chapter 300. A moment passed between Levi's sudden arrival and the death of the 3 wizards. Though the 3 high-level apprentice wizards summoned protective cantrips, they proved too fragile before Levi's 9 swords form. One blow shattered them all. More importantly, Levi used the shifting shadow technique to appear in their midst. The wizards had no chance to react. They mistook his arrival for Deli. Instead, a terrifying monster with 3 heads and 6 arms stood before them, covered in ferocious black scales. Levi turned to Green Ghost Carter, who had suddenly appeared. His heart remained calm. He would not avoid this battle. Levi believed his strength could handle a veteran First Circle wizard. Die, little bastard. When the two enemies met, their eyes turned red. Killing Levi had become Green Ghost Carter's obsession. If the man died and became an evil spirit, he might still haunt Levi. Levi had to get rid of this damned old dog. He would turn him into a living dead, forcing him to work until the end of his days to vent the anger in his heart. Jagri fled the moment the battle turned. His aura vanished from Levi's perception range. The island master of Whale Song Island must have provided him with life-saving wizard tools. Levi had no time to hunt him. He held Jagri's aura now. As long as the man remained in the Shadow Realm, Levi would find him sooner or later. He took a deep breath and focused. He faced the strongest enemy of his life, Green Ghost Carter, the First Circle senior wizard. Levi had avoided him twice before. Now that he had truly become a legendary knight, he would not run again. With his 9 swords aura still burning, Levi took the initiative. He activated his blood beast wings, turning into a black shadow as he dove into the fog. Faint golden light shone in Green Ghost Carter's eyes. A cantrip learned as an apprentice allowed him to see in the fog, but only for a few dozen meters. He waved his staff, summoning 2 more Hellstrong men. They did not rush blindly into the fog, but flanked Green Ghost Carter, guarding him on both sides. With these guardians, Green Ghost Carter felt safe. Cold light tore through the air from the fog. Black blades whooshed toward Green Ghost Carter. He scoffed, daring to show off skills in front of an expert. The 2 Hellstrong men used their tough bodies to block Levi's attack. Their defense did not match a rock troll, but it stopped the black gas. The Hellstrong men were agile too. Levi realized the black gas proved ineffective. He retreated into the fog, flicking out his snake tongue, preparing for the next strike. Green Ghost Carter took the initiative. He began to chant the first ring spell, Hellfire Rain. Indescribable ravings drifted from the thick fog in the core area. The noise frustrated the wizard. However, his strong mental will held firm. He blocked the ravings, completing the spell under the protection of the Hellstrong men. Green flames rained from the sky. Levi shuttled through the torrent. Flames landed on his body, sizzling against his solid black scales. The scales melted into liquid, then vaporized into black gas. New black gas immediately replaced them, forming hard black scales once more. This small range area of effect spell lacked significant power. Levi bore the brunt of it easily. Green Ghost Carter clearly hoped the spell would kill Levi. As Levi appeared, a huge green fireball flew toward him. The first ring spell, Soul Flame. This advanced version of the zero-ring cantrip, Soul Fire, hit with immense power. The explosion shook the air. Green Ghost Carter was a veteran wizard indeed. Despite the interference of the fog, his casting speed and spell selection far surpassed an ordinary First Circle wizard. Golden protection radiated a brilliant light, shielding Levi from the fireball. The black scale demon, with 3 heads and 6 arms, each wielding a sword, vanquished the ghostly flames before launching a swift counterattack. Levi gripped the Lion King's pride. Die. Golden cross slash. An explosion tore the air. One of the Hellstrong men stood fearlessly before Green Ghost Carter, but Levi's hammer instantly crushed him. The second Hellstrongman threw a punch, a terrifying wind trailing the strike. Despite advanced perception, Levi could not dodge at such close range. Fortunately, his solid black scales held. Combined with the frost giant armor, Levi absorbed the blow from the Hellstrongman. The force blasted him into the fog. He retreated while regaining his balance. Levi remained uninjured, full of vigor. The formidable defense of a level 11 black snake proved its worth. Green Ghost Carter possessed many spells yet to be used. However, he questioned his own senses. Every time he chanted a spell, ravings echoed in his ears. To be continued. Hope you liked today's video. Join the community by subscribing and dropping a like. I'll be back with another update tomorrow. See you then.